On day 1, I spawned in as a witch. I'm so small, but it looks like I'm a witch. I only have 4 hearts. I better be careful while I figure out where I am and what's going on. I looked around the forest where I spawned in. Hello? Any other witches around? Where are my witches at? But there was no one around, just the tall trees. I was so busy looking up at the tall trees, I didn't see a man appear from behind one. He was huge, and he looked angry.
I've got you now, evil witch. You won't attack my village.
Why is he calling me evil? I don't feel evil, but I am a witch, and usually witches are bad. I was confused, but I didn't have time to figure out my confusion. The man was rushing at me with a sword. I started darting between the trees, trying to get away from him. Maybe I could climb a tree and get away. I quickly made it higher than the man. I thought I was in the clear until I ran into a beehive. Bees swarmed out of the hive and flew right at me. Oh no, they think I'm attacking them. Bees, I don't want to hurt you. Don't attack me. They didn't listen. I had to escape before they stung me to death. I quickly looked around and realized the tree I was in was right next to a lake. Bees won't follow me into the water. I have to dive in. I dove into the water and the bees stayed out. They knew better than to try and follow me in. The man was still waiting on the shore though.
Evil witch, I see you in the water there. I don't have a boat with me, but I'm coming back with one and I'll get you.
The man was waving his sword at me from the edge of the lake. There was no way I could swim to shore, but I saw a tiny island in the middle of the lake. I have to get to that island. It's my only hope of safety. I swam to the island and crawled out of the water. I was exhausted. The island was quiet and I didn't see any creatures. I saw a tree with an opening into the trunk. I crawled in. What a rough first day. I have to get more powerful if I'm going to make it in this place. Wherever I am. I fell asleep immediately. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out of my tree hole. It's quiet here. Maybe I can take some time to figure out why that man called me an evil witch. I don't feel evil. I thought about it for a while. I realized it made sense that he called me evil because witches are always evil. So why do I feel good? Is it possible that I spawned as a good witch? It seemed crazy, but it also felt true. I felt better after figuring this out, but then I realized I had a big problem. All the good people are going to think I'm evil because I'm a witch, but I can't go to other witches for help because they'll know I'm good. What am I going to do? I felt hopeless for a moment, but that was a waste of time. First, I need a safe place to live. Second, I need to protect myself and prepare in case I have to fight.
Oh, I don't know if I can help you with the fighting part, but why don't you live right here?
I looked around, trying to figure out who was talking.
Look down, silly.
I looked down and saw a frog sitting on a rock on the edge of the lake.
Hi there. I can tell you that this island is a safe place to stay. You can live in that tree you slept in. The only thing is...
Before the frog could finish talking, I felt something land on my head. Ah, a spider is on my head!
No, don't attack it!
The frog's warning came too late. I had made the spider angry. It rushed at me to attack. How was I going to defend myself?
Grab the potion behind you.
I spun around and saw a small bottle on the ground. I had no idea what it was.
Throw it at the spider, quick!
Threw the potion at the spider and took it out. Thanks, buddy. I need to know a lot more about potions and what I can do as a witch, but right now, I need to rest.
Go ahead. I was going to tell you that the spider was the only thing to watch out for, but you got it. You should be safe, but I'll keep an eye out.
On day 3, I needed to learn more about potions, since they seemed like a pretty great weapon to use, especially for a witch. I walked back to the shore and found my frog friend. He was sitting on his lily pad. Thanks again for your help, buddy. Can you tell me more about potions?
I don't know much about potions. I'm just a frog.
Then how did you know I should grab one and throw it?
Because another witch used to live on this island, and I watched her a lot. She never noticed me, though. Look around. I think she left a lot of stuff here when she left.
I decided to explore the island and see if the frog was right. I walked towards the middle of the island, into the trees. In the middle of the trees, I found a big, magical-looking purple tree and what looked like a rundown house. I wonder if this is where the witch lived. I decided to go inside and explore some more. I walked in. Suddenly, a bat flew at my face. I was about to fight back when I realized it wasn't squeaking. It was talking.
Get out of my master's house. You don't belong here.
Sorry, I was just exploring and trying to figure out how to be a witch. I'm really new to this. My name is Zozo.
Oh my gosh, you're a witch too. Hi, Zozo. I didn't even realize. I thought you were that crazy guy coming back to destroy everything.
Oh yeah, that must be the same guy who attacked me as soon as I spawned. What's the deal with him?
He's a villager who lives on the other side of the lake. He's always been weird, but a few years ago his son disappeared and he became convinced that a witch took him. Now he's hunting down and hurting every supernatural creature he can find.
What's a supernatural creature?
It's basically any creature that has magical or weird powers. Witches, zombies, you get the idea.
But aren't all those creatures bad anyway?
No, that's just a myth. Most of them are bad, but there are some good ones too. I mean, look at you. I can tell you're not evil.
I wanted to keep talking to the bat about good and evil creatures, but it was getting late and I hadn't found any potions or anything else to defend myself. Hey bat, thanks for the info, but it's getting late and I should get back to my shelter.
Why don't you just sleep here?
Well, the house is kind of falling apart. There's no roof, walls.
Yeah, but you'll be safe here. The witch who lived here before cast a spell on this spot.
Okay, sounds good to me. Tomorrow I can start rebuilding the house. On days 4 to 5, I found an old stone axe outside stuck in a tree. It was in bad shape, but it'd do. It broke when I was on the second tree, but I had gotten all the wood I needed. I worked on rebuilding the witch's house so that I would have a sturdier shelter and made good progress. Then I realized I hadn't eaten anything since I got here, and I was running out of energy. Hey, Bat, do you have a name?
The witch always called me Batty.
Okay, Batty, do you know where I can find food around here?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The witch always had to leave the island to find enough food. She had a boat, but she took it with her when she left.
Alright, I guess I'll have to swim across to find food.
Here, take a couple of potions with you. The witch left some behind, and you might need them until you learn how to make your own.
I wasn't worried because I already knew I was a strong swimmer. I walked back to the shore and got ready to swim.
Are you going to swim across the lake?
My frog friend was back. Yep, that's the plan. I need to find food, and Batty told me there's none here for me.
Batty is right, but are you sure swimming across is a good idea? Crazy Man is out there, and he said he would come back with a boat.
The frog had a good point, but I really didn't have a choice. I had to find food fast, and building a boat would take too much time. I jumped into the lake and started swimming. On day 6 to 8, I was swimming across the lake. It was a long distance, but I had to find food.
I told you I would be back, evil witch. I'll get you now.
Oh no, the crazy guy is back, and he has a boat. The crazy guy was coming right at me, and his boat was fast. I knew I couldn't let him get close enough to use his sword on me. I haven't had a chance to craft any weapons yet, but I have to defend myself. What are these potions Batty gave me? I started treading water so I could get the potions out of my pocket. I pulled out one bottle. What does this say? Potion of harming. Sounds like what I need. I was so focused on the potions that I completely forgot I had stopped moving. But the crazy guy hadn't stopped. He was coming right at me.
You foolish witch. You're no match for me. Take that.
How could I have been so silly? I let the crazy guy get too close, and he hit me with his sword. Ouch, that hurt. He had really brought down my health, and I didn't have that much health to spare. Okay, here goes nothing. Watch out, crazy guy. It's potion time. I threw the potion right in his face.
Ah, the evil witch has used her terrible magic on me, but your silly potion is no match for my sword.
I wasn't going to last much longer if I didn't do something fast. I frantically grabbed another bottle out of my pocket. Exploding potion. I guess I know what this does. I threw the potion at the back of the boat, and the end just blew up. The boat started sinking. The crazy guy jumped out of his boat, but I didn't wait around to see what happened. I swam as fast as I could to shore. When I reached the shore, I was exhausted. I turned around and saw the crazy guy bobbing in the water, moving so slowly towards the shore. Does this guy even know how to swim? Doesn't look like it, which is good to keep in mind.
You can run now, evil witch, but you know I'll find you again, and next time, you won't be so lucky.
I ran into the forest. I was so tired, but my hunger bar was getting really low. I had to eat something now or I wouldn't be able to keep going. I wasn't looking where I was going, and I ran right into a tree with some apples. It's not much, but this should be enough food to keep me going until I find more. I ate the apples and felt better, but I was so tired. I decided to hide out for the night and keep searching for food in the morning. On days 9 to 10, I left the forest and walked into some fields. Are those farms? There must be food on farms. I ran toward the first farm I saw. The fields were full of vegetables. I grabbed as many carrots and potatoes as I could fit in my pockets.
Hi, who are you and why are you stealing my crops?
I looked up to see the farmer on his front porch, and he looked angry.
Hey, aren't you that evil witch my neighbor told me about? Get off my farm.
He grabbed a crossbow and started shooting arrows at me. Okay, I can take a hint. I'm getting out of here. I wasn't fast enough, and one of his arrows hit me. Oh no, I'm almost out of hearts. I realized there was one more potion from Batty that I hadn't used yet. I pulled it out of my pocket and read the label. Potion of healing. Sounds like what I need. I gulped down the potion and suddenly felt a ton of energy jolt through my body. I looked down at myself. I was bigger. I don't know what's in that potion, but it gave me 10 hearts, and I turned into a bigger witch. I feel so much stronger and faster. I was so fast that I was able to dodge the rest of the arrows the farmer was shooting at me.
I better not see you back on my farm, witch, and I'm gonna tell my neighbor I saw you. He's coming for you.
I kept running into the fields. On days 11 to 12, I was still running through the fields. I had so much energy. I saw mountains in the distance. How far had I gone? I better not get too far from the lake. I need to get back to base soon. As I got closer to the mountains, I decided it was time to turn around. I had grabbed enough food from the farmer to last a while. Then I noticed a little hut at the bottom of the mountain. Did someone live there? Someone came out of the hut. It was another witch. Aren't witches usually bad? I better run again.
Wait, come back. I want to help you.
I didn't know if I should believe her, but I felt strong enough to find out. If she was lying to me, I could run or fight.
Won't you come inside? You're the first good witch I've seen in so long, other than myself.
You're a good witch too?
Yes, come inside and I can explain everything.
I walked behind her into her hut. Inside, I saw shelves full of bottles, a large table, a huge cauldron with smoke coming out of it, and a door leading to another room.
It's so amazing to meet another good witch. It's been so long I worried I was the only one left. You see, good witches are incredibly rare. So much so that people don't even know or believe we exist. That means most people hunt us down and hurt us before ever finding out we're good and want to use our magic to help them.
Well, that's a bummer, but at least I know I wasn't crazy for thinking I was a good witch.
You are good, I can tell. I want to teach you everything I know to help you survive.
The witch started to tell me about being a good witch. She told me about all the different types of potions I could brew and the materials I needed to brew them. She also explained about the different types of weapons I could build to defend myself and how to get food. Suddenly, we heard the sound of yelling in the distance.
Did someone follow you here? No one has ever come this close to my hideout until now.
Oh no, I stole some crops from a farmer and he got angry. He said his neighbor was hunting me. I think he was talking about this crazy guy who keeps trying to hurt me. They must have seen where I was heading.
The man hunting you isn't some crazy guy. He used to be a wonderful person. He was a successful trader, friendly to everyone. He had a son who came with him on all his trading missions. He was teaching his son the business. I knew him. You see, I didn't always live here. I used to live on a beautiful island with my bat friends.
Wait, you're the witch who used to live on the island? That's where my base is. Batty has been helping me.
Oh, I'm so glad my old home is helping someone. Batty is a good friend. I loved living there, but I was chased away. One day, the trader's son disappeared.
I know. He thinks a witch stole his son and now he's hunting all supernatural creatures. I've heard the story. I need to get out of here so your hideout stays a secret. The witch tossed out an item that looked like a bag for me and I grabbed it before running out the door.
But wait, you don't know the whole story.
I have to get out of here before they find you.
Come back when you can. I haven't told you the most important thing.
I took off running across the field and just hoped the farmer and the trader wouldn't follow me. On days 13 to 15, I kept running across the fields towards the forest. I knew I had to get back to base so I could start brewing potions and making weapons. As I was running, I realized there were little holes all around me. What is up with these holes? I better be careful so I don't step in one. A rabbit popped out of one of the holes and then another one. Pretty soon, the field was full of rabbits. Oh, aren't they so cute? I wish I could stop and pet them, but what are you doing? The rabbits were jumping up and biting me. Aren't you rabbits supposed to be nice? What are you all doing? Stop biting me. I really didn't want to hurt the rabbits because something didn't seem right, but I also couldn't let them keep biting me. Maybe there's something in this witch bag that can help me without hurting them. I pulled out a bottle. Potion of slowness. Sounds good. Sorry, rabbits, but something is wrong with you, and I don't know what it is. I threw the potion and ran. The rabbits were too slow to follow me. I wonder if this is what the witch was trying to tell me, that the animals are acting strangely. I reached the edge of the forest and ran in. Suddenly, a squirrel jumped on me and started biting me. What is going on with all these animals? Why are they attacking me? By that point, I had been bitten so many times that I was losing health. I saw more squirrels running through the trees after me, but I had reached the lake. I dove into the lake and the squirrels didn't follow me. I swam across the lake and made it back to base. On days 16 to 19, I had planned to start making potions and weapons, but I had forgotten that my house wasn't built. I guess my weapons will have to wait. I need to build my house for protection, especially with all these animals behaving so strangely. I might not be as safe here as I thought.
Hey, Zozo, you're back. What you doing?
Oh, hi, Batty. I need to build up my house, but there's hardly any wood or stone around here. Any suggestions on where to find materials?
Sure, go that way and you should find everything you need to get started.
I made a wooden pickaxe before I started heading in the direction Batty was pointing. It was part of the island I hadn't explored yet. Batty was right. There was an abandoned lumber mill, so I started grabbing as much wood as I could find. But I also needed to find stone. Batty said there would be everything I needed, so there must be stone somewhere. I came out of the other side of the trees and realized I had reached the lake again, but I hadn't explored this beach. Wow, there's tons of stone here. Batty was right. Most of the stone was closer to the water, so I walked down to start collecting it. A drowned came out of the water and towards me. I didn't have any weapons or anything with me, but I felt so much bigger and stronger. When the drowned got close, I just started punching. Take that! I'm sick of being attacked. Go away! The drowned backed off and went back into the water. I grabbed all of my materials and went back to the house. Now I was ready to get started making things. On days 20 to 22, it was time to cook up some potions and make some better tools and weapons. Let's see what good stuff she gave me. I used the bag item the witch had given me and saw that it filled my inventory with cobblestones, a blaze rod, glass bottles, and lots of things that looked like dust, streams, and more. There was also a small book. Good witch, here's what you need to get started brewing potions. First, you need to build your brewing stand. That's what the cobblestones and blaze rod are for. Once you've built that, take a glass bottle and some of the nether wart. Combine them and you'll have an awkward potion. The book had more pages, but I was excited to get started. I followed her instructions. Cool, a brewing stand. Alright, let's cook up some awkward potions. I got a little too excited and made a bunch of bottles. Once you have an awkward potion, you can take the different ingredients in my bag and add them to it. That's how you make different types of potions. I spent hours grabbing ingredients and combining them into potions. When I was almost out of glass bottles, I decided to take a break.
Wow, looks like you made a ton of potions. Good job, but you should probably also make a weapon.
Why? Look at all these great potions I have now.
Yeah, but what happens if you're attacked and run out of potions? You should have a weapon just in case, like a sword or an axe.
Alright, I guess I need to go back out for more materials to make a sword. I decided to go back to the beach where I found all the stone. Maybe there would be other materials there too. I walked over to the beach and started digging, but then I heard a noise. I looked up and there were 3 more drowns coming at me. Ugh, these guys again? And there's more of them. At least this time I remembered to bring some potions with me. Those drowns moved fast, and before I could grab a potion, they started attacking me. I finally found my potion and threw it, and they went away. Hey, looks like one of those weirdos dropped something. What is this thing? I picked up what looked like a giant fork. It looked sharp, so I thought it could be a weapon. I decided to stop searching and bring it back to Batty.
Whoa, Zozo, you found a trident. Did a drowned drop it? Those are so rare. Cool.
I decided to take my new weapon and walk down to the other beach to see if my frog friend was around. When I got there, I heard a strange noise coming from above me. I looked up.
You may have destroyed my boat, but I'm back and ready to destroy you, evil witch. Just try throwing your potions up here.
It was the crazy trader again, and this time he was wearing a crazy outfit that looked like armor, flying right above me, getting ready to swoop down with his sword. The way he was moving around, I knew it would be hard to hit him with a potion.
Throw your trident!
That sounded like my frog friend.
How did you get a trident, evil witch? Do you even know what to do with it?
I didn't have time to look around. I just aimed and threw the trident as hard as I could. My trident was a direct hit, and as it dropped back down, I caught it.
Ouch, that hurt. Hey, you dented my armor. How did you get so strong?
I threw my trident again, and pieces of his armor started falling.
No, you're destroying my armor. How could I have known you had a trident?
I knew that with one more hit I could take him down, but he knew it too.
You may have won this battle, witch, but I'll still win the war.
He flew away, and I felt confident I could beat him next time. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the base and decided to go inside and check on Batty.
What happened? You look like you were in a fight.
Yeah, that crazy guy came back again. This time he was flying and he had armor, but I fought him off with my trident.
That's a relief. You should probably prepare in case he comes back.
He was right. I needed to make this place more secure. My house was nice, but I needed something bigger and stronger. I decided to build a fortress around my house. Batty had helped me out by bringing a huge pile of wood. I started building up the walls, working as fast as I could. Eventually, the walls rose up around my house, and it was starting to look like a fortress. But there was something else missing too. This island needed some decoration. I've got it. I'll build a nice big statue. That'll liven the place up. I got to work on the statue. I didn't have much in the way of materials, but I at least made a good start. I know it's not much to look at yet, but do you have any guesses what it will be? Suddenly, Batty flew up to me.
Hey, you know you didn't finish going through the witch bag. You should see what else is in there.
I reached into the bag and pulled out what looked like a diary. It had a lock on it, but the lock fell open when I touched it. I guess it was a witch thing. I opened the diary and read the first page. The Good Witch Diary, top secret. But if you are liking the video, make sure you search for other videos. Just search for ZOZO and see the other great adventures Zozo has been on. On days 27 to 31, I wanted to make sure we had enough food. In a perfect world, I could get some animals, but my base was on an island, and I had no idea how I could get animals there. Well, the easiest way to get food here is probably to farm some vegetables. Just then, Batty swooped in, and he had other bats with him.
Hey, Zozo, meet my family. Now that we have a fortress, I decided it was safe to go get them. They've been hiding ever since that crazy guy made the first witch leave. They're excited to help us out.
That's great, Batty. I was actually just thinking about planting some crops. Could your family go out and find me some seeds?
Sure thing. We'll be back.
Once the bats flew off, I decided to explore the part of the island I still hadn't visited to see if there was a good place to farm. After a couple minutes, I found a clearing in the trees that got a lot of sun. It looked like the perfect place to plant seeds, except that I noticed something strange in the shadows. Is that slime? Gross. As I looked closer, I realized there were slimes all in the shadows, and they were jumping closer to me. I heard a loud splat. Gross, a slime attacked me, and also, that hurt. I had no idea if potions would work against slimes, so before wasting any, I decided to go back to the fortress and see what Batty knew about slimes when he got back. On days 32 to 35, Batty and his family came back with lots of seeds. Thanks, Batty and family, these seeds are awesome, but we have a problem. I found the perfect spot for a farm, but it's filled with slimes, and one of them attacked me. How can I get rid of them?
Oh man, I was afraid of that. I forgot to tell you that there's a little swamp on the side of the island, and I've heard rumors about slime sightings, but I never saw one, so I thought maybe we were safe.
Great, that swamp must be right next to the spot I want to put my farm. Is there a potion or something I can use to get rid of them?
You can defeat slimes and they'll drop slime balls, but actually maybe it's a good thing they're here. You can use slime balls to make all kinds of useful stuff.
When I heard that, I decided to go back with my trident that instant. After all, I didn't want the slimes to disappear, and I wanted those slime balls. When I got to the swamp, I saw the slimes were still there. They were different sizes. One was huge, a couple were medium, and there were a few little ones. What are you, like a slime family? I didn't wait for an answer. Can slimes even talk? I immediately threw my trident at the big slime. When it hit the slime, 2 medium slimes appeared. Wait, what? I thought I was going to get rid of you. Now I just have more slimes to deal with. I kept attacking the medium slimes, and they turned into smaller slimes. This was turning out to be a much bigger project than I planned. Finally, I was left with nothing but slime balls, so I collected all of them. I also spotted some materials that I knew would be perfect for my statue, so I grabbed some of those too before going back to my witchy fortress. Thanks a lot, Batty. You could have warned me that hurting slimes makes more slimes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Batty, we need to work on your memory. Seems like you forget a lot of things. Every single one of his Bat family members agreed with me, rolling their eyes at Batty. On days 36 to 39, it was time to farm. Now that Batty's whole family was back, we needed some serious food. I went back to the clearing to plant some seeds. Hello, any more slimes out there? I didn't see a single green slime, so I decided it was safe to start planting.
Hi there.
I spun around and saw a little bat.
I'm Batty's little sister. I wanted to come talk to you away from Batty because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but his bad memory is becoming a real problem.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that.
But he's forgetting some really important things. Like when we flew around collecting seeds, we saw and heard a lot. The crazy trader has been hunting down a lot more supernatural creatures, including a lot who are actually good.
Since when are so many creatures good?
They just are. But it's hard to tell because the evil ones give everyone a bad reputation. But it's starting to get really serious. His crazy brain is telling him that even regular creatures are evil, even bats. Pretty soon, no one will be safe.
Wow, you aren't kidding. Batty's memory is really bad.
We need you to take down the crazy trader before he can do any more damage. Can you do it?
I thought about how much stronger I had gotten. I think I can. I'll do it. But first, I need to grow this food so I have enough energy to fight. I kept planting until all of the seeds were planted. Then I went back to the fortress where I did some more work on the statue before calling it a night. On days 40 to 43, Batty and his family came back from the big forest and told us about animals acting strangely.
Zozo, you won't believe it. Normally when we fly through the trees, the squirrels and rabbits say hello to us. Today they all tried to attack us. We had to fly high above them to stay away. What is going on?
The bats were describing the same weird things I had noticed before, but I had forgotten all about them in the other chaos. Maybe I should go investigate in case there's something serious going on. I decided to swim over to the forest and take another look. I walked down to the lake and dove in. As soon as I walked onto the beach, something didn't feel right. A bunch of crabs dug out from the sand, surrounding me. I don't think I can take on this many. Suddenly, a potion landed on some of them, clearing away. I turned around and saw Batty and his family. They swooped in and started fighting the crabs while Batty himself approached me.
We'll keep fighting off the crabs so you can get to the forest. Just keep going.
Batty went back to join his family as I ran as fast as I could into the forest. On days 44 to 49, I explored the forest looking for animals. I didn't want to be attacked, but I needed to figure out what was going on, especially if Batty and his family were now in danger too. I searched through the trees, but couldn't find a single animal. This was even more confusing. The forest is always filled with animals. Where did they all go? I kept walking until I reached the fields and still didn't see a single animal. This was so suspicious. Eventually, I turned around and went back to the lake. This time, there were no crabs anywhere. I swam across easily. When I reached the island, I saw my frog friend. Hey buddy, long time no see. How's it going? My frog friend didn't answer me. In fact, he didn't move at all. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? I walked closer to get a better look. The frog turned to look at me and his eyes were bright red.
Stop investigating the animals, witch. They're under my control, and if you interfere with my plans, I'll take you down.
The frog was under some kind of spell, and he was on my island. The danger was getting too close to home, and I was so worried about my frog friend. Before I could do anything else, he jumped into the water and swam away. I could only hope he would be safe. I went back to the fortress to talk to Batty. This was really serious. On days 50 to 53, Batty suggested that I should keep reading the witch diary to see if it could tell us anything about what was going on. I turned to the second page. Before you turn any more pages, I just want to say that I hope you're subscribing to this channel and enjoying more videos. Okay, the witch was really into subscriptions. Moving on, I got to page 3. I'm keeping this diary after the trader made me run from my home. I need to write down the true story in case I can never tell anyone in person. Everyone believes that the trader went crazy after a witch stole his son. This is not the truth. Before he went crazy, he traveled far into the mountains and met an old wizard who cast a spell on him. The wizard wanted to keep his son as an apprentice, so he made the trader go crazy, believing a witch had stolen his son. The wizard is the true enemy. Destroy him and break his spell. Okay, this was getting really crazy, but it also made sense. I wondered if the wizard was also controlling the animals, but I realized I was too hungry to keep reading. I had to go see if my crops were ready. On days 54 to 57, I went back to my farm. There were so many vegetables. I gathered as many as I could carry to bring home. When I got back, Batty was surprised at how much food I had. Batty, things are getting really scary out there. I want to make sure I have enough food in case we need to hide out, and I want to take care of you and your family. I also wanted to build up our defenses. I decided to build a tower so that I could see everything around us and see if danger was coming. I also decided to build a potion launcher in case we needed to defend inside the walls. Once it was built, I needed to see if it worked. I flipped the switch and fired off some potions. Wow, those went really far. I think this will work perfectly. I had some time, so I also decided to work on the statue. It's really coming along nicely. Can you tell what it is now? On days 58 to 62, I woke up to the sound of screeching. It was Batty and his family, sounding the alarm.
The trader is coming. The trader is coming.
Oh no, now that I knew why he was crazy, I didn't want to hurt him either. I ran up to the tower and saw the trader flying towards me. However this guy was flying, I wanted to learn how to do it. Hey man, stop attacking me. I don't want to hurt you. I know the wizard wizard cast a spell on you. The traitor swooped towards me, and I noticed for the first time his red, glowing eyes, just like my frog friend.
I'm not here to attack you this time, at least not right this second.
Huh? What did he mean by that? Suddenly, he pulled out a bottle and threw it at me. I can't see anything. What was that potion you threw at me?
Haha, a blindness potion. Two can play at the potion game, witch, and now you can't see what I'm doing next.
He was right. I couldn't see anything. I had to get back downstairs to get some milk, which Batty had told me would give me my vision back. I stumbled down the stairs and drank some milk, but it took me so long, I was worried about what the traitor did while I was blind. I was so exhausted from the ordeal, I decided to get some sleep. On days 63 to 66, I woke up and went back to the witch diary. I had stopped reading before, but now I knew I had to keep going and figure out what was going on with the animals and how to defeat the wizard. I opened the diary where I stopped reading before. Before I keep telling the sad story, I really hope that you're enjoying the video so far. If you like it, why don't you subscribe to our channel for more? I wasn't even going to try to understand that one. A warning for you, the wizard has been growing stronger every year. Soon, he'll be too powerful to defeat. You will know that his power is becoming too strong when he takes control of all good creatures in this land. Even the nicest animals will turn on you. This is a sign that you must defeat the wizard now. If you wait, it will be too late. My heart sank. Now I knew why the animals were acting crazy, and it meant that the wizard was growing too powerful to stop. On days 67 to 70, I knew I had to find the wizard and stop him before he took over the world. Unfortunately, I had no idea where he was. I didn't even know where the traitor was hiding. I started gathering supplies when suddenly I heard a familiar voice behind me.
What are you doing?
I turned around. Hi, Batty, where have you been? I haven't seen you since the traitor was here. I looked at Batty and gasped. His eyes were glowing red. Oh no, Batty, are you under the wizard's control too?
The wizard is my master now.
Thanks to the traitor who cast the wizard spell on me. He sent me here to tell you should give up now, because you will never find the wizard. He's hidden where no one will ever find him.
Batty flew away. I was so sad. My closest friend was under an evil spell.
Psst, Zozo, over here.
Batty's sister flew into the room.
I followed the traitor when he took Batty, and I know where he is hiding. Maybe if you go to his base, you can find out where the wizard is hiding. He's in a bunker underneath the farm that you first stole vegetables from.
So that's why the traitor came back, to kidnap Batty and turn him into a messenger. And no wonder the traitor kept coming. He was so close. Before I left, I made sure I still had the witch diary on me. I hadn't finished reading it yet, and it might have more important information. On day 71 to 74, I made my way back to the farm where I first stole vegetables. I didn't want to run into the farmer again, so before I actually entered his land, I had to make a plan. Batty's sister said the traitor was hiding in a bunker under the farm. If the traitor is hiding underground, he must have a secret entrance to get down there. I started walking around the farm looking for anything unusual. I spotted a huge rock that looked really out of place on a farm. Was this his secret entrance? Suddenly, a side of the rock slid open. It was a door. I was right. I looked around but didn't see the traitor, so why was the door opening? Then I saw Batty flying towards the rock. He was going into the traitor's base. Oh no, Batty, you really are under their control. The door slid closed. I waited a while to make sure nothing was happening, and then I snuck over to the rock. I didn't see any sign of a door. How do you open this door? I know there must be a way. I kept looking but couldn't figure out a way to open the door. I got frustrated and punched the door. Alarm started going off. Oh no, that was so stupid of me. I should have known they would have had defenses. I dove into some nearby plants and hid right before strange creatures started swarming around the door. They were birds, all of them with glowing red eyes. I stayed down while the birds flew around and they didn't see me. Then the door slid open.
Who's out there? No one? Birds! Pay closer attention next time. Whoever was at the door must have gotten away.
The traitor closed the door again, and I knew I would have to find another way to his base. It was obvious. I would have to dig a tunnel to reach him. I was close enough that I decided to start digging right there. I knew the base was under the house, so I kept digging in that direction. On days 75 to 78, I was digging a tunnel to reach the traitor's base. I knew I was getting close to the house, and the base had to be close by. I dug and dug until I saw a wooden wall. I had reached the base. I stopped to organize my inventory before I broke through the wall with my axe.
How did you find me, evil witch?
Hey man, I had to find you because you stole my friend Batty, but I don't want to fight you. I know that you're under the spell of the evil wizard. This isn't really you.
What are you talking about, witch? There is no wizard. I am going to destroy all creatures responsible for taking my son away from me.
He came rushing at me with his giant sword. I was scared, but I knew how much bigger and stronger I was since our first fight and all the special potions I had brewed. He swung a sword at me and I fought back, throwing potions, drinking healing potions, and stabbing at him with my trident.
Evil witch, you will not stop me.
I really wish this guy would stop calling me evil witch. He spun around and punched a wall and ran down another tunnel. I went to run after him, but he threw another blindness potion at me. So annoying. I put down my bag. Fortunately, I brought milk, so I drank it quickly, but not fast enough to see where he went. There was a fork where two tunnels went in different directions. I ate some of my food before I looked down both tunnels. To the right, I saw a red glow. It was his eyes. I took off running down the right tunnel, eating some more to make sure I was at full health. Soon, I reached another room. There, the traitor had grabbed a giant shield in addition to his sword. This was it. I was going to have to throw everything at him and hope I could defeat him. I threw every potion I had, hitting him with one right after the other. I hadn't thought about what might happen if all the potions mixed. The traitor had been knocked to the ground, and suddenly there was a black puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, His eyes were normal.
What happened? Where am I?
Had my potion somehow broken the wizard's spell? You're in a bunker underground. You've been hunting down creatures because you thought a witch stole your son.
No, I remember everything. I know a witch didn't steal my son. It was the wizard. He took my son and cast a spell on me so that I would think a witch had done it.
He looked so sad.
I think the wizard's spell was the only thing keeping me going all this time. Without the spell, I'm dying.
No, let's go destroy the wizard and save your son.
It's too late, but please, go defeat the wizard for me.
With that, the traitor disappeared. On days 79 to 84, I took one final look at the room we fought in, then went back through the tunnels of the traitor's bunker. I stopped there to rest for a minute. While I was there, I decided to eat something and keep reading the witch diary. The end of this story is sad and shocking. I have been exploring the mountains where I now hide, and I discovered where the wizard lives. I snuck closer to his hideout, and there I saw something terrible. The wizard was not the wizard I knew from before. Instead, the wizard was the traitor's son. He had become the wizard. Oh man, maybe it's a good thing the traitor disappeared. He would be so upset to learn his son had turned into the wizard. It is hard to say, but you still must find the wizard and destroy him, no matter who he is. If his power is this strong, there is no way to make him good again. I drew a map to where the wizard is hiding in the mountains. It is buried under my house on the island. Find the map, find the wizard, and destroy him. I guessed it was time to go back to the base. On days 85 to 89, I went back to the island. It was so lonely without Frog and Batty, but it was probably also good they were gone. If they were under the wizard's spell, I couldn't safely dig up the map. I went back to the house and started digging into the floor. I saw a glowing light. I kept digging until I found a secret room under the house. The room glowed with potions I had never seen before. There was a folded paper on a table, and in the corner was the traitor's sword. What was it doing here? I picked up the paper and noticed a map placed next to it. Take this map and find the wizard. Use his sword, which I stole, and defeat him with it. Wow, so the witch had stolen the sword, but somehow the traitor got it. When he disappeared, I guess the sword came back here. I picked it up. It was huge. Can I even swing this thing? It was too heavy for me, but that's when I spotted something. There was a chest on the table where the note was. I opened it up and saw several potions and rare items in there. The purple potion in the middle catching my eye. I picked it up. A power-up potion. I wonder what this does. The description said, drink me, as well as that it had been brewed at the peak of witching hour. That sounded amazing, so I decided to listen to the potion and give it a try. I drank the potion down and immediately felt it start to change something inside of me. I started to grow in size, gaining hearts, and felt much stronger. Strong enough to swing a sword? I tried it, and now I could swing the sword easily. So I grabbed the map, sword, and a few of the strange glowing potions. In the other corner of the room, I spotted something interesting. Is that what I think it is? That clearly looked like a witch's broom. I think I found my way of reaching the wizard now. I took out my pickaxe and dug through the collapsed door, entering a cave which led me back out. On days 90 to 94, I used the map to figure out where the wizard was hiding. Sure enough, he was in the mountains near where I had met the other witch. I needed to prepare for this battle. I looked at the glowing potions. One was a potion of invisibility, which sounded pretty useful. Another said, potion of disintegration. What was that? Its label read, do not drink me. I didn't want to use a potion that I didn't understand, so I went back to the diary. I flipped to the back of the book where the witch had made a list of all the potions and their uses. Looks like this is one of the strongest potions out there. I better use it carefully. I grabbed the bag and a bite to eat as I left my house. But before I went to confront the wizard, there was one more thing to do. Finish my statue. Batty and his family weren't around to help me this time, but I still managed to finish it. There, I think it looks pretty good. But what do you think? With everything prepared, I placed down the broom in the courtyard and climbed on, soaring up into the air and over the tree line. I flew across the lake, over the forest, over a pumpkin grove, and over the fields. Then I saw the mountains getting closer. I saw the witch's hut, but I went past it. I didn't have any time to spare. I flew and flew up the mountainside until everything on the ground was barely visible. Looking at the edge of a steep cliff, I saw it, a great black castle. That must be where the wizard lives. I'm getting so close. Maybe I should take this invisibility potion so he doesn't see me coming. I drank the potion and turned invisible. Feeling safer, I flew up to his castle. The gate was wide open. Wow, this guy must feel pretty safe up here in the clouds to just leave his gate open. I peeked inside. On days 95 to 98, I snuck inside the wizard's castle. Even though I was invisible, I knew I had to be quiet and careful or he would realize I was there. The castle was huge. There were so many hallways and stairs, I didn't know where to start. I had to find the wizard though, so I started walking down the darkest, scariest looking hallway. I figured that was my best shot. As I walked down the hall, I started hearing whispering voices. It was hard to understand what they were saying, but one thing I did hear.
You've reached the wizard's lair, and the final battle approaches. Only the strongest warrior dares to fight the wizard. If you've enjoyed this journey, prove it by liking this video and subscribing to our channel.
On day 99, I kept following the voices until I reached a solid wall, blocking the rest of the hallway. Had I reached a dead end? Suddenly, I heard a voice calling calling out.
Zozo? Zozo, where are you?
It was Batty's sister again. I didn't know how she had followed me or escaped evil spells, but I was so happy to see her. Hey, I'm over here. I turned off my invisibility so that she could see me.
Oh, there you are, Zozo. I came to tell you it's not a dead end. Don't worry. I've been following Batty, and I know how to get in. This wall is a door. Punch the bottom right brick, and you can open it.
I walked towards the wall and punched a brick on the side. The wall lifted upwards, revealing a new hallway. Thanks, but now you should really get out of here. Things are about to get really crazy.
Good luck, Zozo. I'll see you back at base.
I went down the hallway, which ended with a staircase. At the top of the stairs, there was a big open room. Right next to the window was a huge throne, and in the throne sat the wizard.
So you found me, but you still have to defeat me, and you never will.
The wizard stood up and raised his hands to cast a spell. This was the moment to throw my potion of disintegration. It exploded around him, but didn't do anything.
You thought you could use a potion against me? You silly witch. I am invincible to all magic except my own.
What did that mean? How could he not be invincible to his own magic? Then I realized something. I had his sword. I pulled out the sword and it started glowing. It was a magical sword, and it was the wizard's sword. Did this mean I could destroy him with it?
Where did you get that sword? That was my master's sword that he gave me when I became the wizard, but another witch stole it from me. How do you have it?
Doesn't matter how I got it, buddy. What matters is that I'm going to use it to destroy you. Before I could attack him, though, I felt some of the sword's power start to enter me. I grew to be even bigger with even more hearts, and now I had a cool magical effect surrounding me. I ran towards the wizard, but as soon as I got close to him, he teleported behind me. That's not good. I charged at him again, only for him to teleport away, but I could tell he was getting tired. He summoned ice spheres that circled around him as I rushed at him again. He didn't have time to teleport away, but he snared me instead, landing more firebolts on me before teleporting away again.
No, how are you still standing? My spell should have taken you down.
I don't know, dude, but take this! Before he could do anything else, I swung the sword as hard as I could and hit the wizard. He screamed as his magic started to seep out of him. I backed away right before he vanished in a white explosion. I had defeated the wizard. Time to get out of here! I rode my broom all the way back to the base, drinking healing potions to recover on the way. As I flew over the forest, I wondered what I would find. As soon as I passed over the forest, I heard cheering. All the rabbits and squirrels had come out to welcome me home, and not a single one of them attacked me. I was so relieved and excited to get back to base. I glided across the lake and saw the crabs celebrating my return. I got to the island, and right there in front of me were Frog, Batty, and Batty's entire family. All their eyes were normal, and they were cheering.
You did it, Zozo! You defeated the wizard!
Batty, it's so good to see you again. I'm so happy you're free of the evil spell. Now I'm going to go inside, eat a nice big meal, and go to sleep. If another evil wizard comes back, you know where I'll be. On day 1, I spawned in as a police officer. Well, I was actually just a rookie, and I was pretty small, too. It's okay, I'll move up in no time. But where are all my other cop friends? Hello, is my partner around here? I was all alone, so I checked out my gear and realized I already had some handcuffs. Cool! Just then, I noticed some bandits nearby. They were around a cage full of citizens. I approached them, but before I knew it, they were attacking me. Hey, that's no way to treat an officer. What is going on here? Why is there so much crime? It's like the criminals are in control. I wanted to help the citizens, but I only had 5 hearts, and they were running low, fast. I hurried and ran away. I didn't feel good doing it, but I really needed to heal up before I could help anybody else. I found a small cave and made camp for the night. As I went to sleep, I wondered again where all the other cops were, and why it seemed like all the criminals had taken over. On day 2, I woke up and got right down to business. If there were no other cops, then I'd have to take care of things myself. I chopped down some trees and gathered some wood to make a crafting table. With that, I was able to make a wooden sword, pickaxe, shovel, and some other simple tools. These aren't the best, but they will do for now. I went out exploring and found a small village. I looked around, but everyone seemed to be gone. I wonder where everyone went. Just then, I heard some noise from behind a fence. It was a teenage girl. Hey, it's okay, I can help. She looked a little frightened, but she eventually came out of her hiding place. What happened?
There were some bandits that attacked our village. They took everyone captive, including my family.
I think I saw them earlier. I'm so sorry. I'll do what I can to get your family back. She seemed happy to hear that.
I'm Izzy.
I'm Zozo. Hey, we should find a safe place to go. If I build us a safe house, would you want to stay there? She happily agreed. Before we left, we went through the houses to gather some supplies. I found some leather, coal, and some food. I also harvested what was left of the crops so we could make ourselves a garden. On day 3, Izzy and I started off into the forest. I found a section of land we liked and decided to build a base there. We started building and made ourselves some simple houses. Then I started a little garden with the seeds I had collected.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a good cop.
It is my job to serve and protect. Just then, a bunch of rats came out from behind some trees. Oh, gross, get away! I was sure glad I had my new sword, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to defeat them. After I took out the last rat, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up. Cool, I'm an actual officer now. I had a shiny new baton and everything. I even gained a few more hearts. On days 4 to 5, I went out to gather some more materials. I was able to mine some cobblestone to make some new tools. On my way back to the base, I saw some bandits nearby. They looked like the ones I had seen earlier, but they didn't have a cage this time. There were only a few of them, so I knew I could take them out. I charged at them and attacked with my baton. I managed to get some hits in, but I finally defeated them all. Nice! I noticed that one had dropped something, so I picked it up. It was a note that told the bandits where to go to capture more people. It was signed by someone named Jenkins. That must be who they are working for. I'll have to find out some more information about him later. I returned to the base and greeted Izzy. She seemed really happy to be in a safe place. Hopefully we could help others find refuge here too. On day 6 to 8, I crafted some new stuff from the supplies I had gathered. I made a furnace and then made a tunic and some boots, using the leather I had looted from the village. Yeah, I'm ready to take on anything now. Just then, I heard Izzy screaming outside. I rushed out and followed her voice. I found her by the waterside being attacked by some spiders. Get back, you nasties! With my baton, I was easily able to defeat all of them.
Thanks, Zozo.
No problem, just be careful in the future.
Will do. Hey, I have something for you.
Izzy threw me some flowers she had picked.
I picked these for you. I thought they could brighten up the base a little bit.
For sure. We went back to the base, and I went right ahead and planted some of the flowers. Izzy was right. It did give a little life to the place. Just don't go wandering off again. I can't protect you if you're too far away. She nodded. Here, I'll make you a sword, just in case. I went over to my crafting table and made Izzy a simple sword and some other tools.
Thanks. These are great.
She went outside to pick some flowers, this time closer to the base. She's a funny one. I just hope she doesn't get into trouble again. On days 9 to 10, I decided to go out and search for some new materials. And I wanted more information about Jenkins. I'm sure somebody knew something. I found another village that seemed abandoned. I started to gather up some crops when I heard a scream. I ran around the corner to see some bandits capturing people. I also noted one huge buff guy in a suit. That seems strange. I charged toward the bandits and took out a few. Then the man in the suit laughed. I charged at him, but he sidestepped me. He drew a large sword that seemed to glow red. He smacked me once and nearly took me out. I had to hide so he wouldn't destroy me. The bandits and the man left, taking the villagers with them. I felt so angry that I couldn't do anything. Then I noticed one of the bandits on the ground. I had hit him, but he was still alive. He was trying to crawl away. Hey, I hurried and handcuffed him. He struggled, but he was frozen in place. Where are you taking the people you're capturing? The bandit threw a potato at me. I was about to make my final swing with my baton when he started screaming.
Okay, I'll talk.
That's what I like to hear.
We work for Jenkins, the mob boss. We were taking the prisoners back to his compound.
Why is he capturing people?
He captures basically everyone he doesn't like. Only the lucky ones get to be his bandits.
Sure, lucky.
I was captured a long time ago, but Jenkins liked me, so now I work for him.
Why didn't you help people instead of capturing them?
Jenkins is too powerful. Anyone who tries to fight him is always beaten.
I could see why. That sword he had was different somehow. Really powerful too. But he couldn't keep taking people away. It wasn't right. I'm going to defeat him. The bandit seemed intrigued.
You really think you can take him on?
I wasn't entirely sure, but I knew somebody had to try. It's the right thing to do. The bandit seemed even more intrigued.
Can I join you?
I was a little suspicious of him, but I decided to let him come with me. If anything, he could give me some valuable information.
I'm Lionel.
I'm Officer Zozo. Nice to meet you. On days 11 through 12, I took Lionel's cuffs off and we headed back to the base. We started to work on a small house for him. He seemed really happy.
I haven't had my own house in so long. Jenkins just keeps us all in small bunks together. Thanks, Zozo.
Of course. Lionel actually seemed like a good guy. Maybe we would be friends after all. I introduced him to Izzy, and she seemed a little suspicious of him too. After a while though, she warmed up to him, especially after he offered to help her pick flowers. I decided the base was in good hands, so I went back to the cave to gather some more materials. As I went deeper, I noticed some skeletons were guarding a big deposit of iron. I could really use that. I charged toward the iron, but the skeletons had bows and arrows. Whoa, I didn't notice that. They all shot at me and depleted almost all of my health. I can't do this, I'm gonna die. I ran off and tried to heal for a minute. Oh, that was intense. I need some better weapons, but that iron is what I need to make a better sword. I went down a different tunnel and found a different iron deposit. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to craft a new sword. Perfect. I creeped back down the tunnel and charged the skeletons again. It was tricky, but I was finally able to defeat them all. They even dropped some nice bows, which I promptly looted. Thank goodness. I mined all the iron and took it back home with me. I was able to make some more tools and even some armor. Yeah, this is amazing. I then called it a day. On days 13 to 15, I woke up to Lionel knocking on my door. Hey Lionel, what's up?
Zozo, I need to tell you something about Jenkins.
We sat down.
I really want to be optimistic, but Jenkins is really powerful.
I know, Lionel, but I am getting stronger.
But you don't understand, Zozo. Jenkins isn't just a normal guy. He once was, but when he was younger, he was hungry for power. His father was the mob boss, but Jenkins wanted to be in charge. He made a blood oath to some supernatural force, and it gave him his red blinking sword. He destroyed his father as a sacrifice. Jenkins gained power over the people, but the sword gained power over him. It's basically alive and it feeds on people. That's why Jenkins keeps capturing people, to feed the sword and keep his power.
This was a lot to take in. I thought it was just a blinking sword. This was something I wasn't sure I could handle.
I wanted to tell you so you know what you're going up against.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Lionel left and I sat there for a while. I was way in over my head. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to Lionel yelling my name. I opened the door. What is it, Lionel?
It's Izzy. She's missing. But here, there's a note and a map.
I took the note and read it. Izzy had gone outside and been captured by some villagers. They told me that if I wanted her back, I would need to pay them in gold. They even drew us a little map to where we needed to go.
We don't have any gold.
It doesn't matter. We need to go get her. Come on, let's go. We headed out in the direction the map said and reached a desert. Soon, we made it to a small village. It looked like it was in ruins. Hello, we are here to get our friend back. We turned the corner and saw Izzy. She was in a cage and surrounded by a few villagers. One villager with a wooden crown and sword came forward.
Give us the gold and we won't hurt you.
We don't have any gold. Give us our friend.
No, if you don't give me my gold, then I'll take it from you.
The villager lunged and attacked me. He was a good fighter, but I was better. After just a minute, I managed to defeat him. I felt another surge of power, and I leveled up into a sergeant. Nice! Izzy ran towards us and cried happily.
Thanks for saving me. I won't wander outside at night ever again.
A young man stepped forward. Are you really going to save us from Jenkins? That's what Izzy told us. He has a powerful sword that I'm not sure I can go up against. I know it could help. It's a legendary sword dropped by a knight in a battle long ago. It's been lost somewhere in the desert. That sparked a little hope in me. Maybe I could defeat Jenkins after all. Do you want to come live in our base? It'll be safer there. A few villagers wanted to stay in their homes, but the young man agreed. I'm Nick. Nice to meet you, Nick. I'm Sergeant Zozo. We gathered some supplies and then took off towards the base. On days 20 to 22, we arrived back at the base, but it was on fire. There were some zombies on fire too. What the heck? We hurried and defeated them and then put the fire out in the base. It looks like we have some work to do. Nick and Lionel helped me while Izzy went back in her house to rest. She had had a long day getting kidnapped and all. She deserved to sleep. We made some new improvements to the base, including a better fence, and started building a house for Nick. I was happy to have him around and looked forward to learning more about the sword he was talking about.
Hey Zozo, we should build a statue to let people know this is a safe place from Jenkins, and that you're gonna kick his bum.
Ha, that's a good idea, Lionel. We chatted about the statue with Nick and decided on something simple. Can you guess what it is? Also, hurry and hit subscribe so you can follow me on more adventures. On days 23 to 26, I was gathering some crops from our garden when a bunch of bees started attacking the base. Ah, where did you come from? Everyone got their weapons and we managed to fight them off. As I hit the last one, it dropped something. I picked it up and it was some golden apples. Wow, these look amazing. I should probably save them for later though. I went up to chat with Lionel. Hey, I think it would be really helpful if we scouted Jenkins' base, just to see what we were up against.
I think that's a great idea. We just need to be careful. There are guards literally everywhere.
Nick and Izzy decided to stay behind and work on the statue while we headed out to the compound. It was a little bit of a journey, but when we arrived, I could see what Lionel meant. It was huge, and there were guards all over the place. Wow, you weren't kidding.
I know that there is a guard entrance in the back, but only the higher-ranking guards or bandits can open it. And Jenkins, of course.
Just then, we saw a bandit running towards us. We started to run away and thought we had lost him, when suddenly he popped out from behind a tree.
Lionel, brother, I knew that was you.
Luke?
I heard you were dead, but when I saw you from the tower, I knew I had to come and get you.
Luke drew his sword and went to attack me.
No, don't! This is my friend Zozo. He's going to help us defeat Jenkins.
Luke snorted.
Yeah, right.
He will. He's going to find the legendary sword of the night and defeat him.
Luke seemed skeptical. I know it might seem impossible, but I can do it. I'll free everyone, and you won't have to be a slave anymore. Luke looked convinced enough.
Okay, I'm in. I don't like the food there anyway.
Luke chatted with us about what had happened recently with Jenkins. He had been raiding more and more villages lately, hungry for power. We then made our way back to the base. Once we got back to the base, we cleared out an area and made a house for Luke as well. Even though him and Lionel were brothers, they wanted their own places. I didn't blame them. We also made some improvements to the base, including some towers and a higher fence.
Wow, this is actually pretty rad, Sarge.
Luke saluted me incorrectly. He was an odd one, but I was glad to be helping people get away from Jenkins. On days 27 to 31, I went went to talk to Nick about the legendary sword. He was picking some flowers. Are those for Izzy? He seemed to blush a little bit.
Maybe.
Her favorite are the blue ones.
Hey, thanks.
He picked up some blue flowers while we chatted. So, the sword.
Yeah, so all I know is that it's buried somewhere deep in the desert. It's super powerful.
It sounded like a very interesting weapon. Junkins needed to be stopped, and this seemed like the only way to do it. Let's go find that sword.
All right.
We stopped at the base so that Nick could give his flowers to Izzy. She seemed really happy about them and wished us good luck. We gathered some supplies and then headed out into the desert. It was so big and I had no idea where to start. Any idea where it could be?
Just somewhere in the desert.
We started digging around, looking for some significant formations. It was honestly just a lot of sand. Then out of nowhere, a bunch of snakes came slithering up to us. Nope, none of that. I drew my sword and started fighting them off, but there were too many, and they started biting me. We need to go, Nick. We ran away and made our way back to the base. We felt discouraged, but I would find the sword. I just knew it. On days 32 to 35, we traveled back to the base. On the way there, we ran into a traveling merchant.
Hello! Lots of items for sale. Anything you could want, really. Name your price.
We aren't in need of items, but maybe you have some information. What do you know about the legendary sword that was lost in the desert? The merchant rifled through some items, looking for paper.
Yes, here it is. I once encountered a man who said it was buried in the furthest reaches of the desert, never to be found again.
Never?
Never!
He raised his arms dramatically and waved them around. I looked at Nick. This guy was a little bit wacky. Probably not the best source for information. Well, thanks. We'll be going now.
Not on my watch.
I turned around to see Jenkins with some of his guards. The merchant screamed and hid behind his camel.
I've met you before. You're that annoying little rookie I swatted back in the village.
It's Sergeant Zozo to you.
I drew my baton and attacked his guards.
I easily took a few of them out, but then I saw Jenkins use his blinking red sword. I was in trouble now. He smacked me and I felt my health start to drop. I still wasn't even close to being strong enough to defeat him. Just then, I looked in the merchant's shulker and saw some TNT. Yes. Take this, Jenkins! I placed the TNT and blew up the sand around us. Come on, Nick, we gotta go!
Wait for me!
The merchant sprinted behind us, cradling an armful of items. We all ran off towards the base, leaving Jenkins in a sandy mess. On days 36 to 39, we all arrived at the base safely. The merchant looked exhausted.
Thank you for saving me. Jenkins would have had my head for sure.
Of course, we are glad to have found another friend with us.
I'm Caleb. Please, let me repay you for your kindness.
The merchant handed me a rock he was holding. Thanks.
It's my favorite rock. Take good care of it.
I pocketed the rock, thinking how odd this man was. But then we decided to help Caleb set up a little shop in the base so he could continue to sell his wares, whatever they may be.
I lost most of my items in the commotion, but this will do for now.
Anything else you need?
Actually, if you could gather some sand for me, I could make some glass bottles to store more items.
I decided it wasn't too much of a hassle, so I went to the desert and gathered some sand for Caleb. When I came back, he was very grateful.
Ah, yes, perfect. This will definitely help.
I then decided to do some work on the statue for a little while. It was looking pretty good, but it wasn't done quite yet. On days 40 to 43, I went out to mine some more materials to make some upgrades to the base. On my way there, I passed by a small group of travelers. They looked like farmers of some sort, but they must have thought I was working with Jenkins because they yelled and tried to run away when they saw me. Wait, I won't hurt you. I'm a police officer. They stopped running and approached me.
Oh, a young hero. Maybe you can help us.
Sure, what is it?
All of our animals were stolen by some hooligans in the forest. If you could go get them back for us, we'd be so grateful.
It seemed like an easy enough task. Sure, do you know where they are?
Yes, they live in an outpost next to the foot of the mountains. We don't dare get close because they have better weapons than us.
I'll help you. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. I pointed them in the right direction, and they headed that way. I went towards the mountain they mentioned, and before long, I saw the outpost. There were a bunch of animals all shoved into a pen nearby.
Looky here, boys. We've got a live one.
I drew my sword and charged the pillagers. There weren't many of them, and their weapons were very simple. I picked off a few of them easily, but their leader seemed a little more skilled. We exchanged a few more blows, but after a minute, I defeated him. Alright guys, let's get you back to your owners. I grabbed some leads from the house and wrangled up the animals. We were able to make it back to the base safely. When we got there, the farmers were overjoyed.
Thank you, Zozo. Please feel free to use as much wool and milk as you'd like.
Thanks. It would be really good to have some more food sources, and the farmer seemed more than happy to stay with us. On days 44 to 49, I journeyed back to the desert where I'd gathered the sand for Caleb. I figured there could be some other useful materials nearby. When I got there, I noticed there was a sea turtle being attacked by a squid. Hey, you let him go! I jumped in and smacked the squid. He tried to maneuver back deeper into the water, but I was too fast. Before I knew it, the squid was defeated. Thank you, sir. You are my hero. The sea turtle nodded in appreciation. Of course, I am here to serve and protect everyone.
That's so good to hear. It's been so long since we've had a hero in this land. I remember when that knight promised to protect everyone, but he went bad.
This was new information. Bad how?
Do you not know the story?
Can't say that I do.
The knight was named Polybius. He protected the king and his daughter, but he realized there were too many enemies, and he was only one man. So he prayed to a deity, begging for their help to protect his friends. They granted him the sword, and he named it Brink.
Brink?
Because everything was on the brink of destruction.
Okay, continue.
So he was gifted Brink and was told that it would always be his if his goals remained true and right to the kingdom. Time went on, and he was able to vanquish all of the king's enemies. But after a while, Polybius became prideful and decided he wanted to show everyone how powerful he was. He challenged a man to a duel of strength, and he was defeated. The sword fell to the ground, but nobody was able to pick it up. Over time, the ground changed and it was buried within the earth.
So how would someone pick it up?
If your goals are true to the kingdom, or I guess now just the land, then you should be able to pick it up.
This was good information to have. Even if I did find the sword, would I be worthy enough to retrieve it? Thank you. You've been a lot of help.
Of course. Thank you.
And with that, the turtle swam off. I gathered some more materials while I thought about what he said. I really hope I can get that sword. It's our only option at this point. On days 50 to 53, I decided to go deeper into the desert to see if I could get any clues as to where the sword might be. While out looking around, I happened upon the group of snakes again. Hey, get out of my way! I had grown stronger since the last time I saw these danger noodles, so I was able to defeat them easily. If only I could defeat Jenkins that easily.
Did you say Jenkins?
I flipped around and saw an old backpacker standing nearby. Yeah, I did.
Good for nothing, scoundrel.
The man spit into the sand.
If you want to defeat him, you better get that sword I've heard so much about.
I'm trying to, I just have no idea where to find it. The backpacker pulled out a paper with a drawing on it. It looked like a hand reaching up.
I was told that the sword is buried deep underneath this rock formation. I haven't seen it in my travels, but maybe you'll find it.
Wow, thanks, this helps a lot.
Of course, you might want this too.
He handed me a bunch of diamonds. I can't take these away from you.
Sure you can. Just promise when you defeat Jenkins, you tell everyone how much I helped you.
I will, sir.
It's good old Tim.
Tim.
No, good old Tim. The whole thing.
Oh, right. Thanks, good old Tim. He waved goodbye and headed off. What an interesting dude. On days 54 to 57, I went back to the base to make some new armor out of the diamonds I had gotten. Wow, this is incredible! I also made some new tools so that I could do some renovations to the base. I added some lanterns, expanded the garden, and made sure everything was well lit. Everything was looking great. I then decided it was too late to do anything else and went to sleep. In the morning, I heard a familiar voice coming from outside.
Zozo, I need your assistance, if you please.
Caleb was calling to me from his shop. I headed over to chat with him. Hey Caleb, what else do you need?
Those bottles were great, but now I need a few more things in order for my shop to really thrive.
Okay, what do you need?
Melons.
Melons?
Yes, melons. Now off with you.
I shrugged my shoulders. Caleb was odd, but I wanted him to be happy. It seemed like an easy enough task. I went exploring for a little bit in the forest before I happened upon some melons. Easy enough. I harvested the melons, gathered some of the seeds, and headed back to the base. I brought them back to Caleb.
Perfect.
He started mixing some stuff together in the back, and then came out a few minutes later with a bottle.
Here you are, Sergeant.
I looked, and it was a potion of healing. Oh wow, thanks Caleb. This will really come in handy.
Of course. Anything for you, good sir.
He gave me a half bow with an awkward salute. It was good enough. On days 58 to 62, we worked on the statue for a little while. It was starting to look almost as I had intended. So how was your first guess? Do you think you know what it is still? I was standing on the top when I saw the base being attacked down below. Hey, those look like some of Jenkins' bandits. I hurried and ran down to fight them off. Get out of our home, you good-for-nothing scoundrels. I was starting to sound a little bit like good old Tim. I was able to fight almost all of them off. A few escaped, but I wasn't too worried about them. I was able to head back to my house when I heard Izzy yelling for me.
Zozo, come quick, it's Lionel.
I ran to Lionel's house and found him hunched over on the floor. He looked really bad. Hey buddy, let's get you some help.
No, it's too late for me, Zozo. Just go get Luke for me.
Luke? Is he in his house?
No, he's the one who stabbed me. I overheard him talking to the bandits. He was in league with them all along. Jenkins wants Brink for himself so that nobody can defeat him. Apparently, they just found out about an old lady who knows exactly where to find the sword.
I couldn't believe it. Luke seemed like an okay guy. How could anyone betray their brother like that? Don't worry, Lionel. I'll get him.
Hurry, Zozo. He already left out of the back door.
Lionel took in one last breath, and then he died. I was so angry, but I didn't have time for that right now. I needed to go after Luke and find the sword before he could. On days 63 to 66, I followed some tracks leading into a woodland area. They must have been Luke's and the other bandits that got away. I tracked them for a while before coming to a small rundown cottage. The door was broken and I heard some yelling. I ran inside, drawing my sword. The two bandits were rummaging around, stealing from an old lady. She was sitting helpless in a chair. Hey, you get out of here! I quickly picked off the bandits and gave the old lady back her things.
Thank you, young man. I owe you my life.
life.
All I need is some information, ma'am, and apparently you have it. She nodded like she understood.
The sword is under a rock formation, shaped like a hand reaching toward the sky. It is said that is how the knight, Plebus, died.
I gave her the picture that good old Tim gave me. She looked at it.
That's the one. I saw it a long time ago when I was traveling through the far east side of the desert.
She drew me a simple map that led to its location. It seemed to point into the desert.
Here you go, young man. I fear that the other young man called Luke will find it before you do. So hurry.
Will do. Thank you. I took the map and ran as fast as I could toward the line the old lady had drawn. I hoped that Luke hadn't found it, but I did hope to find him. I had a score to settle. On days 67 to 70, I arrived at the rock formation. I noticed that more bandits were there, and I saw Luke with them. They were gathered around a cart and a tunnel someone had dug. I charged at them all. How dare you hurt my friends! I swung and slashed and managed to defeat all of them, which left Luke and I alone.
Just give up, Zozo. You've lost.
I yelled in anger and charged at Luke. Lionel was your brother! How could you have betrayed him like that?
He was garbage, just like you. I'm gonna enjoy throwing you out as well.
He charged again and he smacked me really hard. I didn't realize how close I was to the opening of the tunnel. I fell down and nearly died. Luke sneered at me from above, then took off running. Coward! I looked around and noticed that the tunnel extended further into the ground. I hoped that I would find what I was looking for down there. On day 71 to 74, I walked down the tunnel for a little while before entering a large cavern. There seemed to be something in the middle of the room. I went closer to examine it and realized they had dug out all the dirt surrounding the sword. They must have taken all of it with them. They had the sword, but obviously they couldn't wield it. Maybe I did have a chance, but I was really discouraged. If Jenkins had the sword in his compound, how was I supposed to beat him? I looked around to see if I could find anything else of value. There were a few deposits of coal, but nothing more. I climbed back up through the tunnel and into the desert. It was going to be a long and painful journey home. On day 75 to 78, I headed back to the base, my head hanging low. Nick ran toward me.
So did you get Luke? Where's the sword?
Luke escaped. They took the sword, too. I didn't really feel like talking. I honestly just felt really sad.
Zozo, I have something for you, my friend.
Caleb motioned me over. I'm not really in the mood, Caleb.
Trust me, you'll like this.
He pulled out something from underneath his counter.
Since you really liked the TNT from last time, I decided to make you some more.
He gave me a whole stash of it. It didn't really cheer me up since I already had loads from before, but I figured it could be useful later. Thanks, Caleb. I started toward my house, but then decided to go into Luke's instead. Maybe he left something of use behind. As I entered, I heard some noise. I turned around as Luke stepped into the room. How did you get in here?
Like I would tell you.
Luke unsheathed his sword and we fought again. This time, I wasn't going to let him escape. We exchanged blows, but I was way stronger than him. After just a few more hits, I was able to defeat him. That's for Lionel. Just then, I noticed that Luke had dropped some stuff. It looked like a key and a map. This key must be to the back door of the compound. All of a sudden, I felt power coursing through my veins, and I leveled up into a lieutenant. Wow. I even grew a mustache and got some cool new shades. Wow, look at me! I looked at the map. It led to a section of tundra. This must be where they were taking the sword to. Luke must have come back here to get some of his stuff before heading there. But how did he get in? I looked around and found a secret door leading down into the ground. I followed it and it opened up outside the base, hidden behind some bushes. That explains it. I went back and filled the tunnel up, making sure nobody else could get inside. On days 79 to 84, I followed the map to the tundra. It was freezing and I didn't really like it that much, but I passed some different animals, so that was cool. I finally arrived, the freezing air whipping through my hair and mustache. It's freezing. I decided to make myself a little igloo to keep myself warm. I knew Jenkins and his bandits were coming to the tundra. I just didn't know exactly where they would be. I guess the location on the map was incorrect? I went back outside to look around, but then I saw someone running toward me. I hurried to draw my sword, but the person stopped before they could reach me.
Wait, you're not Jenkins?
No, I'm not. Who are you?
I'm Meg. I've been following Jenkins and his crew for a while now. I'm trying to defeat him and save my family.
I'm trying to defeat him too. He's captured my friends and destroyed people that I love.
I'm sorry. Maybe we can work together.
Sounds good to me. How are you going to defeat him? She seemed uneasy.
Honestly, I wasn't exactly sure. I know that I'm a good fighter, but he is really powerful.
So you've been tracking him. Do you know where he is exactly? Meg shook her head.
I followed them, but there was a large snowstorm that came through. I lost my way, so I've been wandering around for a bit.
I invited her inside to get warm. I showed her the map and she got really excited.
Hey, there's an abandoned mine shaft around here.
She took out a pencil and drew a circle on the map.
I'll bet that's where they're headed.
Perfect, let's go! We gathered in all the warmth we could, and then we headed out to the mine shaft. On days 85 to 89, Meg and I went tromping through the snow to the abandoned mine shaft. It was so cold and snowy. We had been walking for a long time when we realized we were back at the igloo. What? How?
We must have gotten turned around in the snowstorm.
This was so frustrating.
You're wasting your time. Jenkins is long gone.
I flipped around and saw good old Tim. Hey, what are you doing here?
Ice fishing.
He didn't have a fishing pole though, so I was really confused. Okay, did you see Jenkins?
Yes, sir. Came around with a cart and headed down the mine shaft. He left, though. Still had the cart with him, so whatever it was didn't work. Or did. I don't know.
He shrugged nonchalantly. He must have taken the sword back to his compound. It all felt like a big waste of time. Good old Tim must have noticed I looked a little down because he put his hand on my shoulder.
It's okay, Lieutenant. Here, this'll cheer you up.
He handed me some ingots, which I realized were netherite.
That'll make you a good and proper sword, Lieutenant. Now go save us.
Wow, thank you. Where do you keep finding all of these things?
My secret.
Good old Tim smiled and winked at me. I looked at Meg, who smiled at me, and when I looked back, good old Tim was gone. Whoa, where did he go? I was starting to think that maybe good old Tim was my guardian angel or something. Meg and I shrugged at each other and headed into the igloo for the night. It had been a long and cold couple of days, and we needed some sleep. On days 90 to 94, I invited Meg to come back to the base, and she happily agreed. We gathered some more food along the way, since we figured our friends would be hungry. Once we got there, I repaired my armor and used my smithing table to upgrade my diamond sword into a netherite sword. It was amazing! I swung it around to test it out. This isn't Brink, but it'll sure give Jenkins a run for his money. I also upgraded my armor into netherite. It was going to be tough to beat me. I went outside to show my friends. They got really excited and started cheering me on.
Yeah, Zozo!
You're our hero!
Go beat Jenkins and get our land back!
I felt really strong and hopeful, but I knew there were a few things I needed to do before I could go infiltrate Jenkins' compound. On days 95 to 97, I woke up to the farmers I had helped calling out for me. I went outside and they gave me supplies to finish the statue as a thanks. Using everything they had given me, I got right to work. It took a little bit of time, but soon I had finished the statue. Wow, it looks amazing, guys. We did a great job.
No, thank you, Zozo. You've brought us all in and protected us. It's been a long time since anyone has had hope, but you've given it to us, so thank you.
I looked up at the statue of Brink. I knew that I didn't have the sword with me, but the statue gave me hope that I would find it again. I knew I could beat Jenkins. It was my destiny. On day 98, I went to say goodbye to my friends before heading out to the compound. Just then, Meg approached me from behind.
Zozo, I'd like to come with you. I want to fight alongside you and find my family.
You are more than welcome to come. We crafted Meg some better armor and weapons, and then we made one last trip around the base.
You take care of yourself, Lieutenant.
Will do, Nick. Take care of the base for us. If anyone else needs help, let them in.
For sure.
I talked to Caleb. He rummaged around and gave me and Meg another potion of healing.
Now go and be triumphant, young hero.
Thanks. We stopped at Izzy last. She gave me a beautiful arrangement of flowers.
Thank you for saving me, Zozo. Now go save everyone else.
Will do. I then left Izzy's house. If you want to support the last of our journey, be sure to subscribe. The more people we have, the stronger we can become. And with that, Meg and I headed out to the compound of Jenkins. On day 99, Meg and I arrived at the compound. We snuck to the back door and used the key Luke had dropped. It worked, and we snuck up through a tunnel into a large room. There were bandits everywhere. We decided to charge in and fight them. Meg and I fought our way through all of them easily, making our way to some stairs.
Zozo, I'm going to look for my family. You go find Jenkins.
Be safe. She went down the stairs and I went up further into the mansion. There were a few more bandits on the way, which I easily took out. I finally came to a large dark red room. It was incredibly creepy. At one end of the room, there was a lava lake with a pedestal. On top of it was a sword. That has to be Brink, but it's different than what I had imagined. I started towards it, but then felt something hit me backwards. It was Jenkins! He must have been hiding behind a pillar, waiting for me. His red sword blinked.
Young police officer, why won't you just stop bothering me?
I'm here to bring justice to those you have wronged. He laughed at me.
Sure. Do your worst, rookie.
I charged at him and our swords clashed. Then I noticed that my sword was not really effective at all. I needed to get Brink sooner rather than later.
Just give up. You're no match against me.
If that's so, then why couldn't you wield Brink? He yelled in anger.
It's just a silly, stubborn sword. I thought freezing it in the tundra mine would work, but it didn't. But it doesn't matter. I don't need a dinky little sword when I have this.
He swung his sword around, slicing at me. My health went down, but I hurried and drank a health potion. Thank goodness for those. I was able to maneuver around Jenkins and hit him, causing him to stumble. I knew this was my chance. I ran towards Brink, reaching towards the hilt. Jenkins ran after me, ready to swing.
No!
On day 100, Brink released from the pedestal into my hands. I felt an amazing surge of power, and I transformed into a bigger and stronger police officer. I was now the chief of police. I had robotic features, and the power from me stunned Jenkins for a second. Give up, Jenkins! He growled, and I attacked him. Our swords met, and his shattered into dust.
No!
He tried to run away, but I attacked. Jenkins was defeated in one single blow. I did it! I jumped for joy. I knew I would retrieve the sword and defeat Jenkins. We could all go home now. I hurried down the stairs and helped Meg release the prisoners. They all went back to their homes, finally at peace that the land was free of Jenkins. Meg and I made our way back to the base with her and Izzy's families. We all celebrated the victory, happy to know that everyone was safe. On day 1, I woke up in a basket, floating down a river. Whoa, where am I? Who am I? The basket washed up on the edge of the river, and I hopped onto the shore. That's when I noticed I had a cane in my hand. I took a closer look. The cane of Moses, a reminder of his parents. I'm Moses, but I'm just a baby with 3 hearts. At least my parents gave me this cool cane that doesn't seem to have any special powers. I wonder where they are. Just then, I heard a splash in the water behind me, and a crocodile came jumping out of the water. Ah, I gotta go. A giant crocodile like that could eat a baby like me in one bite. As I ran into the desert, I soon climbed a hill, finding a small village on the other side. A village? I'll bet there's someone here who can help me find my parents. As I ran into the village, I noticed there didn't seem to be anyone around. Hello? Anyone? Can anyone hear me? Hello? I had run through the whole village, but nobody was here. Another mystery to solve. It was soon getting late, so I decided that I'd spend the night here. Maybe I could find out what was going on tomorrow. On day 2, I woke up to the silence of the abandoned village. If I'm gonna find out where everyone went, I need to be prepared. The house I was in needed some repairs, so I headed over to the trees to get myself some wood. Using the wood I had gathered, I made myself a stone pickaxe as well as some wood slabs. Then I used the wood slabs to fill in the roof. Next up, more tools. I headed over to a nearby hill and used my pickaxe to gather limestone that could be used to make limestone tools. As I was mining though, a husk suddenly appeared at the top of the hill. Oh no, I don't have any weapons yet. I hurried and put together a crafting table, then used that to craft a limestone sword. I turned around just in time. The husk and I had a fearsome battle, and he brought me down to half a heart. Armed with my sword though, I was able to deliver the final blow. That's what you get for trying to mess with me. It was at that moment that I realized I didn't have any food. I had seen a wheat field earlier, so I built myself a bridge across the river so I could go to it. I was pretty sure I couldn't swim. I was just a baby after all. With my stomach growling, I quickly started harvesting as much wheat as I could. Suddenly, I heard something rustling in the wheat behind me and turned to see a hippo. Ah! Oh wait, you're just a baby, like me. What's your name? Just then, I heard a terrifying sound and turned to see an adult hippo looking right at me.
Get away from my little brother!
He looked angry, and I still only had half of a heart. I had to get out of there. I ran back across my bridge, breaking a couple blocks behind me. Once I had gotten away, I hurried and made myself some bread. Bread has never tasted so good. Later that evening, I heard a sound outside my window. When I looked outside, the baby hippo from before was out there.
Hey, I'm sorry to bug you, but I wanted to apologize for earlier. My brother Hugo is kind of intense.
I hopped down the side of the building. That's okay. He really scared me. You seem nice though.
I try to be. My name is Harry. Here, I brought you some fish to say sorry. I'll see you around.
I thanked him for the fish and quickly got them cooking in the furnace so they could be ready for the next day. Then I used some of my remaining limestone to finish making a set of limestone tools. On day 3, I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of footsteps. The villagers, they must be back. I hurried down the ladder to greet them when I was suddenly swarmed by a group of husks. Oh no, I forgot to fix the door. The husks tried to surround me as I ran out of the house. I could fight one of them off, but it wasn't looking like I could handle a whole group of them. Just as all hope was lost, Hugo came charging in to help. In no time, he managed to fight off all of the husks. Wow, you saved me. Thank you.
No problem. Harry told me he stopped by and said you were a nice guy. Sorry for scaring you earlier.
That's okay. Those husks should have been more scared. Feel free to stop by anytime. After Hugo had left, I suddenly felt more strength returning to my limbs, and I grew into a teenager. And now I have 7 hearts. The next day, I was walking around the edge of town when I saw someone taking a look at the basket I had spawned in. Just then, the crocodile that had attacked me showed up again, catching her off guard. Hang on, I'll help you. I ran over to her and started fighting off the crocodile. With my new strength, I was much better suited for this fight. I kept swinging my sword and was able to take him out.
Wow, nice moves. I thought I was a goner for sure.
I'm happy to help. Say, I was hoping you might be able to help me with something. The village over there is completely empty. Do you know what happened to everyone?
Oh, yes, the people that used to live here. They're gone.
Yeah, do you know where?
Yeah, I do. They moved.
Oh, really? All of them? Something bad must have happened.
No, not bad. They all live in the city now. My dad is actually the pharaoh there. Speaking of, you should come live in the city. It's really not safe out here.
I agreed, and she showed me the way. I was getting tired of being attacked by crocodiles and husks every day. On days 4 to 5, the princess and I arrived at the big city. The princess, whose name was Nubia, showed me around. Wow, this city is huge. It must have taken a long time for you guys to build everything. Nubia simply nodded as we walked closer to the palace. She was taking me to meet the pharaoh. As I entered the throne room, I could see the pharaoh sitting on his throne.
Nubia, welcome home. And who do we have here?
Father, I wanted you to meet Zozo. I was attacked by a crocodile, and he saved me when I thought all hope was lost.
Nubia, what have I told you about wandering along the river? Thank goodness young Zozo was here to save you. Zozo, I am in your debt. Please, let me settle it by giving you a place to stay here in our prosperous city.
Wow, that would be amazing. This is a beautiful city.
I will give you one of our finest rooms. You can live next door to my son. Ramses, come say hello to our new friend.
Ramses came running over with 2 servants behind him.
I heard you saved my sister. Nice going. Although don't get too comfortable uncomfortable. She's always needing someone to bail her out.
Nubia rolled her eyes as the pharaoh led us out to a balcony overlooking the city.
This city is my pride and joy. As our newest citizen, I just want to make sure you understand its history. Many years ago, I was born to rule and lead these people. If not for me, this place would be a disaster. So anyone who lives here should be happy and grateful to be here.
I nodded, but man, this guy really seemed full of himself. But I did appreciate having a place to stay. I couldn't wait to meet all the happy people in the kingdom.
Nubia, please, show Zozo around the city so he can see everything I've accomplished. Ramses, you join them. Go on.
Ramses, Nubia, and I left the palace, and they began to show me around. There were some really amazing things to see. There were monuments, statues, and lots of buildings. This was some of the best building I had ever seen. Wow, I can't believe your dad was able to build all of this. That's really impressive.
Well, he didn't actually build it himself. The people from the desert villages built a lot of it.
Yeah, but if Dad wouldn't have given them direction and a place to live, they would have been miserable. They're much happier here.
We continued the tour, but I started to notice that most of the people didn't seem to look very happy. In fact, I thought all of them looked like they were hungry. I wasn't so sure about all of this. At the end of the day, Ramses showed me to my room. It was a lot nicer than the rooms of the people we had passed. He told me to get some rest, as tomorrow there was a special show scheduled that he thought I'd enjoy. I headed over to the bed and laid down for the night. On day 6 through 8, I followed Nubia and Ramses out of the palace and to the city coliseum. Ramses seemed pretty excited about the special show we were going to. We soon reached the VIP booth where the pharaoh was already seated.
You can take my seat, Zozo. I like to get close to the action.
As I sat, I noticed that Nubia didn't seem very happy to be here, but she didn't say anything. Just then, a door in the arena opened and a gladiator came walking into the arena as the crowd cheered. Were we about to watch some kind of fight? Then the door on the opposite side opened and a giant hippo entered the arena. Is that Hugo? Hugo was chained to a post and the gladiator started to attack him. The crowd began to cheer. What is he doing? He's going to hurt him.
Yes, my boy, that is the point. That's our strongest warrior down there, giving us all a little entertainment after a long week's work.
But it's not even a fair fight. Hugo's chained to the post. He can barely fight back.
Hugo, don't tell me you've named the beast.
He's no beast. He's my friend. I'm sorry, but I have to do this. I thought I saw Nubia give me a small grin as I jumped down into the arena. I ran up to the gladiator and hit him with my sword.
What the? Where did this keep come from?
My hit had managed to distract the gladiator for just a second, which let Hugo start to get some hits in. With the gladiator distracted, I quickly broke the post he was chained to, then jumped on his back.
Enough!
Several pillars rose up from the ground as the pharaoh rose from his seat.
Zozo, we opened our homes to you out of the kindness of our hearts, and this is how you repay us? If you won't accept us, then we can never accept you. Leave now, or my gladiator will destroy you. You are hereby banished.
This hippo is my friend. I can't support someone who would hurt him for their own entertainment. I'm sorry. I turned and rode out of the city on Hugo's back. How was I going to survive now? On days 9 through 10, I was wandering in the desert. Hugo had told me to stay with him, but I couldn't risk putting him in danger, so I continued on alone. But I couldn't feel too bad for myself, as I was suddenly attacked by a pack of hyenas. I'm definitely not in the city anymore. Get back, you fiends! The hyenas snapped at me, but I managed to hit them enough to keep them all away from me. I better hurry and find some place to set up camp. It's starting to get hot out here. Lucky for me, I soon came across some old ruins. There are all kinds of cool structures here. As I walked through the ruins, I also saw there was an oasis nearby. Oh man, this is just what I needed. This oasis was a beautiful spot to build a camp to live in, so I got right to work building myself a house. It wasn't anything big or fancy, but it was just right for me. I soon finished. Well, I might as well check out some of these ruins while I'm here. I hiked into some of the nearby ruins and started looking through the dusty crates. There were some basic food and resources, but the real gem was the golden desert armor. I kept looking through the crates and was able to find an entire set. This is great. I'm already starting to feel safer. I hiked back to my camp when I heard some sheep nearby. I gathered them up and put them in a pen. These sheep give me an idea. I found a nice plot in the desert and started working on a statue. I think this is going to look really cool out here. I'd love to hear what you think it's going to be. After a bit, part 1 of the statue was complete. On days 11 through 12, I woke up to something interesting outside my door. It was a note. Hello, I saw you come to the old ruin down below. I saw you build with such passion and enthusiasm. You show great promise. I would like to meet you. Come to the location marked on the map. It is in the mountains near here. This could be a trap set by the pharaoh, but I think it's worth the risk. They might be able to help me. With the map in hand, I made my way out into the desert. I had to climb a large hill, but as I reached the top, I saw a torch outside a cave. Inside the cave was an old man.
Zozo, I'm so happy you've come.
Hi, who are you?
I used to be the leader of the desert people, but the pharaoh came and forced them to work for him. He says everyone is happy, but that's because anyone who says otherwise is never seen again.
I knew something was off. I could tell the people in the city weren't as happy as he said they were. Are you going to save them? The old man smiled.
In a way, but that work will be done through you.
Me? How could someone like me ever defeat a powerful pharaoh?
He is powerful, but he relies too much on his own strength. There are other ways we can defeat him.
What do you mean?
That city is his greatest source of pride. If we can destroy destroy his city, not only will he fall apart, but the people of the city can rise up and escape. That city is nothing without the work of the people. It will be up to you to make things bad for him. I should also mention that there is a powerful item buried in this cave. You're not ready for it yet, but I know one day you will be.
I'll do my best. I think I know where to get started. I thanked the old man and headed out of the cave. It was time to head back to the city. On days 13 to 15, I crossed the desert back toward the city. The city soon came into view, and I started stacking my way to the top of the city. If I was going to cause some disruptions, I needed to get a closer look at what was around. I ran along the top of the city and looked over the edge. That's when I noticed there was a water supply running through the center of the city. If I could disrupt the water supply, that would definitely cause some problems for the pharaoh. But I can't cut it off. That would hurt innocent people. Just then, I had the perfect idea, but I needed to head back to the river. I ran back across the city top and headed to the river. Soon, I had reached the riverside, and I could see flowers on the other side.
Need a ride?
Hugo, perfect timing. I was just wondering how I would get across. I soon reached the other side and started gathering up as many roses and poppies as I could. I was going to need them for my special project. Once I had finished collecting as many as I could, I met Hugo back down by the river.
Hey, I found this health regeneration necklace at the bottom of the river. I thought you might be interested in it.
Hugo tossed out the necklace, which I picked up and equipped. He then let me hop on his back and gave me a ride back across the river. Time to get back to the base and start working on my secret plan. On day 16 to 19, I got right to work building a mill. I had a big project in mind, so I was going to need a tool to help me get all of the work done quick. The mill was soon complete, and I got right to work, adding all of the flowers I had gathered the day before to the machine. It didn't take too long, but I soon had a large amount of red dye. This ought to be enough dye. It's all coming together. Just then, I heard a sound outside and went to check out the noise. There was a group of tomb raiders outside. They must be here to raid the ruins. They caught sight of me and charged. I'm not a bad guy. Back off. The raiders were strong and nearly took all of my health. They had some good gear. I wonder if they found all of this in the old tombs. Thankfully, though, I was able to overcome their sword swings and take them all out. As they disappeared, I noticed that they dropped some iron bars. Iron! This will help me be even stronger than before. Guess I'm glad they came here after all. Just then, I felt more strength surge through me, and I grew into an adult. And check it out, I even have a beard. Oh, and more hearts, too. I headed over to the crafting table, and by using the iron I'd picked up, made myself some new iron gear. If anything went wrong on my secret mission tomorrow, I would be ready for a fight. Then I went over to the statue and got to work on the second part. It might look like I'm finishing it, but I have a whole other part to do. Be sure to keep watching to see what it is. On days 20 to 22, I snuck my way back over to the city, ready to put my plan into action. But first, I had to make it there, as I was suddenly attacked by a group of wraiths. Ah, you guys are freaky! With my new iron gear, though, they were going to have a hard time taking me out. I swung my sword and was able to destroy all of them. That was scary, but I've got a mission to complete. Soon, I was making my way through the city streets. There were a lot of guards wandering around, but if I was sneaky, I could weave through the buildings. I had to get to the water supply. I almost got caught, but finally, I made it to the source of the water.
Halt!
Uh-oh, looks like I've got company. A small group of guards attacked. There were a lot of them, but I had to see this through. They hit me again and again, nearly taking all of my health. I can't let them win. I must save the people of this city. I rose up and started swinging even stronger than before. I was starting to win. There was only one guy left, but he managed to get away. I better hurry. I'm sure there will be more guards coming soon. I ran back over to the water supply and started throwing the dye into the water. If I could turn the water red, people might start blaming the pharaoh for their lack of clean water. It took a little while for the change to take effect, but soon the water had all turned red.
What do you think you're doing?
I looked down and saw the guard had returned with the gladiator from the arena. I wasn't going to be able to run away this time.
Who do you think you are, coming back here? And what happened to the water? What have you done?
The pharaoh is no hero. He's forcing people to work for him. It's not right. He needs to let these people go.
No one's gonna ruin our city, especially a little desert man like you.
The gladiator attacked. This was their city's strongest warrior. This was going to be quite the fight. He had a massive sword that really packed a punch. It doesn't have to be like this. Surely you can see that the pharaoh is evil.
My life seems pretty good. Too bad yours is over.
My health was nearly gone, but I had to keep fighting for these people. I kept moving and was finally able to land the final hit. As the gladiator disappeared, he dropped his sword. A claymore, huh? This thing is huge, but it's as light as a feather. I took a look at the guard, and he took off running again. What a wimp. I took a look at the water again. Well, I'm surely going to get the pharaoh's attention now. Just then, I heard a bunch of feet running. A whole battalion of guards were running right at me. That's my cue. Time to go. I jumped over the wall, and the guards ran up and looked down at me. Now I just need to wait and see how the pharaoh responds to my mission. On days 23 to 26, I was still making my way across the desert. Up ahead, I could see some orange rocks. Oh, I could use those for the next stage of the statue. I ran over and got to work mining them out. I've got a cool idea for what I could add to the statue. I think everyone will really like it. As I finished mining, I noticed there was a cave nearby. Maybe there are resources inside I could use. I made my way down into the cave and soon came across some iron ore. Perfect, this is just what I was looking for. I kept going deeper into the cave, mining more resources. Suddenly, the room opened up and there was a massive subscribe on the wall. all. Oh, wow. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you are too. If you haven't subbed yet, I'd love to have you join the team. On days 27 to 31, I was out of the cave and heading back to my base. As I was crossing the desert, I saw a bunch of camels escaping from their caravan. Hang on, I'll help you. The camels went running off behind a small dune, and I followed them to the other side. I soon saw that the animals had gathered at a nearby oasis. Hey guys, you were just a little thirsty, weren't you? Suddenly, the camels ran away, and a giant crab came walking out of the water. Whoa, where the heck did you come from? The crab snapped at me with his pincers as I swung my sword. His hard shell was difficult to crack, but not too hard for my new sword. The crab was quickly defeated. Whew, now let's get these camels back to their rightful owner. I led the camels back to the grateful trader.
Thank you, sir. Say, are you the one who changed the city water red? I'm glad someone is standing up to the pharaoh. I have a lot of good friends trapped in that city. I passed by there and the pharaoh was pretty mad.
Oh yeah? I'm glad to hear it worked. Hopefully it'll make the people angry enough to rise up against him.
Well, everyone is upset and he's mad, but he's made it even harder for everyone. He's also doubled security around the city. I'm afraid it didn't do what you were hoping.
Oh no, I'll have to figure something else out.
I know just the thing.
The trader headed over to one of his chests, then returned and placed a strange box in front of me.
Here, you can have this. Think of it as a thank you for rescuing my camels.
The trader opened the box and a bunch of frogs jumped out. I didn't see how a box full of frogs, which now had no frogs in it, was going to be any help, but I didn't want to be rude as he was clearly excited to give it to me. Wow, that is so cool. Thanks. I invited the trader to come stay at my base with me to sell his wares. The city wouldn't be safe for him if people knew he had helped me. He agreed, but needed to take care of some things first. I picked the box up and headed back to my base. What could I do next to stop the pharaoh? On days 32 to 35, I returned back to my base. I wasn't sure what to do next yet, but figured it would be a good time to empty my pockets and start smelting the iron I'd collected. With the iron ingots, I then crafted a full set of desert iron armor, as well as a new set of iron tools. I had also gotten a few diamonds in the cave earlier, so I used those to make myself a new diamond pick. Whatever my next step is, I'll be ready for a fight. Just then, I heard the sound of a camel outside and met the trader as he rode up. Hey, glad you could make it. I was thinking about it, and I think it'll be a good idea if we build you a shop. Maybe people are scared to leave the city because they have nowhere else to go.
That is a brilliant idea. I just picked up some fresh items, so I have plenty of things to sell.
I quickly got to work building the trader a shop. If I couldn't free all the people from the city, at the very least I could give the ones who do escape a place to live. The shop was soon finished. Once the trader had settled in, I walked up to see what he had to sell. Hey, I hope you're all settled in. I was hoping you might have some kind of special item that could help me get back at the pharaoh. The trader gave me a confused look.
What do you mean? I thought you would be able to do something with the frog box.
Oh yeah, I mean it was really cool when you showed me it was full of frogs, but since they all had hopped away, I don't really know what to do with it now.
I see. I may not have explained it very well. You see, it's an infinite frog box. Every time you open it, more frogs will come out. You will never run out of frogs.
Man, this guy was really into frogs. But just then, inspiration struck. I had a new idea to get back to the pharaoh, but I was gonna need some help from some old friends. On days 36 to 39, I had arrived back at the river where I met up with Hugo and some of his pals. Hugo, I had a question for you. I recently got this box that can create infinite frogs, and I know just what to do with it. The problem is, I don't have a good way to get into the city now that it has increased security. Do you know a good way in? Before Hugo could answer though, the small bird on his back piped up.
Oh, I know just the thing. Hang on one second.
The little bird flew off. Where could he be going? Moments later, he returned with a much bigger bird.
This is my friend. We're all sick of the pharaoh capturing all of our bird friends and keeping them in cages.
The big bird explained that he could pick me up and carry me over the city, which would let me shake the box, dropping frogs through the whole city. That's a perfect plan. Meet me at the mountaintop near my base tomorrow morning. We've got some frogs to drop. On days 40 to 43, the big bird met me on top of the mountain. I hopped on his back, and we flew away toward the city. As we got closer, I could see all the new guards defending it. Let's see them defend against this. As we flew over the city, I started dropping frogs. Down below, I could see the city had started to wake up, with a few people roaming around the streets. As the frogs landed, I could hear screams as people began to panic. It looks like the plan is working. By the time I had finished dropping the frogs, the sun had fully risen, and the whole city could see something was wrong. I was too busy looking down at the people when I accidentally slipped and fell off the bird, landing in the water below. Oh, that wasn't part of the plan. I hopped up as a couple of townspeople ran over to me.
Zozo, these frogs are disgusting, but we're so glad you're here. The pharaoh is so mean. We want to help, but don't have anywhere to go.
Just then, I heard a shout. The guards were coming. Stay behind me. I have a safe place we can go. We ran for the exit as a group of guards charged at us. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight my way out of this one. The guards were intense, but I was able to cut them down and keep pushing for the exit. Soon enough, we had fought our way out of the city and ran to the desert. I wonder if the frogs would be enough for the pharaoh to let the people go. On days 44 to 49, I arrived back at the base with all of the villagers. We went to have a chat with the trader.
My goodness, Zozo. Look at all of these customers. People. I'm so happy they were able to escape.
So am I. They're here to join our cause. Hopefully we can help everyone else escape too. But in the meantime, let's start building a place for you all to stay. Out behind my house, I got to work making a space for all of the villagers to build their homes. Once the area was prepped, they helped me to build their houses. We had a real town coming together. Soon, all the houses were done. Good job, everyone. This place is looking really great. I can't wait to get more people to move in. With all of the villagers moved in, I was feeling inspired to add the next part of the statue. With a little bit of help, I was able to finish the first part of the next section. Any guesses what I'm building next? After I was finished, the villagers came up to me with a real problem. If people were going to live here, we needed a way for everyone to eat. That's a good point. I think it's a good chance for us to strike back at the pharaoh too. I think we should go back to the city and bring all of their livestock here. That food should belong to you. The villagers agreed. The city would surely fall without a food source. This is a great idea, but I'm sure the pharaoh is going to have increased security. How am I going to be strong enough to get in this time?
Zozo, who are you talking to? I think the heat might be getting to you, but I did find something in the ruins. It might help with your problem. Follow me.
On days 50 to 53, the trader led me to the tomb entrance. He explained that the tomb seemed untouched, but he was too scared to go inside. Well, I'll go take a look. Hopefully we can find something helpful. I ran inside. Right ahead of me was a book on a pedestal, so I opened it up. Yeah, this book isn't very helpful. If I can't even read the book, how am I ever gonna get into this place? Wait a second, what's that? Just behind me was a button. I hit the button and heard a secret panel in the wall open. I headed through and entered a massive room. This must have been a pharaoh's tomb.
Who dares enter my tomb? If you can defeat my guardians, then perhaps I will share my secret power with you.
Suddenly, a bunch of gas appeared and started to attack me. Ooh, scary. But that secret power sounds just like what I need. The gas were not very happy to see me and kept shooting fireballs. Unlucky for them though, I was able to hop around and hit the fireballs right back at them. As I destroyed them, I saw that they were dropping gunpowder. Gunpowder! That gives me an idea for the next time we go to the city. I kept fighting until finally all of the gas were defeated. I picked up the gunpowder and took a look around the room. I soon saw a passageway which led me deeper into the tomb.
You may have defeated my gas, but I am not finished with you yet.
Just then, I ran into a jackal, and boy was this guy strong. Those spears are way too OP. I was able to use my shield to block, but just a few hits from the jackal would take me out. I managed to eat some food and heal up, then began to fight back. It was a close one, but I was able to win the fight. I kept going through the tomb when I saw a small tunnel up ahead. Suddenly, I fell down a hole, landing in a small pool of water.
What? How did you get this far? Well, you won't like this.
Just then, a bunch of blazes spawned in and started to attack. One of them even managed to catch me on fire. The fire definitely didn't feel good, but luckily, they weren't as strong as they looked. I was able to defeat them pretty quickly. There was a staircase nearby, so I followed that. I had to be close. Just then, I entered another room and saw the mummified pharaoh appear. I made it! I'll take that secret power, please.
You know, I thought about it, and I decided I want to keep it. Shazam!
A bunch of mummies spawned and attacked me. They were slow, but strong. But I had made it this far, and nothing was going to stop me. The mummies were soon destroyed.
Okay, I guess I'll just do this myself.
Pharaoh hopped down and started to attack me too. You know, we don't have to fight. You can just give me the prize.
Do you have any idea how bored I am? At least this is something to do. Hi-ya!
Honestly, if this guy wasn't attacking me, we'd probably be friends. Soon enough, I had landed a bunch of blows, and he was nearly defeated.
Okay, I think you've proved your point. Go ahead and take the prize.
The mummy pharaoh disappeared. I hopped up and took a look inside of his tomb and found a totem of undying, a set of raw armor, and Horus's ascension. I quickly put on all of the armor and equipped the weapon. Just then, the power began to course through me, and I leveled up into a powerful, full-grown man. And check it out, my beard is legendary! Before leaving the tomb, I had to try out the new weapon. Outside the room, I ran into some more mummies. I hit them with the Horus's ascension, which sent them flying into the air. Looks like it's time to head back to the city and get those animals. On days 54 to 57, I emerged from the tomb, then returned back to my house to craft. At my crafting table, I put together some TNT. You know what they say, the best way out is always through. We're gonna blast our way right through the walls. I went to talk to the villagers, and a few of them agreed to come with me to help. We traveled across the desert and soon came to the farm on the edge of the city. I set up the TNT and set it off. Fire in the hole! The TNT blew a hole in the wall, and we ran into the farm. Alright, you guys start wrangling the animals, and I'll get us some hay. I ran into a nearby shelter and picked up a few hay bales. I ran back outside and handed them out out to the villagers. With the hay in hand, they managed to round up all the animals and lead them away. Looks like they're gonna make it out. I might as well grab some more wheat before I leave. I quickly got to it, cutting up as much wheat as I could. I had just about finished gathering all of the wheat and seeds when a group of guards ran up, but look who was leading them. Ramses, what are you doing here?
Zozo, you're the man from the desert? I barely recognize you. I'm so happy to see you again.
You're not angry to see me? I thought you were here to attack me.
No, in fact, I've been trying to join you. All of us here have seen my father's power and influence fading. Please, let us join your community.
I couldn't believe my luck. Ramses had been so nice to me before, and I was happy to have him as part of our group. The more people we had, the better chance we had to free the rest of the villagers. On days 58 to 62, I was back at the base when one of the villagers pulled me aside. He was nervous about Ramses being there with a bunch of palace soldiers. Could we really trust him? Before I could answer, Ramses walked up with his guards.
Don't worry, friend. You don't have anything to worry about. If I didn't come with good intentions, I wouldn't tell you this. The pharaoh is actually putting together a large army and plans to attack.
If that's the case, then we need to get prepared. Please, if everyone could give me a hand, we can build everything we need.
Don't you think it'll be wiser just to leave things how they are? This is a nice community here. Attacking the pharaoh will only end in failure. I've seen how powerful this army is.
I think you lack faith, my friend. We won't rest until everyone has been freed. I'm positive we can find a way to win. Ramses didn't seem convinced, but he agreed and asked what we needed to do to get ready. First things first, we started to clear out some of the old ruins. This was going to be the perfect place to set up our farms. We had an army to feed, so we had to make sure we had a good farm. Next, we got to work building a barracks for all of the soldiers. This would give them a place to rest and get ready for the fight ahead. I was able to get plenty of help, so we were able to finish it pretty quickly. Then I met Ramses outside. Ramses, I know living in the desert is quite a transition for you. I can build you a special place if you'd like.
That is okay. I will live in a regular house like everyone else. However, I wouldn't mind helping you out with that statue.
Ramses then joined me as we worked on the next part of the statue. It was really starting to come along. As we worked, I mentioned that I would go speak with the old man in the cave to see if he had any ideas. When I mentioned the old man, Ramses asked to join me, to which I agreed. We would go in the morning. Soon, the next part of the statue was complete. On days 63 to 66, Ramsey and I headed up the mountain toward the cave. As we crossed the mountaintop, we ran into a bunch of spiders. What are these spiders doing all the way up here? Ramses and I sprang into action, fighting them off. Working together, we were able to defeat them in no time. It was nice having a good fighter to help out. As we approached the cave, I could hear the old man's voice calling out to me.
Zozo, you may enter, but only alone.
Sorry, Ramses. You'll have to wait out here. Ramses agreed, and I entered the cave.
I know why you've come. The pharaoh is gathering his armies, isn't he?
Yes, I was hoping you might be able to help us. I thought maybe that buried item you had mentioned before might be useful at a time like this.
In fact, there is a hidden item that can help, but it is not the one buried here. I will give you the directions to the cave.
The old man explained where I needed to go to find this item. Excited to have a special item for the fight, I was getting ready to leave.
But before you go, Zozo, I leave you with a warning. I know your community has grown, but are you sure everyone can be trusted?
I nodded, but I wasn't sure what he could mean. Maybe he was talking about Ramses, but he had done more than enough to prove he wanted to help. I would keep my eye out for any suspicious villagers. Outside the cave, I told Ramses all about the item and where we needed to go. He was just as excited as me, so we headed off to find the cave. On days 67 to 70, Ramses and I had entered the cave. Soon, we saw an interesting looking statue in the middle of the tunnel. I'm surprised someone took the time to build a statue deep down in a cave like this. Suddenly, the statue sprang to life and started to attack us. It's a good thing Ramses had come with me though, as together we were able to quickly defeat it. Nice one, Ramses. Let's keep going. We continued down the tunnel and eventually saw two more statues. We stood there for a moment waiting for them to come to life. Maybe these ones are just statues? I guess. Whoa! The statues had come to life and started to attack. There were two of them this time, which made it harder than before. But even then, we still managed to fight them both off. I wonder how much deeper we have to go. I mean, what's next? 3 statues? We continued until we saw a larger room. Inside was a huge statue, way bigger than the other ones. Well, I think it's clear what we have to do. Let's do this. Ramses and I got to work, attacking the big statue. His big arms landed some heavy blows as we jumped around, getting as many hits in as we could. We even had to run out of the room and hide to heal up. Thankfully though, we were able to get enough hits in and the giant statue was destroyed. As he vanished, we saw something left in his place. This must be that special item the old man was talking about. With this, we'll be able to beat the pharaoh once and for all. Come on, Ramses, let's...
Sorry, Zozo.
Ramses hit me on the head, knocking me out. Before I blacked out completely, I saw him pick up the item. On day 71 to 74, I woke up to see that I was all alone. Oh, my head hurts. Ramses must have stolen the weapon and escaped. I've got to go make sure everyone is okay. I quickly ran out of the cave and headed straight to the old man. When I arrived, his cave was empty and all of his stuff was gone. Ramses must have beaten me here. What am I supposed to do now? Just then I remembered the buried item. I began digging around around. Surely I could use whatever this mysterious item is now. I uncovered a chest and opened it to look inside. A note. You had the power with you the whole time. Use your power of hope, will, and the strength of your people to overcome any obstacle. It's just a motivational note? I don't need that. I need a weapon that can save everyone. Oh no, everyone! I ran over to the other side of the mountain and could see our town was in flames. Why would Ramses betray us like this? I should have listened to the villagers, the old man. They were right about him. I hurried and ran down the mountain to look for survivors. As I got closer, I could see several of the villagers, and the trader came running up to me.
Zozo, where have you been? Ramses returned to gather all his soldiers, and they all attacked.
I'm so sorry. Ramses knocked me out and took the special weapon we had found.
That must have been what he was using. He had some incredible abilities and had turned into a monster, but somehow we managed to push them out.
I've got to stop him before he can give the item to the pharaoh. I better get to the city quick.
That's the thing. I don't think he went to the city. There's a fort near here. I think you should go there to face him.
I thanked the trader for his help, then went into the desert. I sure hope I can get the item back. On days 75 to 78, I could see the fort in the distance. I couldn't waste any time trying to be sneaky this time. I was charging through the front. As I entered the fort, Ramses' soldiers tried to stop me. Good luck! You guys are all traitors! I ran through the base, using my main weapon to throw them high in the air. I felt like I was running through the base, flipping pancakes. You're gonna need a meal on this flight. One by one, I tossed the guards into the air and out of my way. At long last, I made it to the main tower and ran up the stairs. As I reached the top, Ramses was waiting for me. On days 79 to 84, I stood face to face with Ramses. He didn't look like a monster.
I don't want to do this, but I can't let you go any further. Your story ends here.
Ramses put on a battle helmet and attacked. Ramses, how could you betray me like this?
I never wanted to betray you. In fact, I wanted to save you. You can't face my father. He'll destroy you and all the people you're fighting for. I thought if I could take the special item, you'd give up the fight.
I can't stop fighting though, can I? Your father will never stop. And even if we can live in our village, there are still hundreds of people still being kept as his prisoners. Just give me the item and we can stop him together.
It's too late. I've already sent it to my father. Just surrender now, and we can be done with this.
I don't want to fight you, but I can't let these innocent people be captured. I'm sorry. Just then, I landed the final blow, defeating Ramses for good. In another life, maybe we could have been brothers. I hope one day we can meet again. I picked up the helmet he had dropped and put it on. It was a sad day, but it was time to save everyone. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back in the village and met up with the trader. I told him everything that had happened and that the pharaoh now had the special item. He encouraged me to keep fighting, but first, we needed to fix the village. We all got to work cleaning up the damage in the village. The soldiers had really hurt the buildings, but it wasn't anything we couldn't fix. It took a long time, but soon everything was back to normal. I then headed over to the statue and got to work finishing that up. Before I went to the city, everything needed to be properly put into place, just in case I didn't return. Soon, the statue was complete. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be the first to go on our adventures with us. On days 90 to 94, I decided to take a walk around the base. I wasn't sure what to do next. As I saw the villagers tending to their crops, I noticed the ditches they had dug to bring the water in. Suddenly, I had an idea. I hurried to tell all of the villagers my plan. With the villagers on board with my plan, I gathered up as much sand as I could. I was going to need a lot of it if this was going to work. I also went back to the pharaoh's tomb to find more gas and collect gunpowder. As a final step, I met back up with Hugo to ask for his help. He was pretty excited about what I had in store for the pharaoh and was happy to help. All his friends agreed to help too. All right, everything should be in place. The pharaoh better watch his back. I'm coming for him. On days 95 to 97, I made my way back to the city with Hugo and his pals. Everybody ready? Charge! I quickly put on my armor and we ran into the city. There were even more guards here than before, but they were no match for my gang of hippo pals and powerful items. The higher they go, the harder they fall. I flipped guards in the air as we made our way toward the palace. As we got closer, storm clouds began to roll in and lightning started striking the ground. It must be the pharaoh using the special item. We have to hurry. As we ran through the square, we told as many people as we could to flee to our desert base. The lightning strikes were getting really scary and hit some of the villagers. It even hit one of Hugo's pals. Luckily, he was able to shake it off and keep going. Soon, we were at the entrance to the palace grounds. On day 98, we entered the palace grounds and began fighting our way through. It felt like there was an endless stream of guards attacking us, but they couldn't handle the strength of me and my hippo team. Hugo, you know what to do. Wait here for me. I ran into the palace and managed to fight off the guards on the first floor. All that was left was to head upstairs and face the pharaoh.
Hey, hang on a second.
Nubia came running over to me. Nubia, what are you still doing here? Your father has become too dangerous.
I know. After you stood up to him in the arena, it inspired me to do the same. I had always felt like what he was doing was wrong, but it wasn't until then that I felt like I had the courage to say something. After I told him what I thought, he kept me trapped here in the palace. It wasn't until you stormed the palace today that my guards finally left me alone.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear things have been so bad for you, but hopefully we can bring an end to it soon. If I don't make it, the people of this desert will need a strong leader like you. Stay safe until this is over. Nubia nodded and ran off to hide. hide. It was go time. I climbed the stairs and saw the pharaoh waiting for me.
So, you think having a beard makes you a man? Please, you're just the same little boy I banished into the desert.
Don't bring my beard into this. You must let my people go.
You can ruin my water and fill the streets with as many frogs as you want, but I will never let them be free.
Just then, the pharaoh stepped forward and activated the special item. There was a burst of fire, and he transformed into a giant Egyptian monster.
How do you like this?
I was surrounded by a ring of fire and was suddenly hit by a bunch of lightning. To be honest, I didn't really like it. I couldn't wait any longer, so I ran forward and attacked. The pharaoh hit me back, which nearly ended me in one hit. Looks like it's time for plan B. I turned and ran down the stairs and out of the palace.
What's wrong? Too afraid to fight?
Hugo was waiting for me, and I hurried and jumped on his back as the pharaoh and his men chased after us. They were close to catching up, but we managed to stay ahead as we ran out of the city. Once we were out, Hugo really put on the speed, and we got far ahead. There was a dried riverbed, which we quickly ran across. As we reached the other side, I turned to see the pharaoh and his army stop on the other side. Don't try to follow me or recapture the people. If you do, I'll have no choice but to destroy you.
Destroy me? Destroy me? I don't think you're in any position to tell me what to do.
The pharaoh and his army entered the riverbed, but I was ready to do my secret plan. I turned and hit a nearby button. The sound of explosions could be heard in the distance. The villagers had put TNT by the dam, which was holding back the water.
No, it can't be!
The water came rushing in, covering the pharaoh and his army. It looks like the plan worked. There's no way he's going to be able to escape all of that. Just then, I heard a splash behind me, and the pharaoh came rising out of the water.
You may have destroyed my army, but I won't go down that easy.
The river was my last plan. How was I going to defeat him now? On day 99, the pharaoh stood on the riverbank, looking down at me.
Enough of these games. I won't have a little bearded man boy ruin everything I have worked so hard to build.
My mind was racing. What could I do? Just then, I remembered the note I found in the old man's cave. You had the power with you the whole time. It couldn't be that simple, could it? Suddenly, a burst of lightning hit me, destroying all of my armor.
What are you waiting for? I'm here to end this now.
I looked at the staff I had carried with me. The staff had been with me the whole time. Now that I was a grown man with new power, I gave the cane a shake. There was a burst of light, and I grew into a massive, super buff version of myself.
What? Where is this power coming from?
I felt amazing. I knew that I was going to be able to fulfill my destiny. Just then, a ring of fire appeared, and the pharaoh hit me with lightning. It was on. The pharaoh and I swung our weapons, doing our best to get hits in. He was strong, but so was I.
You may be bigger, but I still have my lightning.
The pharaoh kept trying to hit me with lightning, but with my new abilities, I was able to dodge it. I couldn't dodge it every time, but it was clear he was running out of ideas. It was time to end this. This one is for my people. I leapt into the air and struck the pharaoh, which caused him to begin exploding. Soon, he disappeared. With the pharaoh gone, I focused my energy and returned back to my normal size. It was time to return to my people. On day 100, the world was finally free of the pharaoh's influence. I traveled to the city to meet with Nubia, who is now the ruler of the city. She was a nice ruler who let the people live freely, whether in the city or not. And she always made sure everyone was paid for their hard work. Our small village continued to grow, and I remained with those who chose to live there. Peace had been restored, and everyone could freely live their lives. On day 1, I spawned in as a medieval knight. And look at that, I already have iron gear and 10 hearts. It was a good thing I had the gear, because I was immediately attacked by a group of hoglins. Where did you guys come from? Since I had an iron sword, I was able to defeat the first few with no problems. The last, however, started to run away. Hey, get back here! The hoglin ran into the woods and I ran after him. But soon, I couldn't see which way he went. Which way did he go? I ran in the direction he had been going before, and soon stumbled on a large fort in the distance. I could see the hoglin looking down at me from the second floor. I started running toward the entrance of the fort when suddenly the ground opened up and I fell into a dark hole. Why am I still falling? Just as I was starting to think I might be falling forever, I suddenly landed in a pool of water. Where am I? I swam out of the pool and saw I was in a dimly lit, dark underground area. And what was this? Now I only have 5 hearts? I was so confused. Maybe this was all just a bad dream. I saw a good spot to rest and set up a small camp. Maybe if I could fall asleep, I could wake up from this nightmare. On day 2, I woke up, still in the same place. I decided it was best that I look around and try to find out what was going on. Level 100. I guess I better see what's behind this door. I climbed up the stairs and saw another door, which was also labeled. Level 99. Okay, interesting. I'm guessing level 1 is how I get out of here. This is gonna be quite the journey. I better start looking for the door up. As I walked further into the room, I realized that this didn't look like a room at all. The area was a dark jungle, and there was even a sky. This must be some kind of powerful magic. I better start collecting some supplies. Who knows what could be hiding out here? I started by knocking some cocoa beans off a tree, then started punching the trees to collect some wood. After I had gathered a decent amount, I started walking through the trees to look for a door. I soon found a nice pond to stop at to rest. As I rested, I was suddenly attacked by a pack of Mungai. What did I do to you? These little guys were vicious. You saw them from afar, you would probably think they were pretty cute, but it turns out they were all just a bunch of little imposters. Shouldn't you little minions be helping a supervillain somewhere? They put up a tough challenge, but my iron sword was too much for them, and ultimately, they were all defeated. Sheesh, I gotta hurry and find that door. I kept wandering through the forest and eventually saw something glowing off in the distance. Is that it? Is this the door to the next level? I opened it up and headed up the stairs. On day 3, I emerged onto level 98. Okay, it looks like that was the door to the next level. I'm glad I didn't run into any more mobs, but I'll have to keep an eye out. Turned out I needed to keep an ear out too, because just then, I heard someone calling for help.
Help me! Can someone help?
Who could that be? I rushed toward the sound of the voice and stumbled upon a man being attacked by a group of Mungai. Uh-oh, not more of these fun guys. I hopped in with my iron sword and started slashing away. I could tell they had nearly killed this poor guy. What do you think you're doing? You belong in soup. I swung away until there was only one left, and as I killed the last one, my iron sword broke. Well, I'm glad they're gone, but so is my only weapon. Anyway, how are you doing, buddy? The man rose to his feet. He was clearly hurt, but was hanging on.
That was a close one. Thank you for rescuing me. I was a dead man for sure.
No problem. Say, do you know what's going on here?
Well, one moment I was walking through the forest looking to sell my wares. I'm a traveling merchant, you see. And the next I was falling down what seemed to be an eternal pit. I landed at the bottom and have been trying to make my way out ever since.
Sounds like we're in the same boat. If we stick together, we can get out of here faster.
C'est magnifique. Let's do it. Oh, zoot.
The merchant tried to take a couple of steps, but his leg was clearly hurt.
It's my leg, but do not fret, mon ami. We will persevere. By the way, my name is Benoit. What is yours?
The name's Zozo.
Zozo what?
Just Zozo. Sorry, I phrased that weird. Let's go! On days 4 to 5, we had made our way up a few floors to level 95. On the previous floor, I had crafted some wooden tools to fend off some weaker mobs, but nothing too major had happened. Benoit's leg was keeping us from moving too fast, but everything was going well so far. Hey, it looks like there's some stone deposits up ahead. Let's try and get some stones for new tools. Benoit took a seat while I got out my wooden pickaxe and started mining out some stone. After I had mined out a decent amount, I put down my crafting table and fashioned together a full set of stone tools. I also made an extra sword so Benoit could defend himself. Here you go, Benoit, just in case anything happens. Using my new stone pickaxe, I decided to keep mining into the stone deposit. Maybe I could find some iron. As I continued to dig through, I couldn't believe what I found. Is this the next door? Why was it buried under the stone? These doors aren't going to be as easy to find as I thought. I opened the door and sure enough, there was a staircase leading up to the next level. Come on, Benoit, let's see what's waiting for us ahead. On days 6 through 8, we reached level 93, and I noticed things were a little different than the other floors. A few monkeys scampered by, and I could see an arena up ahead. Something doesn't feel right. Benoit, I think you should hang back while I go check things out. I approached the building slowly, but I didn't see anything, so I stepped inside. Just then, I heard a thump as a big bun fungus slowly emerged from the shadows and into the light. Easy there, big guy.
Carrot, give me carrot.
I don't have a carrot, but maybe we can find you something else.
Give carrot or you carrot.
Me carrot? I'm not a carrot.
No, you carrot. I eat carrot.
Me no carrot.
You carrot.
No carrot.
Carrot.
The bun fungus lunged at me and attacked. Our conversation wasn't really going anywhere, so it was probably best just to get into it. I'm not a carrot. Knock it off. For as silly as he was, the bun fungus was really strong. Clearly, he was always eating his carrots, which was contributing to his powerful blows. How about you take a bite of this? I swung my sword again and again as he chased me around the arena. He was getting some hits in, but I was holding my own. After a hard-fought battle, I was able to land the final blow, and the bun fungus was defeated. As he disappeared, I noticed he had also dropped a compass and a small crystal. I took a look at the compass first. Door locator? Is this what I think it is? I took a closer look at the compass and could see the compass was pointing me in a direction. I'll have to see if that leads me to a door. But before that, I took a look at the crystal. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do exactly. What happens when I place it? I set the crystal down, and suddenly, an image of a princess began broadcasting out of it.
Hello there. I've been captured by the wizard who controls this fort, and am in need of someone like you to rescue me. Help me, brave adventure. You're my only hope.
Oh no, she must be in real trouble. I gotta get to the top. I headed back outside and met up with Benoit. I explained the situation and he agreed to help as much as he could. We took out the compass and headed in the direction it pointed us. We soon saw the door and headed inside, but this time there was something different, an elevator. I wonder what that's about. There was a staircase leading up to the next level, but next to the elevator was a power switch, so I flipped it on. Let's see where this goes. Benoit and I entered the elevator and hit the button inside. The elevator started to move. On days 9 through 11, we stepped out of the elevator into a large cave. Wait a second, this is the cave where I started. I took a look around to be sure, but there was no mistake. This was the same cave.
If this brings us back to this floor, that makes me think there will be more elevators on future floors. Maybe we can set up a base here.
That makes sense to me. How are you feeling?
Definitely better, but I don't know if I can keep going up the stairs. How about I get things started down here, and you go look for the princess?
That's a great plan. Before I go though, I think we should set up some kind of distraction to scare away any mobs that might try to come after you. I was thinking I could build a large statue.
Great idea.
I got straight straight to it, working on the statue. I thought it should be something scary, but also something that could believably be in this world. After a bit, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. Can you guess what it's going to be? With the first part complete, I headed back over to the elevator and stepped inside. There was just a button inside. I wonder how high it will take me. On days 12 to 14, I emerged from the elevator to see that I had returned to the same level as before. I must have to activate the elevator on a given floor to travel to it. Looks like there's no shortcuts. I then entered the door to the stairs nearby and headed up to the next floor. When I walked out, I saw that the biome was completely new. I was now in a swamp biome. This is a swamp, but the water looks off. In fact, it looks poisoned. To test this out, I headed to the edge of the water and tossed some wood I had into it. To the sizzle, the wood disintegrated completely. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch my step. Otherwise, that could be me. Unlucky for me, though. I could see my only way forward was going to be jumping on lily pads across the swamp. I sure hope those parkour lessons were worth it. I jumped ahead, landing on the lily pad. I had some close calls, too, as some of the lily pads were actually drop leaves. That could have easily dropped me into the poison. Phew, I'm glad I made it across. Well, let's find that door. I started heading in the direction of the next door. I really hope I'm not too late to save the princess. As I was walking, I was suddenly attacked by a giant mosquito. No hugs, no hugs. The mosquito was vicious. I tried to keep it away, but it kept wrapping itself around me, trying to bite me. It did some serious damage. Get off of me, you bloodthirsty psychopath. I managed to knock it back and hit the mosquito with my sword, finally defeating it. Ugh, I don't want to run into another one of those ever again. I kept following the compass and headed off to find the next door. On day 15, I had made my way to floor 85 when I saw a house in the distance. Another house. I wonder if there's another monster hiding inside. I gotta be careful. I took my sword out and started sneaking up to the door when the door swung open. Charge!
Wait!
I stopped running and realized it was just an old woman. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not used to meeting people who don't attack me.
That is quite alright. I'm not used to meeting new faces either. I've heard of many people coming to this place, but so far none of them have made it this far. You must be the most skilled of them all.
Thank you, but you mentioned others? What do you know of this place? The woman took a deep breath before beginning her story.
Hundreds of years ago, a young wizard lived alone in the mountains. In his isolation, he became a powerful wielder of magic. For a time, he would show others his magic, but was laughed at and bullied for being weird. Then one day, a young knight asked him for his help uniting the broken kingdom. The pair forged a powerful friendship, and peace was restored to the land. However, the young knight, now king, wanted the wizard to do more. He didn't just want peace in his kingdom, but he wanted to control the entire world. When the wizard refused, the king banished him. Now he lives here, capturing and toying with wayward knights and explorers as revenge for what his friend did to him.
That's awful. It almost makes me feel bad for him.
Don't. He didn't have to do this. He made his choice. He's nothing like the wizard he once was, and has been corrupted in his anger.
I see. Well, that helps. I better get going. The wizard has to be stopped. You should come with me.
Thank you for the offer, but I'm actually quite happy with the new life I've built. It suits me here. But I have something that should help you.
The old woman tossed out a potion of endurance. I picked it up and took a drink. Immediately I felt my strength returning, and I regained all 10 of my hearts. Oh wow, I feel amazing. Thank you for this.
You're very welcome, young man. Take this as well. You might find yourself needing it out there.
She threw out a poison resistance potion, which I picked up. Thanks again for all of your help. I'm sure we'll see each other again. On days 16 to 19, I was traversing the swamp when I came across a cave. These stone tools aren't going to cut it for much longer. I should see if I can find some iron in that cave. I headed into the cave and soon saw several iron ores. I got to mining and managed to mine a few of them. Alright, let's go see if I can get a few more. I started making my way down the cave when I heard a horrible roar. I turned around and saw a huge crocodile looking right at me. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. The crocodile charged at me and attacked. His powerful jaws did a lot of damage. My stone sword felt like it was barely doing anything. My iron armor was pretty weak, and he even managed to break some of it. With armor missing, my health was really starting to drop, so I had no choice but to run away. Okay, you win this one. I ran back out of the cave, and luckily the crocodile didn't follow me out. Man, there was so much more iron in there. How much did I get? I took a look and saw I had gotten enough for maybe a couple of tools, but that was it. Well, I don't have enough to fix my armor and make new tools. I'll only be able to do one or the other. I decided that I would build a sword and do my best not to get hit. I quickly made a forge, smelted down the iron I had, and crafted an iron sword. This is gonna be a risky move, but who knows how likely I am to find more iron. I equipped my sword and snuck back into the cave. As I made my way, I could see the crocodile just up ahead. He hadn't noticed me. With the amount of armor I had left, I could probably only take a couple of hits. Here goes nothing. I sprang into action and started furiously swinging my sword. I jumped forward and back, doing my best to dodge the croc's bites. Despite my best efforts, he managed to get a hit in. Uh-oh, this is gonna be be a close one. The crocodile snapped at me furiously, but at long last, I was able to land the fatal blow. Oh man, let's not do that again. With the crocodile out of the way, I mined out the rest of the iron I needed. With the freshly mined iron, I smelted it down and made myself a new set of iron armor, which I gratefully equipped. I'm feeling safer already. On to the next room. From days 20 to 22, I eventually found myself on floor 78, which looked extremely similar to the floor the bun fungus was on, or at least the building in front of me did. Okay, this building looks just like that other one. There's gotta be a scary monster hiding in this one. There was just one problem. The building was completely surrounded by poison water. How am I gonna get across this? I threw down a crafting table and quickly made a boat. I set the boat in the water, but it immediately started smoking and disappeared into the poison. That was when I remembered the poison resistance potion the old woman had given me. I drank it down and jumped into the water. I probably should have just dipped a toe in before jumping all the way in, but it seems to be working. As I crossed, I saw some clay at the bottom of the swamp, so I stopped and mined some of it out. I can use this for the statue. With the clay collected, I continued across the swamp and soon reached the other side. I made my way up to the opening of the arena and took a peek inside, but didn't see anything. The arena was filled with poison, but my potion had run out. I hopped across the drop leaves, just barely making it to the other side. Phew, that was a close one. I don't see anything though. What was that? Suddenly, a strange plant creature rose out of the swamp and started moving toward me. It was a whisperer. Alright, no need to panic. He let out a shriek and started to attack. This whisperer was insane. He would wave his arms, which caused plants to fly up from the ground. He also summoned a large flower that would attack me. Oh, I gotta get out of the way of these plants. I jumped around the arena, using the lily pads to try and get hits in, but his special attacks were making this difficult. The closer I can get, the better chance I'll have. It was risky having to jump across the poison pond, but if I couldn't get close enough to get hits in, there was no way I was going to win. You're not so tough at close range, are you? Finally was able to start wearing him down and let out a flurry of hits. Soon enough, he was down. As he disappeared, I noticed a chest on the other side of the room. What could be in here? I popped the chest open and saw it was full of gold ingots. I'm not sure what I'll do with these, but I'll hang on to them, just in case. With my new loot, I looked ahead and saw the door leading to the next level. Inside of it was another elevator. I flipped the nearby switch to activate it. I'll bet this takes me back to the first level. I should go see what Benoit is up to. I entered the elevator and headed down. On days 23 to 26, I re-entered the cave and saw that Benoit had been making some small improvements to the base. He had set up a small crafting and smelting area, but had another request for me.
Zozo, mon ami, could you give me a hand with this next project? I need a place to sell my wares.
I agreed, and we got to work building Benoit a shop. It seemed a little silly since, as far as I knew, I was the only customer he could have, but he was a nice guy and I wanted to help.
C'est bon, this shop is amazing. Merci, Zozo.
No problem. So have you got something to sell?
As a matter of fact, I do. If you have some money for me, I'd be happy to sell to you.
I don't have any money, but I do have some gold bars. Give me 1 second. I headed over to the crafting area and tossed out some of the gold bars. Using my pick, I managed to shape them into some gold coins. These should work great. I headed over to Benoit and asked him what he had in stock.
For now, the only item I have in stock is a bow and some arrows. I'm hoping to find some more inventory around the caves.
A bow could be really helpful, actually. I'll take it. I tossed Benoit some of my coins and took the bow and arrows off the shelf in return. With my new item, I was going to be even more deadly than before. On days 27 to 31, I decided I would do some work on the statue before heading back up the tower. Benoit seemed to be pretty safe so far, but the sooner we could finish the statue, the safer I felt he could be. Soon, I had finished the second part. Go ahead and put your guesses for what it will be in the comments. And while you're down there, feel free to hit subscribe and ring the bell. I love having you on these adventures with me. Next, I headed over to the elevator to take it back up the tower. On the next level, I saw I was now in a Badlands biome. Okay, I'm starting to see the pattern here. Looks like every so often there's a mini-boss, and then the next floors take place in a new biome. Interesting. I didn't have too long to think about it though, as I was suddenly attacked by a couple of tarantula hawks. Stay back, you buzzards! These guys weren't too big, but they were intense. I was actually really surprised by how strong they were, given their size. They were trying to keep their distance, but I was able to use my new bow to get hits on them. It didn't take too much longer, and I was able to take them all out of the sky. These mobs are getting tougher with each floor. I can't even imagine what's waiting for me on floor 1. That's when I noticed that the durability on my bow had greatly depleted. Hey, what's this? My bow isn't very durable. I'm gonna have to have a chat with Benoit about this later. On days 32 to 35, I had reached floor 64 when I noticed there was some terracotta nearby. Ooh, I'm gonna need that for the statue. I better go pick it up. I mined out a good portion of terracotta, then continued on my way. This Badlands area was huge. It's going to be tough to find the door. As I continued to explore, I nearly ran into a rattlesnake. Oh, watch out! I whipped out my sword and gave it a few strong swings, quickly taking it out. That was a close one.
Not too shabby.
I looked to the side and saw a small roadrunner was watching me.
I saw you fighting tarantula hawks earlier, as well as that snake. The tarantula hawks kidnapped my daughter. Would you be able to help me rescue her?
I'd be happy to help. Show me the way. The roadrunner pointed to where I needed to go, and I set off. As I reached the area the roadrunner had mentioned, I realized I had made a mistake. Oh, brother, this is obviously some kind of joke. The daughter was clearly a stuffed dummy, and there was a cage suspended right above it, plainly meant to trap me inside. What is this, some kind of kid's cartoon where a roadrunner tries to outsmart those around him? Like I'd fall for that. I took another step forward to get a better look, when suddenly the sand beneath my feet gave way, and I fell into a massive hole. I can't believe I fell for that. On days 36 to 39, I was still falling. This feels like the hole I fell into on day 1. Seconds later, I crashed into a pool of water. I looked around and yep, I was back in the starting cave. You've got to be kidding me, this place is full of jerks. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Benoit about that bow he sold me. I made my way back over to the base and saw Benoit standing in a shop. Hey, that bow you sold me nearly broke after one fight. I paid good money for this.
Oh dear Zozo, I am so sorry. I would never intentionally sell you a poor quality product. Please, let me give you a discount on the next item.
Okay, fair enough. What have you got? Benoit tossed out an enchanted fire aspect iron sword.
I think you'll find this sword is the quality you're looking for.
I closely looked over the sword and everything seemed to be in order. Even with the discount, it still cost me the rest of my gold. From there, I headed back into the elevator and eventually reached the floor I'd been on before. I could see the roadrunner not too far away. Hey you! What's the big idea? Throwing me down that pit? Upon hearing my voice, he jumped in the air and started running away. Hey, get back over here. I've got something to say to you. The roadrunner was fast. I did my best to keep up with him, but it looked like he was getting away. Lucky for me though, he ran into a dead end. Now you listen here, I'm getting really tired of these games. I walked over to him and hit him once with my new sword.
Ouch! Okay, don't hurt me. I'm just so bored and thought it would be a funny prank. You didn't actually get hurt, right?
No, but I didn't think it was very funny. I'm in a bit of a rush, so it's frustrating to have to go up all those stairs over and over again. I'll let you live, but don't mess with me. I left the roadrunner and headed in the direction of the next door. On days 40 to 43, I was exploring the new floor when I noticed something was following me. I turned around and caught a glimpse of who it was. That roadrunner again. He better not be up to something. But just then, a huge guster came out of nowhere and attacked me. This big guy was tough. I tried hitting him with my sword, but he seemed to be immune from the fire damage. He managed to hit me a few more times, and my health was getting seriously low. He even managed to suck me into his vortex and throw me into the air. It looks like this might be the end for me. But before the guster could deliver the final blow, the roadrunner jumped out and finished it off. Wow, thank you. But why are you helping me?
I felt bad for pranking you. Clearly you're just trying to do the right thing. My name is Rhodey. Here, let me show you something I think you will like.
I followed the roadrunner for a bit, and soon saw he had led me to an oasis. There was a small hut nearby too. It looked like it used to be a smithy. You're right, this place is just what I needed. Thanks for showing it to me. Feel free to stick around. The roadrunner agreed, and I went and looked in the chest. Inside, I found some iron ingots, as well as a shield. Using the iron ingots, I managed to repair my armor as well.
Take a look at that tree too.
I headed outside and saw that the nearby tree was no ordinary tree. There were some golden apples growing on it. I walked around the tree and knocked some of them off. These are going to be a huge help in the fight ahead. On days 44 to 49, we continued crossing the desert until we saw a large desert arena in the distance. I could see a corridor ahead leading into the stadium with 2 guards standing by. Hey, Rhodey, why don't you hang back while I check this out? It could be a trap, a real trap. I tried talking to the guards, but neither of them said anything. As I started to walk into the corridor, a bunch of arrows started firing. And this is the only way in? Great. I stepped into the arrows, trying to use my shield to block them. I managed to block some of the arrows, but I still took a ton of damage. With 1 heart left, I finally got through. Yeah, that could have gone better. I finally stepped into the arena. After I had stepped inside, the doors closed behind me. That's not good. Just then, a man dressed like a wither skeleton was standing on a platform at the top of the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, our challenger has arrived. A big round of applause, please.
Hey, buddy, you know it's just us here, right?
Thank you for that warm welcome. And now, let the games begin.
This guy was clearly nuts. He must have been in the desert for too long. Just then, another door opened and a husk came running out. A single husk? What a joke. This is going to be so easy. Just then, a huge horde came running out after him. I guess it wasn't going to be so easy after all. The husks weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. To keep them from ganging up on me, I ran ahead to get them in a line. Suddenly, the ground shook and parts of the arena floor opened, revealing pools of lava. What kind of sick games are these? I kept trying to get the husks lined up as I took care not to fall into the lava. Once they were lined up, I started to quickly cut through them, one at a time. It took a little while, but finally, they were all defeated. Okay, yay, I won. Can you let me out now?
We have a winner. Time for round 2.
The floor shook again as some pillars rose up from the floor, and this time a few giant and normal-sized gladiators came charging at me. How many rounds of this am I gonna have to do? Luckily for me, the two big gladiators turned on each other, with one of them taking the other out. The bad news was that they were now all focused on me. I ran around the stadium, doing my best to try and block the trident throws and get hits in. This was a much tougher fight, but I was determined to win. Eventually, I was able to take out the trident guy, so I could focus solely on the gladiator. You know what they say about the big guys. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I managed to get the gladiator lined up with a pit of lava. I swung my sword, knocking him in and defeating him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final round!
The arena shook again as the lava pits and columns disappeared. Then a door opened and a huge scorpion came running out. This wasn't gonna be easy. This was gonna be my hardest fight yet. If I can just stay away from that stinger, I might be able to do this. The scorpion was tough and hit hard. Ouch! You'll pay for that. Suddenly, the arena shook again and the lava pits and columns returned. But this time, they kept moving in and out. That guy just couldn't make this easy for me, could he? Kept fighting the scorpion, and at one point, my health had dropped dangerously low. But I couldn't give up now. At one point, I was able to catch the scorpion in the lava pit, but he was able to crawl back out. Looks like I'm just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I kept hitting it with blow after blow with my sword until at long last it was defeated.
And the crowd goes wild! Well done, brave sir, well done. Please take the spoils of your accomplishment.
Another door opened, revealing a room with a chest. I headed over and took a look inside. An elite power bow. And whoa, tons and tons of gold. Just then, Rhodey came running up to me.
Hey, nice job! I was thinking I would keep adventuring with you, but after seeing that, you mind if I live at your base?
That shouldn't be a problem. Let's go. I entered the next room where an elevator was waiting. We went inside and headed back to the base. On days 50 to 53, Rhodey and I emerged from the elevator back at the base. Rhodey was going to need a place to live, so we got right to work building him his own space. I wanted him to feel right at home. When we had finished, Benoit came over and asked if I could give him a hand with the statue. Benoit and I used some of the blocks he had collected to build out the next part of the statue. He said things had been going well since I had been here last, and he even had something new for me to buy in his shop. We soon finished, and I headed over to his shop. Alright, so you said you've got something new for me?
Oui, take a look. I have a whole stack of diamonds. I'm sure these will be very useful for you.
I paid Benoit with the gold I had won from the arena, then took all of the diamonds over to the crafting area. I put together a full set of diamond armor, then used what was left to make a diamond sword, as well as a whole set of diamond tools. That princess has nothing to worry about. I'm on my way. On days 54 to 57, I made my way back up the elevator and stairs and emerged in a frozen tundra. Oh man, it's freezing. I don't know how long I can stay out here. Just then, I noticed that my health started to decrease. I was literally freezing. To make sure I didn't freeze to death, I got right to work, building a quick igloo and campfire. This is going to be tough going. I'm not going to be able to survive away from a heat source for too long. Once I had warmed up, I set back out, following the direction of my compass. As I traveled, I kept having to take breaks and set up a small fire to warm up. Eventually, I found the door, built into an ice spike. I made one more stop to warm up. I wasn't sure what was going to be on the next level. Once I was feeling good, I entered and headed on up. On days 58 to 62, I had reached the next floor and noticed that the weather wasn't as bad here. I think my armor is enough to keep me warm. Thank goodness. I was moving at a glacial pace before. I pressed on and soon saw a penguin. How adorable. I should go say hi. I ran up to the penguin when it suddenly attacked. Whoa, I thought you were supposed to be cute and cuddly. I managed to fight off the penguin when I heard something just ahead. I ran forward and saw a bunch of penguins standing around something. It was another adventurer. Hey, leave him alone. I charged and began swinging at the penguins. They were feisty little fighters, but I was able to overwhelm them and take them out. I headed over to the adventurer. Oh no, it looks like he's dead. But what's this? Laying on top of him was a crystal, similar to the one I had picked up earlier. I set it down, and the princess appeared, saying the same thing as the one I had found. But wait a second, this princess looks completely different. There must be two princesses in danger. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. I better hurry up. Soon after, my compass had led me to the door, and I headed in and up the stairs. On days 63 to 66, I emerged on a floor that looked like an ice beach. Ahead in the water, there was a huge ice spike. My compass had been pointing me to it, so I assumed that was where I needed to go. In the distance, I could see a bridge leading out to the spike, but as I started to cross it, I saw that the end of the bridge had been destroyed. It looks like I can still get across by jumping across those smaller ice spikes, but it's gonna be tricky. If I slipped and fell, I'd be falling into sub-zero water, where I could quickly freeze to death. I had to be careful. I was about halfway across when I nearly slipped. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was right on the edge, so close that it almost looked like I was floating over the edge. I regained my composure and managed to make it the rest of the way across. Phew, next time I do parkour, it's gonna have to be with lower stakes. I kept jumping and finally made it across the gap. I started to climb the ice spike. When I got to the top, I nearly jumped off in fear. There was a massive polar bear waiting for me. This must be the boss to get through to the next door. Wish me luck. I charged as the polar bear let out a large roar. He swung and nearly knocked me over the edge several times. This guy is tough. How am I gonna beat him? Just then, I had an idea. I was scared of falling off, but shouldn't he be too? I made some space between us and ran over near the edge. Come and get it. The polar bear charged at me full speed. At the last second, I jumped out of the way, causing it to slip right off the edge and down to the ground below. Piece of cake. As I looked over over the edge, I could see some of the ice below had melted too. Almost looked like it had formed a word. Interesting. With the polar bear gone, I entered the door and could see that there was an elevator and path to go up. I stepped into the elevator and headed down to the base. On day 67 to 70, I entered the base and went over to talk to Benoit and Rhodey. Both of them were really excited and impressed by how far I had gotten. They also told me how much fun they were having down in the base. I was glad to hear it, but something was bothering me. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about something I found. On one of the last floors, I found a crystal with another princess message. Maybe there's two princesses, but something did seem off to me. Before they could answer though, the old woman from the swamp came out of nowhere.
This place is full of tricks. That's probably all it is. You should just ignore it.
Whoa, what brings you down here?
I thought I would pay you a visit. This is quite a nice place you've built down here. If your offer still stands, I wouldn't mind living down here after all.
I thought that sounded great, so I got right to work building her a house. I thought it was strange that she had changed her mind, but in any case, it would be good to have some more friends around. Once her house was complete, I headed over to Benoit to see if he had anything new to sell.
As a matter of fact, I do. I managed to find some lapis. You can enchant your armor with this.
I made a fresh set of coins with my gold and exchanged it for a stack of lapis. I entered the old woman's hut and used her enchanting table to upgrade my gear. I'll be able to tackle any biome or enemy now. I stepped outside to head back up the floors when I remembered we had a statue to work on. I made my way back up and got going on the next part. It didn't take too long and I was soon done. On to the next floor. On day 71 to 74, I returned to the last ice level, then started making my way up to the next door. Oof, it's usually not this difficult to reach the next level. Once I had maneuvered to the door, I entered in and was surprised by what I saw on the other side. Did I just enter the nether? The whole atmosphere had changed. But in the meantime, I decided to mine the magma blocks off the wall. I was going to need those for the statue later. I headed through the door. Wait a second, this looks like the same room, but the door is farther away. What's going on? I ran down the hallway and passed through the door. It was the same hallway again, but the door was even farther away than before. What kind of twisted joke is this? I ran through the next door, and it was the same thing, but the door was even farther away. I started running for the door, but paused about halfway through. I must have missed something. I'm gonna go back. I turned to go through the last door, when suddenly, a bunch of piglins came bursting through, wielding axes. I tried to run away, but didn't have any other choice but to fight. With my upgraded gear, I managed to knock both of them out pretty quickly. Okay, maybe I just need to keep moving forward. I moved ahead when suddenly a couple of blazes spawned. I swung furiously to avoid catching on fire. Suddenly, there were more piglins too. I kept fighting and swinging. I had come so far. Soon, they were all defeated. Okay, let's keep going. Wait, which way was I going? I was completely turned around. I headed toward one of the doors to go through it. At the time, I didn't know that I was heading back the way I came in, but it turned out that was just what I needed to do. On days 75 to 78, I emerged from the door and found myself in the end. What is going on? Now I'm jumping through dimensions. I took out my compass to figure out where the next door was, but it was just spinning in circles. Looks like I'm going to have to find the next door the old-fashioned way. I started making my way toward the nearest end city when I accidentally looked at the nearest Enderman in the eyes. He attacked! Back off, Slender Boy! It took a few swings of my sword, but I was able to knock him out. It might not be a bad idea to gather up some Ender Pearls, actually. Those could come in handy. With this in mind, I started my raid on the Endermen. One by one, I struck them down and collected the Ender Pearls. At one point, I even had multiple of them attacking me at once, which was a little scary. But eventually, I'd gotten all the pearls I felt I needed. That ought to do it. But hey, might as well collect some blocks for the statue too. I took out my pick and mined up some of the endstone on the ground, getting everything I needed. Then, I headed to the nearest structure, which was covered in shulkers. Time to duck and cover! The shulkers started firing at me, and I did my best to block their shots with my shield and hit them with my sword. I wasn't perfect though, and soon started levitating. Ugh, that doesn't feel so good. The levitating effect wore off, and I dropped to the ground. Luckily, I wasn't too high, and it didn't do too much damage. Finally, I was able to get close enough to the shulkers to finish them all off. Alright, let's see what's up here. I entered the end city and started following the path. There were more shulkers along the way, which I was able to fight off. Sometimes their levitating power even helped me out. It took a little bit to get through everything, but eventually I emerged on the roof and could see a door. That door looks a little weird, but it must be the way through. Let's see what happens. On day 79 to 84, I suddenly appeared on the end central island, and much to my fear, I could see the Ender Dragon flying around in the distance. This wizard isn't messing around. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight the Ender Dragon. I lunged forward as the dragon swooped around overhead. What ensued was an epic battle. Okay, first things first, I gotta take care of those end crystals. It's a good thing I got those ender pearls. By throwing the ender pearls, I teleported to the top of the towers and destroyed the end crystals. I had to be careful not to blow myself up, but one by one, I managed to destroy all of them. Alright, big guy, it's just you and me now. I ran into the middle of the island and worked on bringing down the dragon's health. The dragon flew by overhead, trying to blast me with its dragon breath. The dragon soon landed, and I was able to get some hits in. As the dragon flew flew around, I took aim with my elite bow and managed to get some hits in that way too. At long last, the dragon swooped in low and I hit him with an arrow, finally destroying him. He exploded, dropping a ton of XP orbs. I did it! If I can beat the dragon, surely I can beat a wizard. It was just then that I noticed a chest had appeared on top of the center column. I ran over and opened it up. Look at all these nether scraps. And what's this? In the middle of the chest was a paladin's sword. I took it out and equipped it. With the sword in hand, a bunch of lights started sparkling around me and I leveled up into a full-blown paladin. I feel even stronger now, and look what my sword can do. As I swung my sword, I could see it was launching a light sword in the direction I was aiming. So cool. Just then, I noticed there was a button and trapdoor nearby too. I hit the button and dropped into the hole. When I landed, I saw a familiar room, one with an elevator and some steps. I hit the switch and headed into the elevator. On days 85 to 89, I emerged in the base where Benoit, Rhodey, and the old woman came running out to meet me.
You're back. That must mean you're getting close to the top. You're doing great.
Thanks. I've just got a few things to do here, and I think I'll finally be at the top. First of all, I wanted to finish the statue, using the extra materials I had collected. No dragon was as scary as one breathing fire in your face, so I made sure to add a stream of fire. And just like that, it was finished. Is this what you thought I'd build when I started? Let me know what you think. With the statue complete, I headed down to the crafting area and used the gold and netherite to create some netherite ingots. Then I used the ingots to upgrade my tools and sword to netherite. Now that everything was upgraded, it was time to say goodbye to my friends before heading up to the final floors. Well guys, it looks like there's actually some hope of us getting out of here. It's been awesome getting to know you, and if I don't make it, hopefully this base can help you until the next adventurer comes along.
You are a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do it. We will see you soon, mon ami.
I turned and headed for the door. I was a man on a mission, and no one was going to get in my way. On days 90 to 94, I emerged in a stone corridor. As I stepped into the room, I was immediately attacked by some hoglins. Luckily, I was able to quickly destroy them. There was something familiar about this place. Wait, I think that was the hoglin from day one. This must be the castle I saw before. I was getting close, but I had to stay focused. I opened a nearby door and immediately took some damage. What was that? I took a look inside the room and didn't see anything dangerous. I shut the door again and took more damage. Oh boy, this place must be trapped. I'm gonna have to watch my step. I proceeded down the hallways and ran into more mobs. This place was crawling with enemies. The mobs fought like their lives depended on it, which they did. Unlucky for them though, my new armor and weapons were stacked. They didn't stand a chance. After a ton of fighting, I finally pushed through a large group of them and had a moment to heal up. Well, I might have a few arrows sticking out of me, but I'm still here. I headed back into the corridors, fighting off skeletons as I went. This paladin sword was definitely coming in handy, as I was able to cut down enemies from far away. I kept pushing, taking out piglins and other enemies along the way. Finally entered a room and could tell something was different. On days 95 to 96, I entered a banquet hall and saw something illuminated on the wall. Subscribe. I keep seeing this word everywhere. In any case, I'm happy you're here and appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. On days 97 to 98, I had gone through a side door and found myself facing a white wall. Suddenly, there was a clicking sound as a drawbridge lowered. Standing in the center of the room was a giant pigless. Uh-oh, this isn't gonna be an easy fight. The pigless charged at me. He quickly hit me twice with his mace, which nearly depleted all of my health. If I was gonna survive, I was gonna have to be more careful. Not bad, Baconator, but let's see how you like this. Huh? I had swung my sword, but the pigless disappeared. Where did he go? Suddenly, he reappeared right next to me, nearly catching me off guard. Holy cow! This guy packed a punch. It took everything I had not to get hit, and I had to keep eating golden apples to stay in the fight. By using my paladin sword, though, I was able to hang in there. My friends are counting on me. I can't lose. I kept swinging and fighting until at long last, I landed the final blow, destroying the pigless. It was time to face the wizard. On day 99, I stepped into a large hall. Up ahead, there was a large wooden door. I stepped forward, and the door creaked open, revealing the wizard standing on a platform ahead of me. I walked into the room. Wizard, your traps have failed to stop me. I won't let you continue to keep people captive, and I'm going to free the princess. Get out of my way, or I'll move you myself.
Ha ha ha, you've done well, but I can't allow you to leave this place. Knights and adventurers can't be trusted.
Then you've made your decision. Think fast! I swung my sword, sending a sword beam flying at him as flames began to appear around me. I jumped out of the way and the flames exploded. This guy wasn't messing around.
I'll show you what real magic can do.
The wizard shot blasts of green energy at me as I continued to fire off sword energy. He was strong, but I was getting hits in. Suddenly, there was a crash of thunder and a red cloud appeared above me as fireballs started to rain down. Ah, that's hot, that's hot!
Haha, what do you think of this?
There was a poof, and a bunch of wizards appeared, who all charged at me. Holy cannoli, I didn't even know it was possible to do this kind of magic. The wizard clones were aggressive, but I was able to cut them down pretty easily. Then, I kept firing off sword blasts.
Oh, why isn't this working?
The wizard was getting frustrated. I was winning. Suddenly, he started firing off all of his spells at once. This was starting to be too much to handle. I could just keep hitting him. As one of my sword hits landed, he suddenly started to glow and burst into an explosion of light. Was that it? I did it, I think. Something didn't seem right about that. But the princess, I need to save her. On day 100, I took a look around the room and saw there was a lever hiding behind one of the banners. I flipped the switch, which opened a secret door. I headed inside. I'm Zozo. I'm here to rescue you.
Zozo, my hero, your hair.
Where's the other princess?
The what? Oh, yes, the other, oh, forget it.
There was a burst of light, and the wizard was standing in the place of the princess. I defeated you, and I'll do it again.
Wait!
Sorry, it's hard to keep doing the voice. I really didn't mean any harm.
What are you talking about? You threw me down a hole. You set me on fire. I fought a giant scorpion in an arena.
All illusions. In case you didn't notice, I'm pretty good at magic. In fact, it has all been an illusion, including everyone you've met. They're all parts of my personality, manifested by different people. You were never in any real danger.
Then what was the point of all of this?
The truth is, I'm just lonely. The only true thing was the story of the old woman, I told you about the king.
Well, I'm sorry that part is true, but don't you think if you have the power to create anything, it'd be better to do something that actually helps people? The wizard thought about it for a second.
Yeah. I guess I was too busy feeling sorry for myself to see that. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you. Please, let me send you on your way.
There was a flash of light, and we were suddenly back outside of the castle. I ran back into the land as the wizard and all his personalities waved goodbye. I guess in the end we all got what we wanted. I escaped, and the wizard got himself a new friend. Perhaps one day we will go on an adventure together.
On day 1, I spawned as a baby ZOGLIN. Oh, I'm pretty adorable. But I only had 3 hearts. I was small, but I had a super strong sense of smell. I could smell everything I was seeing. Whoa, great rivers of fire. I'm in the nether. Cool. Oh, look, there's a group of ZOGLINs. That must be my family. I went over to them. They were nice and shared their crimson fungi with me. Life couldn't have been better. That is until a hungry illager came looking for some bacon.
Run for cover, little Zozo. We'll take care of this. You're too small for battle.
But I want to stay and fight.
Leave it to the real warriors, you shroom sniffer.
Bebop, knock it off. He just likes to pick on other ZOGLINs. He's a bit of a bully. You will join us one day, but not today. You must grow bigger first. Now hurry, before they turn you into lunch.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran as fast as my little hooves could go when suddenly I was covered in purple smoke. I had no clue what was happening. Suddenly, I was dropped near a river in a green field with blue skies. This didn't look anything like my home. Where am I? I looked around and saw a squirrel with sunglasses on.
Bro, you just dropped out of the sky. For real, for real.
I don't know where I am. This isn't the nether.
No, little dude, this is the overworld. You must have gone through a portal or something. All I know, bro, is it got all purpley and then poof, there you were, dude.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the squirrel was saying, and I didn't know how I got into the overworld.
Whoa, bro, something's up.
I started to see red, blinking red. I felt weird. Something was happening to me. I was changing.
You're going zombie, my dude.
Zombie? The blinking red stopped, and I could tell my whole body looked different. You could see my bones, and my mane had gone flat. Oh no, I'm a ZOGLIN now. What will my family think? How will they want me back now? I guess it's kind of cool to be a zombie.
100%, my dude. It's the gnarly bones for me.
Well, any ideas what I should do now?
My guess is to find a portal to take yourself home. I bet you could find one in the forest. Just be careful out there, little guy. Here, take this.
He handed me a potion of strength.
Only use it when you're really in a jam. Good luck, bro. I gotta go gather my nuts I dropped when you popped out of the sky.
Thank you, Mr.
Call me Squeaks.
Thanks, Squeaks. It was nice to meet a cool squirrel like you. He hopped away and I started towards the forest, passing by a river. My thoughts were suddenly interrupted by a shark that popped out of the river behind me. Luckily, I jumped out of the way just in time. Someone was feeling bitey today. I then continued making my way into the forest. On day 2, I wandered through the forest to find a portal. I wasn't sure where to go next, but that's when I remembered my nose never failed me. Even though I was a zombie, my nose was just as powerful. I took a whiff around. That's an interesting smell. I followed my nose to a llama eating some berries. I decided to ask her if she had seen the portal, but she just ignored me. Hey, I'm talking to you. The llama turned and spit right in my snout. Okay, you're asking for some drama, llama. I wasn't going to let her get away with spitting in my face. I ran at her full speed and attacked. Unfortunately, I was too weak to do any damage. I didn't even have a weapon.
Oh, how sad. Why don't you cry? Wee, all the way home, little ZOGLIN. You're much too small to be on your own.
Really cool picking on someone smaller than you. Listen, I'd love to go home, but my home is in the nether, and I can't get home without a portal.
Oh, the nether. I heard they have great crimson fungi there.
Yeah, they do. I pulled out a crimson fungi and flashed it at her.
Okay, kid, fine. I'll tell you where a portal is if you let me have that.
How do I know you aren't lying?
You'll just have to trust me.
You spit in my face, and you want me to trust you? Tell you what, I'll give you one now and one later if you take me to the portal. She thought it over and finally agreed to the deal.
The last portal I saw was up ahead at a waterfall.
waterfall.
I threw her a mushroom and she chomped down on it.
A little spicy with some smoky flavor. I like it. All right, come on, follow me.
On day 3, we came to a clearing, and up ahead was a glistening waterfall against a big cliff.
There it is. The portal is up ahead. This is where we part. Time to hand over the other half of that mushroom.
I handed her the rest of my mushroom, and she gulped it down.
You know, kid, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad yourself, Llama. Thank you for showing me the way.
Well, let's not get all mushy. Good luck, and try not to get in any more trouble.
The llama trotted off into the forest, and I headed towards the waterfall. It was so beautiful that I forgot to pay attention to my surroundings. Out popped a snake from the long grass. Mind if I slither on by? I guess the snake did mind. The snake was trying to strike me, but I was determined to get to the portal. I didn't have a weapon, but I had my tusks, and I was bigger than the snake. I hit him good and hard, knocking him out. Your history, snake. As he disappeared, I saw he left behind eggs. Oh, nice. I better hold on to these. The portal was just up ahead. I could see it now. Unfortunately, I could also see a pack of wolves. Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get back home through that portal. I can pay you in eggs?
The Horned Enderman has commanded all Zoglins to be taken to him. You're coming with us.
Just then, a bunch of skulls came shooting at the pack of wolves. The wolves backed up, but stayed close, guarding the portal.
Come with me if you wish to live.
This dude was a little creepy looking. I'm sorry, who and what are you?
I'm a wither. My name is Smithers. Now come on, those wolves are going to try and take you to the Horned Enderman. We have to get you out of here.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I don't want to be eaten by wolves. So yeah, let's go. On days 4 to 5, I followed Smithers into the shadows of the jungle.
You need to make some weapons, little Zoglin. Now is a good time. After that, I have a quest for you. I need you to find the Mushroom Field Islands. Only a special hoglin can find them.
But I'm trying to get home. I need to get to the portal.
If you find these islands, I will help get you home. For now, all the portals are being guarded. I think you are the Zoglin the Horned Enderman is searching for.
Me? You got the wrong Zog. I'm just your average ham.
Yeah, you might not be special, but we shall see.
How will I know the way to the Mushroom Island?
Follow your nose. If you really are the chosen one, you will have extra strong smelling powers.
With that, Smithers flew away. It left me with a million questions. And what was that about smelling powers? I always had a good nose, but no, I couldn't be the one they were looking for. One thing was for sure, I needed to be able to defend myself. I started mining wood, stone, and coal. Then I made myself a crafting table. After that, I made a bow, an axe, a sword, and a pickaxe. Take a look at me now. All will tremble before me. Just as I was really getting into being dramatic, I caught the scent of something nearby. I wasn't alone. I looked up and noticed eyes staring back at me. An ocelot jumped down from the tree. He crouched, getting ready to pounce. Easy, little kitty. You wouldn't want to eat me. I'm rotten and don't taste good. But the truth was, I was scared. Those claws were no joke. How would I ever be able to win this fight? Oh wait, the potion! I quickly pulled out my potion of strength that Squeak gave me and drank it. I grew a little bigger and got extra hearts. It's a good thing I met that weird squirrel. The ocelot pounced as I tried to get out of the way. We kept swinging at each other until I was able to push him out of the way. Luckily, I noticed that there were some arrows nearby. I guess an explorer left them here. I hurried and got on my bow and then started firing. It didn't take too many hits and I was able to take him out. So much for cats having 9 lives. Just then, my nose picked up a different scent on the tree. Cocoa pods. Oh, these would be great for making a color or a snack for later. It was then that I could hear a crunching sound coming from somewhere in the jungle. I decided to follow the sound. I rounded some trees and saw a thicket of bamboo. It wouldn't be a bad idea to collect some of that. The crunching continued and I soon saw a panda relaxing on the ground, enjoying some bamboo. I hope he wouldn't mind if I took some for myself. Hey there, I'm Zozo. Could I take some of that bamboo? The panda looked up at me and shrugged, then went back to munching. Sweet, that was easy. It was definitely a relief to come across an adorable animal that didn't want to attack me. I mined a good portion of the bamboo, but made sure to leave some for the panda. I was very excited about my new supplies. Goodbye, Mr. Panda. Thanks for the bamboo. On days 6 to 8, I decided I liked the jungle so much that I'd take a couple days to go jungle glamping. After all, who knew if that wither was even trustworthy? The mushroom fields could wait. I sniffed around for a good spot and went to sleep in a cavern. Later, I woke up and decided to explore some more. Hey, check it out, a wild patch of pumpkins. I'm pumped. This would be a cool spot to build my glamping base with my bamboo. I'm thinking a yurt would be cool. I even found some melon seeds while cutting down plants. I trotted happily to the patch and began to make my jungle yurt. This would be a great little place to sleep and hide from mobs. Once I had the outside done, I put some finishing touches inside, including some jungle plants. Then I put a little fence around the pumpkin farm, melon farm, and my yurt. I also built a small melon and pumpkin farm outside. Yurt, sweet yurt. Ouch! Something had just hit me. A monkey was in a tree. He was throwing stuff at me. Hey, knock it off!
As you wish. I'll knock all the blocks off your little house thingy.
It's a yurt, you uncultured baboon. Now stop! The monkey didn't stop. He just wanted to be naughty and aggravate me. Alright, enough monkey business. I grabbed my bow and fired a warning shot. The monkey screeched and swung off the tree. Hopefully he had learned his lesson. With the monkey gone, I could focus on some much-needed dinner. Pumpkin chocolate bean cookies sounded good. I'd better hurry. It was getting late and mobs would be showing up. I crafted the cookies and went outside to enjoy the mood. Hey, this is pretty peaceful. It's just me, the trees, these onions, pumpkins, and that horned enderman over there. A horned enderman! A very tall horned enderman was staring at me from outside the fence.
Well, hello, little Zoglin without a care. I am the Horned Enderman. No need to fear.
You're that evil enderman trying to capture all the Zoglins, and you probably are the one who teleported me here.
I searched for the perfect Zoglin, but as for this teleportation, that is the wrong accusation.
You're very poetic for an evil jerk.
And you are very cheeky for a Zog who is not very beefy. You are coming with me. Do not try and flee.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. There's nothing that won't make me win. Oh, look at that. He even got me rhyming. I whipped out my bow and shot at him, but he teleported and suddenly was right next to me. I pulled out my sword and tried to attack him with that, but it was no use. The enderman punched me so hard that I was stunned. There was no way I could do anything to fight this guy. Just as I lost all hope, the enderman was hit with a big rock in the head. Something kept hitting the enderman with all sorts of objects. Eventually he got fed up and teleported away. There was that crazy monkey sitting on the roof of my yurt. Whoa, you saved me. You chased the enderman away by being annoying. Most impressive. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Would you like some pumpkin cookies? The monkey liked that idea and threw a banana at my head playfully.
Aren't you glad I didn't throw a rock?
What a silly monkey. I'm glad he decided to come back after all. Soon the monkey left, and I went to sleep. On days 9 to 10, I thought I'd sniff around to see if the mushroom field was anywhere nearby. I set off around the jungle. I didn't smell mushroom fields, but I did smell a village nearby. I figured I could sniff it out. Maybe there would be some shops. I exited the jungle and kept sniffing and walking until I finally found a village. I walked into the village, and all the villagers were looking at me. They didn't seem too excited about me being there. I walked into a shop, and the shopkeeper didn't want to sell me anything. He said Zoglins were dangerous to have around because it might bring the horned enderman's cronies around. Man, this enderman is ruining everything for me. I was about to leave the village when a chicken went flapping past me. The villagers were upset. They chased the chicken around, but it got away and ran out of the village.
She is gone. The heavenly hen has left us. We will be cursed.
Hey, maybe I can help.
You? What are you going to do besides bring the horned enderman around these parts?
I've got a very sharp-smelling nose. I can follow her scent and track her down.
Very well. Find the heavenly hen.
Okay, but if I do, I get to pick some things out of your shops for free, okay?
Fine. Whatever you want. Please hurry. And whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes and don't threaten her, or you will regret it.
Okay, that's strange, but fine, I won't. I had seen some really cool armor in the shop, but I probably couldn't afford it, so this was a good deal for me. I headed back towards the jungle to find the chicken. On days 11 to 13, I trotted toward the jungle mountains. I climbed up a hill covered in foliage. It was kind of hard to see, so I started chopping down some of the jungle leaves. Whoa! Oof! The leaves were so thick, I didn't see the quarry below my feet. Oh no, I disturbed a nest of scorpions. Yuck, these guys were nasty. I'm in a real pinch. I tried to tell them that I meant no harm, but they were not going to leave me alone. I did not want to get stung. I swung my sword to get them to back off. Yikes, that was a close one. I jumped above them and pulled my bow out, hitting a few of them. I wanted to just get out of there, but the problem was, I smelled the chicken down there. Maybe she got eaten, but it was just then that I saw a mine shaft below. Maybe the chicken had hidden inside there. I'd have to take these guys out. One by one, I finished them off, except for one. It was gold, and turned out to not be a scorpion at all. It was a scorpion-sized gold statue. I decided to enter the mine shaft and check the statue out. On day 14 to 16, I was inside the mine shaft and had a smell around. It didn't just smell like chicken, there was something else too. Oh, jackpot, so many resources, but most importantly, iron. Something was a little creepy about this place. Okay, Zozo, ignore the creepy feeling and just keep mining, just keep mining. After that amazing song, I created a crafting table and furnaces to smelt the iron I just collected. I had enough iron that I could craft myself some iron armor and tools really quick. Something told me I was going to need it. I continued deeper into the cave to find the chicken. Hold up, what's that? I pulled my axe out. It was a spider. But wait, it was another gold statue. What is going on here? I just need to find this chicken and get the creep out of here. Soon enough, from the shadows, crawled a mob of spiders. I knew my spidey senses were tingling. They weren't deterred. They just kept coming. One of the spiders hit me good. It was a big hit. I swung around like crazy and finished off all of the spiders. He left behind a bunch of webs, a crafting table, an iron sword, and some arrows and a slime ball. I guess some explorers must have left in a hurry. I collected them all and made a lead out of some of them. I kept walking down into the cave and eventually saw some lava. Across from the lava was that crazy chicken. You are lucky you aren't fried chicken by now. The chicken stared at me with angry eyes. My body felt weird. I suddenly remembered what the villager said about not staring at the chicken in its eyes. I tried not to look directly at it and started making a bridge across the lava over to the chicken. Listen, Miss Hen, I'm just trying to help you. I've got some cookies for you. I'll give you some if you follow me out of here. She didn't say anything because she was a chicken, but I assumed she was okay with this. She ate them and then followed me across my bridge. Well, that worked out. Come on, let's get you home. Everyone is worried about you. On days 17 to 19, we had made it out of the cave and were on our way back through the jungle when the ground under my feet felt funny. It was so soft and squishy. Then I realized I was sinking. It was blue quicksand. Help! The chicken just stared at me blankly. She was no help.
Quack, what's wrong?
It was a group of of parrots. I'm sinking.
Brock, what are you thinking about?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, might have been about to die, but that was pretty punny. Nice one.
Thanks. We have been working on the stand-up routine.
Neat. Well, I'm thinking about how I need help getting out of here.
We have the sinking feeling you are in some real trouble, but what can be done?
Do you think you could pull me out of this quicksand with my lead? The quicksand had almost swallowed me up by this point.
Sure thing. Hand us the lead.
They were able to pull me out just in time. Phew, that was a close one. Thank you for saving my life.
Brock, no problem.
I was just escorting this chicken home.
Cluck, cluck, what chicken?
I looked around and the hen was gone again. Oh no! I told the parrots thank you, but had to run off to find her. I followed my nose. She was close, but so was an ocelot. Look out, chicken! The chicken stared at the ocelot with angry eyes. I took out my sword, but before I could do anything, the ocelot turned to solid gold. Did you do that, Miss Hen? I can see why you're so special now. She pecked at the ground. Come on, let's get you back home. On days 20 to 22, a fox was watching us run back to the village and tried to cut us off. Sorry, fox. Trust me, you don't want this chicken for dinner. I ran at him and punted him into the sky. I knew I was doing him a favor, better than dealing with Gold Winger over here. We made it back to the village and the villagers were super stoked. I was super stoked about picking out some items from the shop.
Our sacred hen has returned. What is your name, Sir Zoglin?
Zozo.
3 cheers for Sir Zozo.
Shucks, I just followed my nose. At the shop, I picked out diamond armor and some TNT. Mission accomplished. With my swanky new treasures in hand, I was ready to go back to my yurt. On the outside of the village, I was stopped by an iron golem who offered me a puppy. He told me his name was Geo. He was a super nice guy. I told him I had to get back to my yurt before it got much later. As I came out to my yurt, it had already gotten dark. Oh, just fantastic. My yurt is swarming with creepers and red-eyed spiders. It's a jungle out here. Time to test out this armor and explosives. The mob saw me and started coming for me, so I ran into the trees. I set the TNT on the ground and then punched it, running for my life. As the mobs came by, the TNT exploded. It didn't kill them all, but it took out a lot. I handled the rest of them with my weapons. With the mobs gone, I trotted back to my yurt. I checked on my melons. They were growing well. I'd harvest them tomorrow and then set out to find that mushroom island, or field, whatever you want to call it. On day 23 to 26, I woke up and went outside. To my surprise, Geo was standing around my garden. Hey there, Geo. How did you find me?
Geo here, Big Boo. Geo come to save Zozo.
That's super nice of you. I tested out some TNT on some mobs. Sorry to worry you. I explained to Geo that I had to go on a mission to find a mushroom island. Geo insisted on accompanying me. He said he could help protect me from the horned enderman. I agreed, then harvested my melons and pumpkins. I took a bite of the melons and it helped me to grow some more. Ooh, check out these tusks. Then I went inside to get some more materials. After that, we were ready to set off. My nose led us out of the jungle and across some icy plains and glaciers. There were a lot of polar bears. I was relieved Geo decided to join me because there's no way I'd be able to fend them off by myself. When some of them wanted to give us trouble, we gave them trouble right back. Geo was able to fling them up like pancakes. Hey Geo, wanna build a snowman? I decided I might as well mine some snow while I was there. It might come in handy. I threw together some snow and a pumpkin head to make a snow golem. Geo clapped excitedly.
Snow friend, snow friend.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Ice Golem. My name is Zozo. This is Geo. What's your name?
Burr.
Burr, huh? That checks out.
Play with Burr.
Sure, we can take some time to play. Hey, I know. What if we build a snow fort out of snow?
Play.
Burr, play.
I made a little snow fort and we had a snowball fight. It was very fun, but Geo was a little too strong and hit Burr too hard, and he poofed into a giant pile of snowballs. Don't worry, Geo. Snowmen don't last forever anyways. We collected his snowballs and added them to our supply. At least he could always be with us now, in a weird sort of way. On days 27 to 31, we wandered to the seaside. The smell of Mushroom Island was super strong. I was led to the seashore. We looked out and saw an island with funny red trees. I think that's it, Geo. Now to get over there. I crafted a boat, but it wasn't big enough for Geo to come with me, so Geo agreed to hang out on shore until I came back. As I sailed closer, I realized the red trees were actually giant mushrooms. I started to drool. Someone was on the island already. It was Smithers.
You found me. You truly are the chosen one. Only a Zoglin with the strongest sniffer can find this secret place.
Why does the Enderman want me?
I will explain everything. Let's show you around first.
I ran around the island exploring its resources. This ground was so spongy and bouncy. Oh, look, cows. Wait, those are mushrooms. That gave me an idea. A huge statue would be pretty cool in this field. I gathered up some supplies and started working on the first part of the statue. The cocoa beans would also be perfect for some brown dye. I'd want some red though too. I'd need to get some red flowers on the mainland. Smithers showed me the base he had made. It was a nice little cube. You know, Smithers, this is awesome, but are you okay with me doing some renovations? Just so it's big enough for all of us, including some of my friends I've met along the way.
I mean, this is already a pretty elaborate cube, but okay, I'm cool with it.
Great, I'll start tomorrow. On day 32 to 35, I decided to make the base look like a giant red mushroom with spots. I wonder what gave me that idea. First, I'd need to make the stem. It would be a staircase, and then I could make the top a big mushroom-shaped room with a loft above that for bedrooms. We'd have a nice view of the island while we hung out in the base, and we could keep an eye out for danger too. I wandered around the main area inside. There's so mushroom in here. Get it? Mushroom? room? Much room?
You should stick to sniffing and leave jokes to someone else.
I can't please everyone. Outside, I created an awning for Geo to stand under and keep watch. Our base was ready for action. On day 36 to 39, I went back to shore to get Geo. Once on land, he and I mined some flowers and some other things for the base and statue. I smelled something familiar. Hey, I smell another ZOGLIN. I wanted to follow the scent, so we went looking. I had to see if they were okay. I followed my nose to a pillager base. A fire was roasting, and there sat a ZOGLIN chained up to a log. The pillager was humming and wandering around the yard. We walked up to the hut. Excuse me, but what are you planning to do with that ZOGLIN? The pillager nearly jumped out of his skin. He hadn't seen us sneaking up on him.
Geo, kill pillager.
Have at it, Geo.
Geo, smash.
That pillager didn't stand a chance against Geo. Wow, nice going, Geo. And look, there's an emerald on the ground now. I picked it up and put it in my supplies, then walked over to the ZOGLIN. Hey, my name is Zozo. I could smell you from miles away. I'm here to rescue you.
Thank you. My name is Hogatha. The Horned Enderman sold me his dinner because I wasn't the ZOGLIN he was looking for.
That's rough. I told Hogatha how to find my base and invited her to meet us up there. She liked that idea. There were voices in the distance. A mob of pillagers came into view. We better get out of here. We don't need that kind of trouble.
Yep, time to run. I'll find you later. Good luck.
On days 40 to 43, I was back at the base, and Geo and Hogatha had joined us. Hogatha added some grass around the base. It was looking pretty gnarly. I went over to the statue and kept adding to it. Things were coming together for this epic statue, but it wasn't done yet. Do you know what it's going to be? I'll have to keep working on it later. Smithers called me into the base meeting room to finally tell me all about what's been going on with this Horned Enderman dude.
It all began with greed.
I could tell a flashback was coming because the music got all dramatic.
Flashback.
Called it.
The Horned Enderman had been taking over the overworld, enslaving and destroying. He seeks to control this world, and the Nether too. Everyone is afraid of him. He summoned the Witches of Fate. He asked them to reveal the location of a weapon called the Black Trident. It was powerful enough to raise up an army of the undead. They didn't tell him the location. We only know it's somewhere in the ocean. They did give him a prophecy of a ZOGLIN with a powerful enough nose to sniff out the location of this weapon. But they also said that this ZOGLIN could be his undoing. I believe that ZOGLIN is you. I know this because I was there. I was part of the Horned Enderman's close advisors, but I couldn't stand by any longer and see him destroying so many lives. I deserted him and went in search for you myself. We can't let him find that Dark Trident.
I would never lead him to it. If you can get me home, he won't be able to use me.
Fate has brought you here, my boy. You must give in to your destiny, and your destiny is to rise up against the Horned Enderman.
I've run into him before. I couldn't defeat him. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to find a cure for my zombie form and go home.
You will find a way.
This was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how I felt about it all. Of course I wanted to help, but how? Thanks for telling me all about it. I need to do some thinking outside. I went on a walk around the mushroom field at night to think about everything. The mushrooms were grazing in the field with their babies. Hogatha came and joined me.
You okay?
Not really.
Want to talk about it?
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight Endermen at all, let alone an ultimate Enderman bad guy.
I know that Endermen don't like water. Maybe that can help.
That is something. I was hoping I could just cure myself and get home. Do you have a family, Hogatha?
No, the Horned Enderman took them all. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I guess he really does need to be stopped. We sat and looked at the ocean. It was so peaceful to watch the waves and smell the mushroom aroma. Hey, do you see that light out there? I could make out a small roof on the mainland. There was purple smoke coming from the chimney, just like I had seen when I teleported here. Maybe it was where the witches lived. Maybe they could help me. I decided to go investigate in the morning.
On day 44 to 49, I got into my boat and set sail across to the hut. It didn't take too long to find it in the daylight. The purple smoke smelled just like when I teleported. This had to be the witch's cottage. I made my way up the stairs. I knocked and there was some scuffling around inside, and then the door opened and a wand was shoved into my face.
Who are you and what do you want?
I'm looking for the Witches of Fate. Is this their cottage?
Of course it's not. This is my cottage.
Who are you?
I am Flimflam, the mediocre wizard. So don't try any funny business or I'll turn you into a mediocre newt.
Did you by chance cast a spell recently that could teleport someone from the Nether to the overworld?
How did you know that? Bless my soul, my spell did work. You're the ZOGLIN I summoned and then promptly lost.
I think you better explain some things to me. The mediocre wizard let me into his hut. He had all sorts of magical looking items. He then suddenly shot his wand at the wall. I turned around and saw a call to action. An action to subscribe, that is. Which you should do. And also search for more of my videos. Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. Anyway, Mr. Mediocre, you were explaining something?
So you see, I knew I needed to get to you before the Horned Enderman did. I admit that although I've been practicing magic for a long time, well, I mess up a lot. So I found this spell to get you over here, but then I wasn't sure if it worked because you never showed up.
It worked, but you dropped me into a random place in the overworld. I wish you wouldn't have done that. I used to be a handsome hoglin. Now look at me.
Oh my, yes, I can see what you mean. But you know, there's a cure for that.
There is?
Of course. I know it takes a golden carrot and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And if you got me here, you can get me back home. home, right?
Of course, but I brought you here for a reason. We need to find the Dark Trident before the Horned Enderman does.
If I help defeat him, can you cure me and send me home?
You got yourself a deal.
I was so glad I was finally getting answers. All this excitement really tuckered me out. I asked the wizard if I could sleep off some of my exhaustion. He was cool with it. On days 50 to 53, I looked around the wizard's hut and saw so many magic potions and wands.
I see you are admiring my collection of magical objects.
I like your wizard hat too.
Oh yes, this hat is awesome. I can use potions and they last forever. Maybe one day you can get a wizard hat of your own once you've learned some things.
So do you have a plan for how to defeat the Horned Enderman?
Of course, you. And that was as far as I got.
I bet some of your wands and potions will come in handy. Can I try one of your wands? The wizard agreed and selected an ice wand. I was pretty excited and I ran to the water to test it out. Abracafree stuff. I froze the water into ice cubes. I definitely like this idea of learning magic. I think you should come with me and meet our other friends. We have a mushroom base across the way. We can all make a plan. Can I take this wand with me? The wizard agreed, got in his own boat, and we sailed off. As we sailed across, we noticed something splashing on the surface. We got closer and saw it was a mermaid surrounded by a shark.
Looks like it's a good time to use that wand, Zozo.
I jumped out of my boat and jumped on the rock the mermaid was on, and excitedly took out the wand and started pointing it at the water around the shark. The water was turned into ice, and the sharks were frozen in ice cubes. You sharks need to cool it. Are you okay, mermaid? The mermaid came closer to me.
Thank you for helping me out. That was a close one. Who are you guys?
My name is Zozo, and this is Flimflam the wizard. We are just some friends who are trying to stop the Horned Enderman. You probably don't know who that is, huh?
Actually, yeah, I do. Those sharks work for him. They were trying to get me to tell them where the Dark Trident is.
What? Are you serious? That's why they want me too. We were just meeting up on the Mushroom Island to make a plan on how to stop him.
How about I follow you over there? I can team up with you.
That's a great idea. Follow us. We were assembling a pretty epic team. On days 54 to 57, we sailed up to the Mushroom Island. I told the mermaid to wait at the shore and walked up to the base. I introduced Flimflam to the group. Smithers and Flimflam were both suspicious of each other at first, but after some explaining, they both realized they were on the same side. I took some time to break away from the group and work some more on my statue. I added some good red coloring to it. I was halfway there. I made my way back to the base, and then I heard splashing in the water. I almost forgot about the mermaid. I went and spoke with her at the beach. Her name was Dolphine, but she went by Dolly. Dolly told me about why the sharks were after her. She knew of a portal called the Whirlpool of Want. They wanted the location.
This whirlpool takes you to the Witches of Fate.
I didn't think you could get to them.
That's what they want you to think.
What if you take us to this whirlpool? Maybe we can ask the witches if there's a weapon that can destroy the Dark Trident. Dolly agreed to this plan, and I went and let the team know where I was going. Before we left, I did what I could to make sure my health and weapons were shipshape. I was ready to follow the mermaid to the Whirlpool of Want. On days 58 to 62, we were out in the middle of the ocean when the mermaid pointed ahead.
There it is. Just sail straight into it.
You sure this will work? I didn't want to get stuck at the bottom of this whirlpool. Besides, I hardly knew this mermaid. This could be a trick.
Pretty sure. Here, let me go in ahead of you. Let me see what happens.
She swam right into the whirlpool and it swallowed her up. I waited for a few minutes. The whirlpool started to gurgle and out popped the mermaid. There she blows. Well, it looked like it worked. Onward. I jumped off the ship and into the whirlpool. The whirlpool had a portal at the bottom and it spat me out onto dry land. I was in the end?
And what do we have here? A wayward Zoglin.
A voice cackled from the sky. It seemed to come from all around me.
You seek how to destroy the Dark Trident. We know everything about all of you. But we don't do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We are witches. We make trades. What did you bring to trade?
I panicked. I didn't know I needed to trade something. 3 witches appeared in front of me.
Well, what will it be? If you want the Wand of Weather, you will have to give us something that interests us.
The Wand of Weather? This wand will destroy the Dark Trident?
You bet your little Zoglin britches.
I offered them my wand, my swords, my potions, anything I could think of that seemed really neat, but they didn't want any of it. They already had piles of that stuff. I wonder if they would take something that only has sentimental value. I offered them the poppy that Geo had given me.
A poppy? You have got yourself a deal.
Poof, they disappeared, and in their place was a wand.
We forgot to mention one little thing. Only a true heroic act can activate this wand.
Their voices trailed off. A heroic act? I do those things all the time. That doesn't seem too difficult. I wanted to stick around to sniff around, but suddenly there was a whole mob of zombies headed my way. I ran for the portal and jumped through. On days 63 to 66, I was ejected out of the whirlpool. I told Dolly about everything and then sailed back to our base. There was smoke on the horizon. We got close to the island and saw our base had been attacked. The Horned Enderman must have discovered our base. I jumped out of my boat and made my way to my base entrance where I saw Smithers. I found out that they had kidnapped Hagatha. They thought she was me. No, No, Hagatha, I will rescue you.
I will fly fast and try to find her. You need to continue on your quest. If you can defeat the Horned Enderman, Hagatha will be spared.
I wanted to go with Smithers, but I knew he was right. Smithers would take good care of the situation. He quickly flew away. I was going crazy with worry, so I had to distract myself. Those henchmen had really done a lot of damage. We had so many repairs to make. There was only one way to handle this situation: a rebuilding montage. We upgraded a lot of things and then got started building a moat around the base. Flimflam suggested that we add a water path for Dolly to be able to swim in and out, so we added that too. Afterwards, I stepped back and admired our work. It's amazing what you can do when you're motivated. Just then, I wondered if my statue had been destroyed. I ran over to the field, and luckily it was just how I left it. I finished off the face. Can you tell what it is? I guess it's pretty obvious now, but I still needed to add the pièce de résistance later. On day 67 to 70, I tried out the Wand of Weather, but couldn't get it to do anything. Maybe it only worked around the trident. We had better locate the trident to try and destroy it. I hoped it would work for me. Flimflam appeared behind me and said,
Zozo, you're the one with the magical nose. Where do you think we should go to find the trident?
I closed my eyes and I sniffed the air, focusing on where it could be. All I smell is Hagatha. I'm worried about her.
I'm right here, silly.
Hagatha and Smithers were back. Smithers had found her wandering back to the island. They had let her go after realizing she was the wrong ZOGLIN, but Hagatha was certain they were tracking her.
We can use that to our advantage. We can have Hagatha stay here as a decoy while you sneak off to get the trident.
I didn't like the idea of potentially putting Hagatha in harm's way, but she insisted on the plan. Everyone else would stay at the base to protect Hagatha. Meanwhile, Dolly and I would go on our quest. I got on my boat and followed the faint scent of the dark trident. We eventually came into a desert with cactus and pyramids on the shore. Dolly pointed out that there were ancient ruins in the water. Perfect spot to find a trident, and I can tell we are close. Just then, my ship started to shake. What was that? I looked over the edge. Dolly, there's a lot of angry noodles wiggling around the water.
I don't think that's a noodle, Zozo. I think it's a giant octopus.
Yikes, we would have to think fast. I shot arrows at it, but that just made it more mad. It hit my boat and busted it. Oh no, he even managed to hit me a few times. He really packed a punch. I would have to swim my way out of this.
I'll use my siren song to lure it away. You head for a cove to hide.
What about you?
I'll be fine. I can outswim these guys.
Dolly started singing and the octopus was put in a trance-like state and started following Dolly. Meanwhile, I booked it for the shoreline. I saw a cove that had a very strong smell coming from it. I knew I was hot on the Trident Trail. Dolly was nowhere to be seen though. I hoped she was okay. The cove wasn't empty though. A pirate ship was there as well. Where there is pirates, there is treasure. I looked around and sure enough, I found not one, but 2 treasure chests. What does this one have? Whoa, it's a Respiration 3 helmet. Now that's convenient. I opened the other one up and it had a heart potion. I moved topside and took it and got 10 more hearts, and I grew into a large-sized ZOGLIN. Now we're talking. I was ready for some underwater exploration, but Dolly hadn't showed up yet. Well, I hope she can find me. On day 71 to 74, I started to swim through the shallow waters of the cove that led to a watery underground cave. It was very dark. I noticed some obsidian floating around in the cave and picked it up for later. The dark trident had to be around me somewhere. The scent was so strong. I could also smell trouble. I dove under the water to have a look around, but it was so dark. Suddenly, someone grabbed my hooves. Ah! Oh my goodness. It was just Dolly. She had found me. You scared the ham right out of me. I'm glad you're okay though. She held out her hand.
Sorry, Zozo. Look at this. This is a glowstone. It will help light our path.
Awesome. It was so nice having Dolly to help me. She set the glowstone on the floor of the cave, and we could see a little opening. We swam through it. It led into a big space with large wall ruins. There were lots of tall vines growing all over the ruin.
Hey, look.
The dark trident was just sitting on top of a mound of sand. Just then, out popped hordes of drowns. I didn't come this far to be beaten by a bunch of water zombie punks. You're going down. We fought with all our might and wits. We had to win. There were many, but we were mighty. Sure enough, we were able to take care of all of them. Hi, Finn, Dolly. We gathered around the trident. I got out my weather wand and nothing happened. We had just defeated all these drowns. That was super heroic. Shouldn't that heroic act have activated the trident?
Are those witches lying?
I don't know.
Well, grab it and let's go. We can try to destroy it some more back at the base.
I was hesitant, but I agreed.
Now that you have obsidian, you can build a portal back home.
Really? That will be awesome. Although, I'm still a ZOGLIN. We need a cure so I can fit back in at home.
I like you as a ZOGLIN. I think you look cool.
Thanks, Dolly. I just don't know what my family will think. Suddenly, everything started to shake. I reached and grabbed the trident. We had to get out of here. We swam back through the hole in the cavern wall and back up to the surface, and then back to the mouth of the cove. Everything was crumbling. We barely made it out in time. On day 75 to 78, I sailed back to our base. I thanked Dolly for all of her help, and she told me she needed to return to her kingdom before her family started to worry. I'll never forget you, Dolphine. At the mushroom base, I peeked through the window and saw my friends had finished my statue for me while I was gone. It looked great. It was a mushroom with a pumpkin on top to remember Burr by. You guys are the best. After that, we all gathered around the trident. I needed to destroy this thing quickly. I tried the wand again. Nothing. I've done so many heroic things. Why wasn't it working? I pointed it at the sky and thought about my awesome friends and how brave they always were. This time it jiggled a little, a few clouds came out, and made it rain a tiny bit. Well, that was something.
You'll get the hang of this in time, Zozo. I believe in you.
I was so distracted distracted by the wand that it took me a while to notice the strong odor of evil floating into the base. The horned Enderman had to be near. I picked up the trident, started sniffing around, and went into my base. On days 79 to 84, I looked outside our window. A bunch of Endermen surrounded our base gate, and there was the horned Enderman standing there. You have got to be kidding me.
Little Zog, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your base in.
That dude is terrifying, even when he speaks in rhymes. I'm going to start building that portal, and maybe we can take the trident to the nether.
You escape with the trident. I'll fight them off.
Smithers ran out of the room. I built and lit the nether portal.
You can't do this alone.
Agatha joined him to fend off the base. I thought to myself and decided not to run. I had to be a hero if I wanted this wand to work. I told Flimflam to guard the trident. I pulled my sword out and ran out as well. After fighting for a bit, I swapped my sword out for the bow and started shooting. With each arrow I fired, the Enderman teleported away. But suddenly, they charged me, and I took a big hit. Ouch! I started swinging my sword, and I did my best to take them all out. At long last, all of the Endermen were defeated. Where was the horned Enderman, though? I noticed he wasn't around. I looked up into the mushroom base windows, and there he was. He was in the room with Flimflam and the trident. Oh no! Smithers, the trident! Smithers flew up where they were. By the time I got there, Flimflam had been injured, and Smithers was facing off with the horned Enderman. With ease, the horned Enderman grabbed the trident and teleported out of the base. Smithers followed him outside, and I did too.
The dark trident can only work with a heart of pure evil. Watch as I turn this thing lethal.
With that, the horned Enderman hit Smithers with the dark trident. No, how could he? I pulled out the wand of weather and pointed it at the trident. Storm clouds gathered and it started to rain pretty hard, but it didn't seem to do anything to the trident. The rain did, however, scare off the horned Enderman since he teleported away. With the enemy gone, I ran to Smithers' side.
This is the end for me. Promise me you'll stop him.
Then Smithers disintegrated, leaving behind a nether star. I was so sad and picked up the nether star. I placed it down at the entrance of the house. It would forever shine bright on us, as Smithers did. On days 85 to 89, Agatha and I went through the portal to the nether. We knew time was short. The horned Enderman would be marching through with his undead army at any moment. We landed in the Crimson Forest. Welcome to my homeland.
Wow, everything is so hot and spicy looking here.
Home, sweet and spicy home. I miss the smell of lava. We started to walk around a bit when suddenly a mob of piglins was coming toward us. Well, looks like it's never a dull moment. Let's kick some hams. We used our arrows, swords, and strength to take down the mob. We continued exploring the nether for a bit until we got to the edge of a cliff. The lava was hot below us. I carefully laid down dirt to get across. I noticed more piglins coming at us, so I broke off a brick of the block bridge so they couldn't follow us.
Well, that was a very lava-hot welcome. Where's your family?
They aren't far. I can smell them. On days 90 to 94, I heard some low oinking. It was my family. They were munching on fungi, as usual. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Who the oink are you? Oh, great. It was Bebop, the bully. It's me, Zozo. I look a little different now. I'm bigger and
freakish looking. You're not one of us anymore.
I just returned from the overworld, so I got zombified. But I'm still Zozo, and these are my friends. We have come to warn you.
Warn us about what? Are you threatening us? You think you could just disappear one day and then come back and act all tough? That's it. No one threatens us.
No, I'm not threatening. Bebop came charging at me. I put my head down and got ready to return his blow. I hit Bebop a lot, and he simply backed off. I'm bigger and stronger than you now, Bebop. Time to stop picking on others, or I'm gonna have to teach you another lesson. I told the rest of the ZOGLIN family what I'd been up to and where I went. These are my friends. They've been helping me. You see, we got a weapon that can stop this evil dude from coming here and destroying everything. He's known as the Horned Enderman. Bebop must not have learned his lesson because he butted in.
We will never believe you. You're just a bunch of freaks.
I'd much rather be a freak than a boring old piece of bacon. I pity you. You can't see past your own snotty snout. I used to worry about what you all would think of me as a ZOGLIN, but now I don't care. I'm proud of who I am on the inside and out. My friends taught me that. You can either show respect for me and my friends, or you and I can settle this again, for good. Hog to Zog. I pulled out my wand of weather. It was suddenly glowing and surging with energy. I had been heroic by standing up for myself and my friends, even against my own kind. I was done being ashamed of what I looked like. I loved my zombie self. I held the wand into the air and created rain in the nether.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't pick on you or anyone else. Please make it stop.
I put the wand away and the crazy weather stopped. It was all the proof the ZOGLINs needed. On days 95 to 98, we decided we would make a big hill with a fortress on top so we could have the high ground. Flimflam also came over from the overworld and insisted on making me wear his wizard's hat. It would keep my health up even after being attacked. Our hill fortress was looking pretty cool, and we were able to recruit some other nether mobs. We got mobs of piglins and wither skeletons. We set up inside the fort. It was then that the sky opened a portal and out poured all sorts of undeads, drowned necromancers, skeletons, zombies, zombified piglins, and husks. Fight hard and stay safe. We just need to stay alive long enough until I can attack the trident. The ZOGLINs attacked with their tusks to punt them away into the lava. The mutant piglins used their quality swords to cut them down. The mutant husks smashed with their fists. We were all fighting hard, but still, some of our allies didn't survive. I needed to find the horned enderman. The longer this went on, the more deaths there would be. The hordes of undead just kept coming too. But we fought with all of our might. After defeating some of the undead creatures, the piglin commander gave me a health potion. I drank it and my hearts leveled up. I got 20 hearts, and then I became even bigger. I couldn't lie, I looked pretty intimidating. After that, we returned to the fort. On day 99, I heard something happen at the portal again and ran out. The horned enderman finally emerged from the portal. Horned enderman, you are going down.
What are you going to do? Sprinkle me with water? Oh no, how will I ever survive such hullabaloo? Ha! See my mighty undead army. This world is doomed. There is no way to disarm me.
Go ahead and laugh, but this is for Smithers. He threw the trident at me, breaking my armor. He was terribly powerful.
Thank you for bringing me this trident. I think this is a death well spent.
I heard my friends shout, and they came to my side. For Smithers! Their chant brought me strength. I shot the wand into the air. For Smithers! It started to rain. Thunder boomed loudly, and there was a mighty zap. A powerful bolt of lightning struck the trident. The horned enderman exploded, and the trident shattered. We did it! Just like that! The wand had worked! We all cheered and celebrated. On day 100, after we had finished celebrating and honoring those who had fallen, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my ZOGLIN years. I said goodbye to my family and promised to come home every Sunday for Crimson dinner. I would be the ZOGLIN wizard of the newly named Smither Island. But in the meantime, I would study more magic and defend the weak, always keeping a balance to good and evil. And most of all, I'd spread heroic courage, a love for others and oneself, freakish looks and all. I knew Smithers would be proud.
On day 1, I spawned into the Badlands as a shapeshifter. Whoa, that's a cool special ability. I wonder how far I can go with it. But I didn't have long to think about that, because a gang of wither skeletons with bows and swords showed up and started chasing me. Darn it, I wish I could go faster, but I'm only a baby shapeshifter, and that means I've only got 3 hearts. But even though I was weak, that didn't mean I couldn't shapeshift. I hid behind a rock and turned into a rabbit. Nobody ever suspects a rabbit. The wither skeletons kept searching until they found my little rabbit self, acting casually. The leader of the wither skeletons immediately clocked me.
There he is, boys. Grab him.
The wither skeletons immediately surrounded me, giving me no chance to escape. Wait, how did you know it was me?
There are no rabbits in the Badlands. You've still got a lot to learn, shapeshifter. Let's take him to the jail.
On day 2, the wither skeletons dragged me over to the Badlands jail. You can't do this! I'm too young to go to jail! But that didn't seem to persuade them. They threw me in a cell with another prisoner, a quill beast. I had to figure out what was going on. Hey, Mr. Quill Beast, I'm Zozo. What's your name, and what are you in for? The name's Quilliam. I don't know why I'm here. I was just wandering the Badlands when suddenly the wither skeletons arrested me and dragged me here. Don't worry, Quilliam. I have an idea for how we can both escape. No offense, Zozo, but I really don't know how a rabbit could launch a jailbreak. That's the thing. I'm not a rabbit. I'm a shapeshifter. I used my power to turn into a wither skeleton, just like the ones who ran the Badlands prison. We used one of Quilliam's quills to pick the lock, and the 2 of us walked down the hall together. Another wither skeleton stopped us on the way.
Hey, where are you 2 going?
I'm just taking this prisoner to a different cell block. Nothing to see here.
Fine, I suppose. On your way.
In my wither skeleton disguise, Quilliam and I slipped out of the Badlands prison without a second thought. That was amazing, Zozo. You saved both of us in there. These shapeshifting skills really come in handy. I can't wait to get better at them. On day 3, I decided to continue my escape and make my way into the jungle. It'd be way harder for the bad guys to find me amongst all these dense trees. But if I really want to fit in here, I can't just be a wither skeleton. I need a real jungle disguise. That's why I shapeshifted into an orangutan. Orangutan is Malay for person of the forest, so it makes for a perfect jungle disguise. All this shapeshifting was hungry work, so I explored the forest and gathered up some tasty melons to eat. Delicious and nutritious. But while foraging, I encountered a mysterious wooden villager meditating in a clearing. Sorry to interrupt you, wooden villager, but is everything okay?
Everything is more than okay, now that you're here, Zozo.
What? How did you know my name?
I know many things. I am Amma, the Jungle Mystic.
I have long traveled this jungle in search of a hero to whom I can reveal the great truth of the world. Do you believe you are that hero?
Well, I'd like to be, for sure.
Good, then follow me. There is much to learn.
On days 4 to 5, Amma, the jungle mystic, led me deeper into the forest, where he started to explain what was going on here. So, does the problem here have to do something with the wither skeletons?
No, the wither skeletons are irrelevant to the true issue here, Zozo. You see, this forest is overrun with vicious tribal gremlins. Alone, they may not look like much, but together, they can pose a major threat. For the sake of the world's peace and safety, we must see to it that they are defeated. We have less than 100 days to exterminate them before things really get out of hand.
Wow, that sounds like a tall order. These tribal gremlins must be really scary. How should I fight them?
Don't worry about fighting them just yet. I'll be able to help you plan the best course of action. For now, take these tools and start building yourself a base.
Amma the jungle mystic gave me a set of stone tools, and I left him to go find a clearing in the jungle where I could start building my base. I immediately started cutting down trees for wood and mining for stone. My base was already coming along nicely when suddenly a wither skeleton scouting party appeared out of the woods.
He's gotta be around here somewhere. Come on, boys, let's find this slippery little crate.
I needed to think fast. Obviously, a rabbit was no good, and they'd probably be expecting another wither skeleton. What could I turn into that would save me? Oh wait, I've got it! I shapeshifted into a wither boss and floated over to the wither skeletons. What are you boys doing out here slacking off? This is unacceptable!
But boss, somebody escaped to prison. We need to go track him down.
Forget about one lousy prisoner. Go back and stand guard to make sure more don't get out. And that's an order.
Yes, Wither Boss, sir.
The wither skeletons turned tail and marched out of the forest. I breathed a sigh of relief, and my shapeshifting skills paid off because I earned enough XP to level up. Whoa, I have 6 hearts now, and I can shift for longer. This is awesome. On day 6 to day 8, I took the form of a baboon so I could finish building the house, and it looked amazing. I decided to explore for a bit. As I was walking through the jungle, I noticed something a little strange. Wait, where are all the animals? Is this something to do with the tribal gremlins that Amma the jungle mystic was telling me about? As I was gathering some coal, a stray ran past me. Whoa there, everything okay, Stray?
There's no time to talk. I need to keep running. Get out of my way!
You're safe here. Explain yourself.
My town was destroyed by the Red Nightmare and his forces. He's taking over everything. If you had any brains in that baboon head of yours, you'd run while you still can.
And then he ran off, leaving me confused. Red Nightmare? I'd never heard of that. So I decided to find Amma the jungle mystic again and ask him what he knew.
Ah, yes, the Red Nightmare. He's another terrible force associated with those tribal gremlins I told you about. Perhaps it's time to arm yourself against the coming struggles. If you make your way to the snowy tundras and find the Frost Weaver, you'll be able to obtain a mace by defeating it. Go now! The tribal gremlin threat advances ever closer.
On days 9 to 10, I shifted into a snow leopard so I could both move faster and stand the cold. Then I made my way out to the snowy tundra to begin my search. I'm gonna find you, Frost Weaver! But what I didn't expect was that the Frost Weaver would find me first. It was huge and ferocious, and it attacked me as soon as it saw me. He spit poison webs at me, which really slowed me down. I figure I can't ask you nicely to hand over the mace then? The Frost Weaver didn't feel like chatting with me. Instead, it relentlessly attacked, knocking off a couple of my hearts. There was no way I could defeat a monster this powerful, but to my luck, I suddenly saw a snow golem running towards me. Golems have a natural protection instinct, so I was really in luck here.
Don't worry, kid. I'll give you a hand.
The snow golem joined me in the fight, and we were able to turn the tide. Soon, the Frost Weaver was defeated, and I had picked up the special mace he dropped. Thanks for helping me there, snow golem. I really owe you one.
Think nothing of it. Why don't you come back to my cave with me? My family and I could make you some dinner.
So we traveled back to the ice cave where the snow golem and his family, some baby snow golems, lived. He gave me some mushroom stew that helped replenish my missing hearts.
I suppose you're out here fleeing from the Red Nightmare. That's why most people come to brave these frosty wastes.
The Red Nightmare? As in the tribal gremlins?
Tribal gremlins? I've never heard of any such thing. How strange.
Well, I better go ask Amma about it. Thanks for the stew. On days 11 to 12, I assumed the form of a formidable Komodo dragon and returned to my base. Amma, the jungle mystic, was waiting for me. Amma, something isn't right. I got the mace, but while I was out in the snowy tundra, I met a snow golem who knew about the red nightmare, but not the tribal gremlins. How could that be?
I wouldn't worry about it, Zozo. Instead, go to this cave I've marked out on your map. You can mine some iron ore there, and perhaps use it to upgrade your armor or gear. It will be vital in the coming struggles. Once you have your iron, you can begin the attack on the tribal gremlin camp to the left of here.
Okay, if you say so, Amma. Still, it's a little weird to say the least. I went to the cave that Amma marked out for me. I made my way in and started mining the iron ore. There was a decent amount of it down there, but not enough to do what I really needed. I did grab the extra coal that was there though. Then, when I left the cave, I was ambushed by a lurker, one of the nastiest little creatures in the jungle. Thank goodness I have my mace with me. With one swing of my mace, I'd smushed that nasty creature and was off on my way to the tribal gremlin camp. From day 13 to day 15, I came across a path. This must be the way to the village. I took the form of a gremlin so nobody would really notice me, and I followed the path. I arrived at the tribal gremlin camp. It was basically a huge village made of tree houses in the jungle. I was expecting it to be scary, but honestly, all the tribal gremlins seemed weirdly peaceful. I decided to talk to one of them to see what was going on. Hey, fellow gremlin, you looking forward to causing some more chaos in the forest today? He just looked confused.
Chaos? What are you talking about?
I turned and saw a very chubby, stern-looking tribal gremlin chief sitting behind me.
There will be no chaos around here, boy. We need to stay organized if we want to have any hope of defeating the Red Nightmare.
The tribal gremlins wanted to fight the Red Nightmare too? I thought they were in league with them. Nothing was making sense. I needed to go back to my base and talk to Amma the Jungle Mystic immediately. From day 16 to day 19, I returned to my base. I took the long way back through the jungle, trying to figure out some kind of reasonable explanation for what had happened. Could Amma have been lying to me this whole time? But why? When I arrived back at my base, there was a tribal gremlin waiting for me. He looked like he was in a panic.
Stranger, we need your help. Something terrible has been attacking our village.
Something terrible? I'll come right away. But by the time I arrived at the village, it looked like the worst had already happened. The village was in ruins. The tribal gremlin chief was dead. Only his mask remained. And standing in the middle of it all was Amma. Amma, how could you? The tribal gremlins are friendly and peaceful.
To you, perhaps, but to my plans, they were a frustrating inconvenience.
What do you mean, your plans?
I never told you my full name, did I? I'm a shapeshifter like you see. Some call me Amma, but my true name is Amogolish, perhaps better known as...
Suddenly, Amma shapeshifted into a huge, blood-red creature, the true Amogolish. Wait, you're the Red Nightmare?
Very clever, Zozo. I thought I could trick you into destroying the tribal gremlins for me, but it seems you're completely useless. So you can be destroyed with them!
I was so angry that I turned into a huge vile ogre and charged at Amogolish, the Red Nightmare! He would never use me to do evil! But I underestimated how strong he was. With one strike, he knocked me down from the bridge and everything faded to black. From day 20 to day 22, I woke at the bottom of what remained of the destroyed tribal gremlin village. I'd failed. I'd let them all down. But thankfully, at least some of them had survived Amogolish's monstrous attack.
But now we have no place to live. We can't just survive out here in the jungle. He'll pick us off one by one.
That's when I turned into a horse. Nobody is living out in the jungle. Hop on my back, and I'll let you come live at my base. We can work together and stop Amogolish from destroying anywhere else. One by one, I took all the remaining tribal gremlins back to my base and started building a barracks for them. If Amogolish thinks he can destroy us all, we're not gonna go down without a fight. From day 23 to day 26, I traveled out to the desert. That jungle humidity can be killer sometimes. I decided to turn myself into a roadrunner so I could run extra fast across the sand. Meep meep. It feels good to feel the wind blow between my feathers. But I had to stop when I saw a sun god being attacked by a gang of enhanced Aripides. They must have been sent by Amogolish. Don't worry, sun god, I'm here to help. I ran in and started circling around the Aripides. distracting them from attacking the sun god. That gave the sun god a chance.
I unleash the power of the sun!
He sent out a powerful sunblast, hitting and vaporizing the Aripides, and he never could have done it without me.
I never could have done it without you, Zozo. In exchange, I give you the blessing of the sun. From now on, you will be stronger and faster in daylight. You will also gain a few hearts.
That's such a cool power. Thank you, sun god. And the 2 extra hearts will come in handy.
May my blessings be with you.
From day 27 to day 31, I went back to the jungle. I missed all those lush green trees. On the way back to the base, I found some sheep wandering around the jungle. They seemed lost, so I decided to take a stone guard form and shepherd them back to my base. When they were back, I started to build a pen for them. Now I can have as much wool as I want. This is perfect. I also decided to make a bigger wall around my base to protect me, the sheep, and my tribal gremlin guests from Amalgalish and his minions. Meanwhile, in Amalgalish's evil lair, he was meeting with his deadliest warrior, the Behemoth, a huge demon knight.
What would you have me do, Master?
I thought this Zozo could be useful, but it seems he's just a thorn in our sides. If we are to dominate this world, he and those who ally with him must be destroyed. Make it so.
Yes, my master. I will destroy him personally.
From day 32 to day 35, I decided I'd wander the plains in search of new allies and weapons. I needed to figure out how to defeat Amalgalish. Because I didn't want to get attacked by any monsters on my journey, I decided to shift into a mutant skeleton. Nobody would mess with that.
Stop right there, monster.
I turned and saw a gang of armed villagers ready to fight. They started firing arrows, and I was forced to dodge as fast as I could. Wait, stop! I'm not a monster, I'm Zozo. I'm just a shapeshifter. That got the villagers to calm down. They lowered their weapons and began to murmur amongst themselves before turning back to me.
Come with us, Zozo. We want to take you to our leader, the great King Midas, the ruler of gold.
They led me back to their village, where Midas was waiting for me in a golden throne in the middle of the village. He was certainly an impressive sight.
Ah, so my men brought you to me. There must be a reason. Why are you here, my boy?
I'm trying to find a way to slay Amalgalish and get revenge for the tribal gremlins.
Correct answer. Amalgalish, the Red Nightmare, has troubled our kingdom for generations. Me and my ancestors have tried to gather information about him for years, and I believe soon we will have the answers. When that time comes, come back to me.
From day 36 to day 39, I turned myself into a scarecrow just for fun and entered the mine in the village. I mined iron to complete my new set of tools and armor. And I got really lucky, because it wasn't just iron ore I found, I also found some diamonds. Not enough to craft just yet, but they were definitely worth keeping in my inventory for a rainy day. Though the most exciting thing I found down in that mine shaft was a dusty old book containing an unbreakable enchantment, which would make my new items unbreakable. I crafted a full set of iron tools, iron weapons, and iron armor before returning back to my base to rest. But sadly, there would be no rest. When I got back to my base, an Aztec warrior was already there, waiting for me.
King Midas sent me to collect you. He wishes to speak to you about a truly grave matter.
Then I suppose I better come along. From day 40 to day 43, I returned to the village to meet with King Midas. I wondered what had gotten him so worried, aside from the fact that I'd now shapeshifted into a gorilla for toughness.
Zozo, I'm glad you're safe.
Of course, Your Highness. Why wouldn't I be safe?
My spies have gotten word of a terrible development in the war against Amalgalish. He has summoned his most dangerous minion, the Great Behemoth, and he has given him the instruction to destroy you personally.
Don't worry, King Midas. I've gotten a lot tougher than I used to be. I bet I could kick this behemoth guy's booty.
Why don't you say that to my face, weakling?
I turned and saw the behemoth was standing right behind me while the villagers fled in every direction. He was even bigger and tougher than I'd imagined. I charged up towards him and used all my gorilla strength to deliver a mighty punch. But the behemoth just shrugged it off. He hit me back and sent me skidding across the village square.
Take this new form, my boy, the Gold Golem, and use it in my name.
With my new gold golem strength, I pulled out my mace and attacked the behemoth. Somehow, he effortlessly blocked every hit and started rampaging around the village. I need to get out of here. I'm still not strong enough to beat even the henchmen yet. So, I fled the village while the villagers tried desperately to stop Behemoth. From day 44 to day 49, I returned to my base, feeling so ashamed of myself for running away that I turned myself into a blobfish. I don't deserve to call myself a hero. I left all those poor villagers to fend for themselves. I'm a zero. As I was moping, none other than King Midas turned up, having survived the previous battle.
Zozo, I need to call on you yet again.
I don't deserve you, King Midas. I was a coward. I ran away.
Don't focus on the past, Zozo. We're not going there. I'm here because I have some important knowledge. There are legends of a sacred item, a mithril battle axe, that can be used to defeat the Red Nightmare.
A mithril battle axe? But I already have a sword and a mace, and neither of them help.
The mithril battle axe is more than just a weapon, Zozo. It's supernatural. It can give its users immense power, even granting them wishes. But it is legendarily hard to obtain. You will either need to find one or make one from mithril ore. The mountains would be the best place to begin your search.
From day 50 to day 53, I decided to take the form of a mountain troll and go searching through the mountains for information on the mithril hammer. Maybe if I find it, I can regain my honor after running away from Behemoth. The way up the mountain was tough. At the top, I searched and searched until I found a secret cave tucked away under one of the mountains. It seemed like the kind of place where something important might be hiding away. I put up some torches to light my way inside of the cave, but sadly I didn't find any mithril or a mithril battle axe in there. But I did find a book, labeled The Legend of Amogalish. Hey, that's the guy I'm fighting. A book described how Amogalish is an ancient evil who has tried to take over the world many times. But only someone who is of pure heart with a perfect weapon will be able to put him down for good and save everyone. Maybe I do have a shot after all. With at least some extra knowledge, I started heading back to my base. The way down was just as treacherous as the way up, but I eventually made it. When I reached the jungle again, I heard some commotion and I saw a Clink fighting a whole gang of scary jungle spiders. Don't worry, Clink, I'll help you. But by the time I reached him, he'd already defeated all the jungle spiders without breaking a sweat. He was clearly a lot stronger than I was. That was amazing, Mr. Clink. Want to come back to my base? I need someone to help train me how to fight like you.
Sorry, buddy, but I'm not the teaching type. Old Clink is too free-spirited to ever be tied down like that. Good luck with whatever you're doing, though.
From day 54 to day 57, having been rejected by Clink, I continued back to my base. Well, at least this day can't get any worse.
You have a big storm coming, Zozo.
I turned and saw that literally the last person I wanted to see right now was standing right behind me. Behemoth, Amogalish's #1 goon. Oh no, not you again.
I believe we have some unfinished business. Square up and prepare to meet your doom.
I shifted into my gold golem form and pulled out my mace. This time, I was going to win. I charged straight at him with impressive speed, and with all my might, I swung the mace right into his face. And it had no effect. I still wasn't anywhere near strong enough to fight Behemoth, and all I could do was run away while he laughed at me. Meanwhile, back at Amogalish's evil lair, he was receiving information from his top advisor, the impish Pixin.
Tell me, Pixin, how goes the war effort? Are our forces winning?
We've crushed resistance to the east. Our Wither Skeleton army has been successful in raiding the villages to the west. Soon, I'm sure, the north and south will fall too.
And what of Zozo? Has Behemoth destroyed that little brat yet?
Soon, my lord. Behemoth says that our mission will be even easier than he thought.
Delightful. Just delightful.
On day 58 to day 62, I returned to my base, feeling a little down in the dirt. So I turned myself into a swamp pig. I'm so ashamed of myself. It feels like I can't do anything right. But when I got back, I was so happy to see that the tribal gremlins had increased the size of my base. They built new rooms and a whole new floor.
It's the least we could do since you let us stay here with you, Zozo.
I was so touched by their kindness that I wanted to do something for them in return. I'd build a statue, but not just any statue, a tribute to the fallen tribal gremlin chief.
I started collecting all the proper material when I happened upon an abandoned diamond mine out in the jungle. I wonder if there are still diamonds down there. I went in and started to mine until I finally found enough diamonds to craft a pair of diamond armor pieces, a pickaxe, helmet, pants, and some cool boots. It isn't much, but it'll certainly help. From day 63 to day 66, one of the tribal gremlins approached me.
Zozo, I think I know where you might be able to find a mithril battle axe like the one you were looking for. There's a special cave out in the desert, one that's sacred to my people. We might be able to find it together.
That sounds like an excellent idea, tribal gremlin. Let's do it. We set off together until we reached the desert. With my shape-shifting powers growing by the day, I decided to shift into a guster so I could fit into the desert environment. After 2 days of walking, we finally found the cave. It looked deep and dark, and as I stepped forward to enter, the tribal gremlin stopped me.
Wait, Zozo, I just remembered something important. You can't go in the cave. Not yet.
Well, why not? We really need that mithril battle axe, tribal gremlin.
But you need to obtain a soul heart first. I've heard legends that those who enter the cave without one lose their souls, so we need to seek one out.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that does seem like a pretty solid call. From day 67 to day 70, the tribal gremlin went home, and I continued exploring the desert, hoping to find a soul heart. It's a shame they don't just hand out those things, huh? Suddenly, I was distracted from my search as a coyote running towards me. He looked really worried.
Hey, stranger, mind lending me a hand? There's a nasty Sudaramu bothering me and my coyote brothers.
Sure thing. Maybe I can help defuse the situation. I ran after the coyote until I found a group of coyotes being attacked by a huge Sudaramu who was clawing at them. He looked like he was in a really bad mood. Sudaramu, stop bothering these coyotes.
Mind your own business, fool. This is between me and the coyotes.
The second you start bothering people, it is my business. Time to fight. I ran to the Sudaramu and began to fight. He was tough, but he didn't seem like he really wanted to destroy me. He just liked fighting people. So I gave him a good fight. Every time he swung his claws at me, I was able to dodge, then hit back. My hits barely bothered him, but he seemed like he enjoyed having the exercise.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I like your style, man.
You're a pretty good fighter yourself, Sudaramu. How about instead of fighting random coyotes, you go up against a real opponent, like helping me take on that demon, a Mogolish.
Now that sounds like a good time.
From day 71 to day 74, after not finding anything in the desert other than a cave I couldn't enter, I returned to the base, only to find that Behemoth was already there, and he was annihilating my base. By the time I got back, half of the base had been destroyed, and he was attacking the tribal gremlins trying to rest there.
Zozo, you're back. Good. I was getting bored destroying all your friends.
Behemoth, you monster! You're going down for this!
Try me.
I transformed into a Vex, pulled out my mace again, and attacked Behemoth. My rage fueled me, and this time, as I attacked him, it looked like I was actually doing some damage.
You've improved, Zozo, I'll give you that. But you're still nothing compared to me.
Behemoth hit me back, stunning me and taking down several of my hearts. And while I was stunned, he grabbed one of the tribal gremlins and ran off with him. Gremlin, no! But there was nothing I could do. After I got my strength back, I teamed up with the other gremlins to rebuild the destroyed sections of my base and create a new guard tower to watch out for any future intruders. At a Mogolish's lair, he was laughing with glee as his army of monsters and skeletons prepared themselves for the next battle.
It is almost time. Soon I will wipe out the resistance, and all will be mine.
From day 75 to day 78, King Midas once again arrived at my base, carrying a gift.
Zozo, I have heard about your recent losses and your valiant attempts to get your hands on the mithril battle axe. In the meantime, please, as a token of my gratitude for all the work you've done, take this.
Oh, wow, King Midas, thank you! What is this?
It's a sword of undying, my old battle weapon from my adventuring days. It's not the mithril battle axe, but this is a powerful, well-forged weapon. I believe Behemoth keeps his own private lair out in the plains. Perhaps you should go show him how well you can use this new weapon.
From day 79 to day 84, I arrived at Behemoth's lair out on the plains with my Sword of Undying, ready to do battle. I stormed in, ran past the skeleton soldiers, and saw that Behemoth was waiting for me.
This is it, Zozo! I've gotten bored of playing with my food. You won't be leaving this lair. And when I've destroyed you, the Master will give me power and riches.
Your creep of a master is never going to see you again, Behemoth.
Skeletons, grab this fool.
Skeletons surrounded me, but I managed to take them down without much effort. I focused on Behemoth next. Sword in hand, we fought. Behemoth was still incredibly strong, but I felt like I was finally ready to take him on. But as the fight went on, even though I was doing some good damage, Behemoth started to turn the tide. He fought harder and harder, hitting me again and again, watching my hearts drop. Even with the regeneration and extra absorption health the Sword of Undying gave me, I was still losing this fight. Everything I'd worked for was about to be for nothing.
You've been amusing, Zozo, but I won't miss you when you're gone.
Just as Behemoth was about to finish me off, one of the walls of his lair exploded, and Sudaramu broke in to save the day.
Zozo, eat this!
He threw me a golden apple. I'd never seen one like it before, and I immediately took a bite. Immediately, everything changed. I could feel myself getting bigger and stronger, and not just regenerating hearts, but doubling them. With the 16 hearts, I shifted into Ultimate Gold Golem, and with the Sudaramu at my side, I was ready to finish this. The two of us attacked the Behemoth together, giving him no chance to take us out. I climbed to the top of the gate wall and jumped on the Behemoth, swinging my sword at his head. He was defeated once and for all! I looked and saw that the destroyed Behemoth had dropped a soul heart onto the ground.
Now that was a good fight. Say, what's that thing he dropped?
Sudaramu, that's our ticket to the big time! From day 85 to day 89, while still out in the plains, I shapeshifted into a double-headed Vile Ogre. I stumbled upon some clay and dug it up to use on the Tribal Gremlin Chief statue. This is gonna look awesome, and I bet my Tribal Gremlin roommates will really appreciate it too. I returned to the base and completed the statue. Seeing it there inspired me and reminded me of what really mattered, all the innocent people I was fighting for. With the statue done, I set off for the desert with the Behemoth Soul Heart in my inventory. I could finally enter the sacred cave and obtain the Mithril Battle Axe. It would be a great day. But when I entered, things weren't so easy. There were husks everywhere, and just as I was about to clear them all, a terrifying Jabberwock jumped out of the cave and started attacking me. I needed to pull out King Midas's sword to fight him off, and even then, it wasn't easy. Feels like nothing has been easy for me these last few months. With the Jabberwock Cave Guardian defeated, I saw it there, waiting for me. The Mithril Battle Axe that would solve all of our problems. I picked it up and felt its power surging through my hands. Ignites and knocks back targets. Well, that is useful. Things are looking up at last. From day 90 to day 94, I emerged from the cave with the Mithril Battle Axe, wondering what I'd use it for first, when I saw that a Mogolish was standing right in front of me.
Hello again, Zozo. Think I'd let you get away with destroying my most powerful henchman? For that, I'm going to destroy you myself.
I didn't feel like talking to this monster. Instead, with the Mithril Battle Axe in hand, I charged at him, ready to strike. I got one hit in. He instantly hit me back and sent me flying. The hit was so hard, it knocked the battle axe right out of my hands. Before I could get up, he snatched the Mithril Battle Axe, even though I'd only just gotten it.
You won't be needing this anymore. In fact, I think I'll make much better use of it than you ever did. Goodbye, Zozo.
There was an explosion, and the desert ground beneath me caved in, trapping me in a pit. A Mogolish disappeared, off to do something awful, no doubt. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. From day 95 to day 97, I needed to do something clever to escape the pit. Thankfully, this was where my shapeshifting skills came in handy again. I turned into a bald eagle and flew right out of there, heading towards King Midas's village. With the Mithril Battle Axe lost, I needed to ask him for advice on what I should do next. But it was already too late. When I arrived at the village, I saw it had been completely ransacked. All the buildings were destroyed. I couldn't see any villagers. All that was left was King Midas, near death, next to his broken throne. I flew down and turned into a golden villager, approaching King Midas to see if there was anything I could do to help.
I'm sorry, it's already too late for me. Amalgalish used the Mithril Battle Axe to improve his power to unimaginable levels. He destroyed the entire village. You must stop him. You're our only hope.
I will stop him, King Midas. I promise. He'll pay for everything he's done. King Midas passed, and I journeyed back to my base. On day 98, I arrived back at the base and found that my worst fears had been made real. Amalgalish had come here too and destroyed everything. The base was in tatters, and most of the tribal gremlins were gone. I'd failed. I couldn't protect anybody or anyone. It seemed like Amalgalish was going to use the Mithril Battle Axe to rule the world. I felt so terrible about myself, I shapeshifted into a cockroach. Just as I was about to give up hope, one of the last tribal gremlins approached me. I'm so sorry that I failed, tribal gremlin. I let your people down from beginning to end.
But this isn't the end, Zozo. You can't give up. If Amalgalish could use the magical axe to destroy all this, then maybe, if you get your hands on the axe, you can make it all okay again.
And in that moment, I knew that the tribal gremlin was right. If that axe could get us into this, it might be the only thing that could get us out. On day 99, I shapeshifted into King Midas himself as a tribute to the great king's legacy. As him, I approached Amalgalish's base, wielding his Sword of Undying. To my surprise, Amalgalish himself came out to meet me, holding the Mithril Battle Axe, exactly as I'd hoped.
King Midas, this is impossible. I dealt you a lethal blow with the Mithril Battle Axe. You must be
Zozo, and I'll be taking that axe.
Yes, to the face.
This time, Amalgalish lunged at me first, upset at being tricked. But that's when I took my opportunity. As he swung the Mithril Battle Axe, I dodged and snatched it from his hands. Thanks, Amalgalish. I promise I'll bring it back. With the battle axe in hand, I ran back to my base as fast as I could, hoping that it still had some magic left over after all the damage that Amalgalish had done with it. I arrived back at my base and began to wish, holding the axe tightly in my hands. I wish for all the tribal gremlins to be brought back and for my base to be fully repaired. That's all I ask for. And seconds later, the axe vanished from my hands, never to be seen again. But my wish was granted. My base was back to normal, and all the tribal gremlins had been brought back.
You saved us, Zozo. Thank you.
And now, together, we can save everyone else. Like Amalgalish himself said, just one tribal gremlin doesn't count for much. But all of you together, we can bring Amalgalish down for good. Let's go save the world. On day 100, I led the tribal gremlin strike force straight into Amalgalish's lair. As wither skeletons poured out to fight us, the gremlins took them on.
Gremlin freedom forever!
And as the fight raged on, of course, Amalgalish crawled out of his lair, ready to fight me personally.
You worthless little creature. I should have destroyed you when you were small and weak. It would have saved me a lot of trouble.
It's too late for regrets now, Amalgalish. They won't do you any good.
Stubborn and arrogant to the end. Do you really think you can beat me? You're not even carrying a weapon.
I'm a shapeshifter, Amalgalish. Don't you know what that means?
What?
It means I am the weapon. And with that, I turned into my final form, a giant ender dragon.
No, this can't be. It isn't fair. I can't be defeated by some other lowly shapeshifter. I'm the most powerful being in the world.
But all that complaining didn't do him any good. I unleashed my most powerful Dragon's Breath attack on him, and by the time I was done, there was nothing left. Amalgalish was defeated! And once the tribal gremlins were done defeating the last of the wither skeletons, the world could finally be at peace once again.